Boo! Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold stream. On today's stream, we are back with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to be talking about Beatrice leaving. Hooray! We no longer have to deal with Beatrice. Hip hip hooray. That means Yu-Gi-Oh! Is healthier. Not a whole lot healthier, but it is healthier, because as of pretty much like right now, I think it happened like a couple of minutes ago, I like that it says applicable duration. So now, oh, wait, hold on. I just noticed this. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but I just noticed this. Applicable duration, we know exactly when the next ban list is going to take effect. Not when we're going to get it announced, but when it's going to take effect. Which is wild to think about. I never actually thought about that. But yeah, Beatrice is gone. Hip hip hooray. As of I think like literally right now. So that's cool. That's fun. You love to see that. Beatrice is out of there. So let's immediately dismantle her, because we just no longer need her. Unless I'm wrong, and it actually happens in like an hour. It might happen in an hour. Hold on. Let me actually check. Band. Okay, yes. Happens in an hour. My bad. Time zones are weird. But yeah, it's basically happening very, very soon, and we're gonna dismantle it when we can. But yeah. What? Do I just not have Beatrice? Where? There she is. I find what's funny is this deck right here, which has never summoned Beatrice, and will never actually summon Beatrice, is also not going to be able to play the is going to have to change because of the Beatrice ban. So that's very, very funny. So much hype for Memento until they realize there's no counterplay for Maxi. Yeah. Do we know when we're getting those cards? We know, right? Today. Oh, we get them today? What? Wait, really? Is there maintenance today? There must be maintenance, right? And I just, like, am not paying attention? Yeah, there is. Okay, cool. Cool. It's weird the way that these are worded, because technically we should be getting them tomorrow, according to the, like, we should be getting it the 10th, but it says the 9th on here, because technically the maintenance is not until the ends during the 10th. Regardless, that's very interesting, very funny. We'll talk about all of that stuff later, but let's just play Yu-Gi-Oh for right now. I think we'll play some Sprite. I think I want to play some Sprite. Or what else do we want to play? Yeah, you know what? Let's play Sprite. Let's play Tri-Brigade Sprite. Yep. I'm well aware that I need to change this. I'm wondering if it's worth it to play with Frog. I don't think so, right? What does Frog accomplish in this deck? It gets us easier access to Nimbles, technically, but not really. But that's kind of it. That's all that would realistically do. So, yeah, I think I just remove it. I don't see a world in which... can we play Dominus? Purge. Oh, sorry. No, it is Dominus. Sorry. Dominus. I believe we can't play Purge because, yeah, we need fire. We definitely need fire. We also need dark. But can we play Impulse? No, Earth. And Wind. Yup. Please sneak in B-Trooper support. What B-Trooper support is there? That's my question. We definitely play Impulse. Impulse is crazy. Impulse is insane and just, like, absolutely worth playing. I don't know if Crossout's worth it. We don't have Fua. Can't type Fua. Do we play Fua? that how you spell that? That is how you spell that. That's nasty. You're an Aqua. Sorry. No, it is Fua. I was correct. It's Fua Lost that's a wing based. What else? I really like Triple Tack. I don't know if actually... Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if Dominus Impulse is worth it. What does that cut us off from? Oh, I lied. Sorry. We can't play that. I was like, wait, no, we can't play either of them. I'm just being silly. Did I miss 2 cards, PogChamp, in the Invitational? You have missed nothing. We're going to play first because there's a maintenance, and then when the maintenance is happening, we'll do that. Do we play 44? We could cut Cross out. I'm not a big fan of playing Cross out, especially in a best of 1. I don't hate it, though. Do I change the extra deck is the question. Is there anything in the extra that I would change to? No. No. Try Splight. Let's just F it, we ball. Good riddance, Beatrice. Rest in piss. True. May your bestie Lacrima soon follow. Lacrima's done nothing. I don't give a crap about Lacrima, but sure, to each their own. Also, what's up, Vic? How's it going? No. Great hand. Great hand. Whose name is the Memnock? What the fuck? I feel like I've seen that name before. Yo, that's crazy. Wow, who would've? I think this may have done the most damage to Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of a card going from 0 to any more than 0. And this is why. This right here is why. The opponent being able to do whatever this is. What floodgate are you flipping up? Oh, we're playing Lab. Okay. Never mind. It's a little bit more based. And never mind, they're shit at the game. It's gonna be crazy when I imperm this Lovely. And then they go and negate, and then I steal with triple tap, because they simply don't hit the triple tap. Trust. Oh, except for the fact that triple attack would not trigger there. Never mind. Yeah, just snipe a card. Snipe the Fractal, it'd be the funniest. Why with Dragoon? Oh wait, I wanted that one. Oh, shoot. I really did want that one. Oh, that's really frustrating. Okay, we'll go Fractal. They're going to Called By. I'm going to Scream. I refuse to believe that it's Called By. There's no shot it's Called By. Wow, I'm genuinely surprised here. We'll send Kit. Kit's a Nerval. Nerval grab Kit. Normal Kit. Special Blue. Unless they actually just randomly decide at this point they're going to stop my interactions here and not at the Fractal, which I wouldn't be too shocked about it, but like I'd just be disappointed mostly. Do we add Kit here? Does it make more sense to add Karos? Technically, I think add Karos is the correct one. Okay, cool. Voodoo. Voodoo. Should I remove her from social media if she rejected me? Click the button. Yep. This just forces the negate, doesn't it? Is that okay? If last card in hand is... No, I think that's fine, right? If this just forces negate. Because then I just go sprint. And then they lose. Yeah. Yoink. What'd they pitch? Trap? You kept Trap Trick in hand? Damn, that's crazy. That's wild. That's crazy. Undo. 1, 2. For this guy here, because I kind of a little, maybe a tiny bit messed up my zones, but that's okay. That's okay. It's really not that big of a deal. I promise. I really don't want to lock myself into 2s if I can help it. Because the only real way to get rid of this guy is through Shureg. I could just make Shureg here. Then I could search a 2. Hold on. Thinking. Let's go Sprint, and then I could make a 3, and I could go Rugal into Shureg, and then I'd still have Sprint into Gigantes. That's a better play. You're right. You're right, you're right. Let's make Sprint. Wasn't expecting Tri-Brigade? No one expects Tri-Brigade. Banisher and end turn. True. Resolving this in paper is so frustrating. Because it's always the correct option to, like, chain the last thing as the draw and then place onto the bottom of the deck. And then you have to search and then shuffle. So you have to shuffle right before you search, and then you also have to, or right before you draw, and then you have to go back into your deck and shuffle again. I mean, you don't actually have to shuffle most of the time in paper, but, like, you actually do have to shuffle there, which is so funny. Okay, and then we go Fractal Effect, Banishing. Do I actually just banish 2 here? For Bear Rum? No. I think I still go Rugal here. Rugal still makes the most sense. Into this guy. Into... Bro is unaware. Bro thinks he has game here. And that's the problem. Bro thought. This game is over. Oh, look at all these different types I have. Crazy. Okay, come on. Special Jet. Jet effect. For Smashers. Link into Elf with these 2 here. Elf is so crazy here, by the way. Just being able to trigger Shureg over and over is wild. I want to bring back Sprint, but does that make sense? No, it doesn't really make sense here. So we'll bring back the... Oh, what I should have done is brought out Red or Carrot or something like that. I forgot Elf was in the... Not Elf, the other one. You're at 2,000? It's a little frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. Do you have a 2 engrave? No, why would you? Yeah, you're right. You're right, why would they? We'll put this guy here. I think I just walk with the field, right? like I just crashed with Mannequin Cat here. Or do I go Smashers? Smashers, the lovely. Maybe Smashers, the lovely was probably the best there. Most people are chill about shuffling if you tell them you're going back into the deck anyway. It is official Konami policy to allow you to get your search, and then also, if you are going back over and over in the turn, to just not shuffle. Right? But the problem is, if you're drawing a card, you have to shuffle your deck before drawing. So, the way that that works, and the reason it's frustrating in paper, is because you chain your, like, search effect as, like, Chainlink 1, like, you chain, like, Nerval, Chainlink 1, and Chainlink 2 is Farajit. So you have to go shuffle deck, let opponent split, draw a card, look at it, put a card onto the bottom of the deck, and then immediately pick up your deck again and search your deck. That is, like, the correct optimal play, and it's way more frustrating. Because it's just, like, this silly, like, I gotta shuffle my deck so that I can draw a card, and it might not even matter, but, like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Is very funny. It's very funny. Very funny. Also, imagine having Big Welcome and not using it as disruption. They also didn't set Trap Trick, they set Imperm. Like, they actively kept Trap Trick in hand as opposed to Imperm. Like, brain not braining. Brain not braining! This is a very funny hand, by the way. Normal, Momonga. Special, Jet. Let's go, Jet. Jet, grab, Smasher. Smash. Alright, and then we go for a bit of... Oh! Does Sprind make sense here? Sprind, send, Kit grab, Nerval grab, Karos, pitch, Foolos? Yeah, it does make sense. Yep. Put this here. Kit. For Nerval. Tri-Sprite seems legit. Still legit? I mean, it's never not. It's never bad. I mean, it's not going to compete with, like... It's not going to be able to, like, break the boards of the current meta decks, but it's not going to be bad. So there's that. I think I make... Banish these two. And we make DDL. Here, I think, is where we go... How many summons is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So at this point, they would have been able to Nibiru me anyway, so we're going to go like this, and we're going to grab Voodoo. And then Blue's going to grab Carrot. Because at this point, I'm more scared of spell traps than I am monster effects, given the fact that they haven't yet to activate any hand traps, which tends to mean one thing and one thing only. So, we'll go Gigante. We'll go Gigante. We will detach the Sprind. That may seem strange, but trust me. We could just summon red here. That is, like, genuinely an option. It doesn't make sense, though, so we're just gonna go Kit. Kit. 2. No. 1, 2. For Farajit, that doesn't make sense. For Bearbrum. And then we can go... Elf? Mannequin Cat? Yeah, We'll go Mannequin Cat. Even though, I probably just need the carrot on field, huh? Yeah, we'll just go elf here. With these two. Chain. Chain. The jet onto the field. Now, I can't go Manning Cat, which kind of sucks. I activated this. Oh, I could have just not activated that. The question is, do we keep the Revolt? Or do we keep the Maxi? And I think the answer is... no. No. I can't keep these two. That may be dumb. Yeah, kind of figured. Figured this was the, this deck. Hornet Drones is fine. I have no qualms with Hornet Drones. Droplet. You better send a fucking monster. Nope, you're dumb. Okay, great. Nice try. Widow Anchor. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy, dude. Hornet Drones. Yep. You weren't properly summoned. 0 points to bouncing this. Yes. Okay. So let's do this. We'll send you to grave. We'll bounce that. Sure. Like this. I'll go jet here. Do you have a second Widow Anchor? You do. Okay. How much do I care about it? Very, very little. What is the last card they could possibly have that does anything here? It has to be engaged, right? No, but that doesn't do anything at this point because they stole my elf because they're stupid. What do you have? Ray? Normal summon Ray? No, we're going combat. Why would you not have wanted me to lose elf? Why are you giving this back to me? Have I tried the one piece one TCG? No, there's not a way to do that. Unless there is now. McTyphon? Okay. Okay. You will go Revolt. Do you have a Ghost Spell? Fucking last card, fucking Impulse, you dumb piece of shit, man. Fuck you. I hate this game. So lucky. So lucky. Dude, just draw everything. Just draw fucking everything, damn. Oh, it didn't matter. Never mind. Yeah, fuck you. There's an online one for TCG, for the One Piece TCG. Hmm. Is it any good? Is it worth trying? Maybe. Maybe we'll try it. I think the problem is it like an auto sim? Is it an automatic simulator? Let me look it up on YouTube. Look into another game. I am looking. Okay, that didn't show me anything. Fool loss. Oh, I'm going first. Or I'm going second. Wait, why am I going first? What the hell? I have so many questions. Okay. Cool. We will normal summon Kit. I have Almirage in here, right? Sick. Do I immediately lock myself into twos, or do I just go Almirage here? I think I just go Almirage, right? That makes the most sense. Go Almirage into send into you. Yeah, I think that's the best play. Simulator. Kit. Gets a Nerval. Nerval will grab Karos. Yup. Karos. Karosh. We pitch Fool loss here, right? Yeah. Kukaracha. Don't know. Didn't really say one way or the other. Cool. Let's go Karos for Dose. For these two. Imperm. Fuelos? Something? You have nothing. Why do you have nothing? That's, like, more strange than usually even having something. It's very odd. Very odd. Okay. You have, like, Nibiru? What the hell do you have, my guy? Let's go Sprind with these two. Genic 1. Genic 2. This one is literally just a chain block. What do you have that's activatable that you have yet to activate? That is very funny. I like drawing that. That's very funny. Send this. Yeah. Angles. Yup. Undo. You. Okay. Let's go Gigantes. You and you. Technically, I should use you. Gigantes. Do you have a Bestial? No, what the hell do you have? Do you have Nibiru? What is happening? Detach the Spring. Special Voodoo. Voodoo. Blue grab jet. What do they have? I'm so confused. Do we grab jet here? Jet gives us smashers. Smashers is very good. We have starter to grab the other thing. So yeah, we grab jet here. And we can make mannequin cat, which is also kind of crazy. I have little faith in a Bandai card game auto sim. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's not Bandai. But there are other auto sims from non-official sources. Maybe not from for a Bandai game, but like Konami has some that we will not talk about. Right? So that's what I was thinking. We go. We go DDL, and then we go Elf. What does Guy have? It's bothering me. Was it Max C? And they just were like, nah, it's fine, fam. You got it. Like, I'd love to know. I'd love to know. How worried am I? They made me go first. Which makes me assume this is like... It's gotta be Tenpai, right? Okay, in which case... I'm gonna go set 1, set 2, proceed to end phase, and then in end phase was starter for carrot. What do you have? I'm so confused. What was activatable that entire time that you just elected not to activate? What are you playing? The fuck are you implementing? Yeah, sure. Lightning Storm? Yeah. Monsters? I'm trying to think how much I care about this. I could... Oh, here's what I do. I go Carrot here, and I send you to Grave, and then I can go Elf here. And I can Reborn the Voodoo. Voodoo. Grab Jet. So is this just another Sky Striker player? Are we just only playing against Sky Striker? No? Okay. Oh, but of course. Ah, but of course. Why would it not be? Watch them still have, Tundra. Ready? Oh, Genroku. Never mind, we're fine. Man, Called By is such a cool, fun, and fair, and balanced, and interesting Yu-Gi-Oh card, isn't it? Just smile. That's crazy. No shot they have the quick play. Yeah. Great game. 10 out of 10. No notes. No notes. Okay, I didn't quite catch the auto sim. Or whether or not it was an auto sim. One... I don't wanna play. I just want to see gameplay of it. That will be, like, the best thing to do. Okay, hold on. This guy is talking about how to play against
code with them.
We'll see if
we'll jump into the Western one just to show what it looks like. So here you'll see a bunch of available lobbies that...
Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. Thank you. Very useful. Very useful. I just want to know... I have found gameplay. I have located gameplay. There is gameplay. It does exist. It looks... It's just... This is just DB. Right? Like, this is... It's just the, like... You have to do all of the actions, right? Am I wrong? Do we have to do all the actions? It kind of looks like we do. Looks a little automatic. I don't know. It looks fairly automatic. I might give it a shot. The problem is, there's no way for me to just, like, pick up and play. Right? I've never played the One Piece TCG. I don't know anyone who would be willing to play against me. And it's not that I don't want to, it's that I just don't have anyone to play against. You know? Imagine winning a coin flip. Couldn't be me. Could not be me. Come on. But who needs it with hands like these? God damn, this hand is ass. If I draw triple attack, this hand's great. Why am I playing cross out? Man, I just shouldn't be playing cross out. Hey, you got it, bud. This hand is really not good. Let me guess, this is like full Fiendsmith, Azamina, Snake Eye bullshit right before the Beatrice ban, right? Like, I guarantee that's exactly what this is. Right? That is exactly... Yes. Yeah, I called it exactly. Wow. I hate being right. I hate being right. Because I know whenever I'm right, it's the worst option. It's just like the worst thing that could possibly happen. But when I'm wrong, it's always like... I say something that could potentially be good, and it's like, nope, you were wrong. It's as bad as you could imagine. Freaking loser. Freaking loser? Why are you such a stupid? Thank you. Yeah, that's... Yeah. Oh, cool. My chat broke. I love when my chat just breaks. Oh, hey, there's Fualos. Yo, sick! That's so cool and interesting. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's fine. Fualos. Wow, that's crazy. Hmm. Sure. Nope. Why did they decide to leave Beatrice legal after releasing Fiendsmith? Because they're stupid. What did you expect? Heroes suck ass. It took you this long to figure that out? Certainly it's not that bad. True. It would never be that. If they have Called By, I lose. Ash is a good draw. It's not a great draw. We know Betrayal, which just negates, which is not fun, not fair, nor balanced. We don't like that. Okay, well, we'll just normal summon the Nerval. If they have Called By, I lose. That's pretty much it, right? Called By is like the one card that just kills me. Like, just on the spot, I'm just dead. Dead no way. That is genuinely surprising. Add Kirosh. No Droll. How interesting. We know that they basically have Imperm. They likely have some sort of Ash Blossom shenanigans going on as well. We will special summon blue because I want them to not negate Keros. Kirosh. Yeah, okay. Cool. It's about what I expected. Yep. I guess they could negate both, right? Does that matter? No, matters very little. Right? We'll go like this. We will go for... Does it make sense to go 3 here? What would I get with 2? Nothing. Yeah, I think it's 3 to go Shureg. To force Shureg. Or to threaten Shureg, I should say. Yup. That's crazy, dude. That's wild. Who would've... I can't Called By this. I need the Called By for potential follow-up. Because I can still do full combo. I go... Yeah, I need Called By if they have Ash. Because I can go for... Sprint and just do full combo anyway. Does this have to resolve? No. Okay, cool. What did we set? 1. Okay, not a big deal. Cool. We'll go Sprint. We know OSS is in hand, so there's 2 potential unknowns that could potentially be hand traps. That's it, right? Yeah, okay. It's in this. You. Yup. You. Here and here. For Gunfiz. Does it make sense to detach the Sprint here? Absolutely freaking. Yep. Oh, should I have gone to combat and walked over the D-Bell Star? Would that have made more sense? No, not necessarily. What am I reborning here is the question. Probably not Keros, right? So it's probably just Sprint then, in that case, yeah. We detach you. Does it make sense to go Jet? Or do we go Kit? What does Kit accomplish? Kit gets us to Tri-Brigade. We already used Nerval, so that doesn't really do anything. And we can't go into... what's his bucket? So yeah, I think it's just Jet here. Jet grab Smashers? Or Jet grab Gamma Burst? Can I kill him here? Yes. Right? Gamma Burst is 3k 27, and then whatever we walk over this with. Yeah, they're dead with Gamma Burst. So we grab Gamma Burst here. Yep. And then we go Elf. With you and you. This isn't randomly a 2, right? Yeah. Cool. They don't have that engraved. That's good to know. We'll go elf. We'll bring back the Sprind. Right? Does that make the most sense? Yeah, Sprind makes most sense. SS? What is SS? SS is so boring. Almost half a year has been in meta. Huh? Sword Soul? Snatch Steel? Sky Striker? It's gotta be Sky Striker, right? I don't necessarily disagree that Sky Striker is boring. Why the hell would I be playing Smoke Mosquito? Ash? Terrible Ash Blossom, by the way. We go okay. I like Sprint and Tri-Brigade. Sprint is really good. I think potentially the most underrated card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Sprint. As a Sprite player, not just Sprite Tri-Brigade, but as a hardcore Sprite player, as a dedicated Sprite player, Sprint is insanely useful. It comes up so often, and it's what allows you to push through hand traps as effectively as current modern day decks. This card right here, it does require you to play a few more bricks, but that's not that big of a deal given the fact that any 2/2s basically gets you into the full combo. Sprint is so insanely good. First of all, being able to send a card to the graveyard from deck, very useful. Lots of cards that trigger off of that or can generate advantage through that. The Nimbles, the Tri-Brigades, you can even have things like Swap Frog and Ronin Totem and what have you. You can also even send things like Blue or a Carrot or what have you. You just get to do a whole ton. On top of that, I think the most important effect that so many people forget, and it's why I consistently detach Sprind off of the Gigantic, Sprind has additional text that says, if another monster is special summoned, detach an Xe material to bounce a monster. Now, that's any monster, by the way. But, on top of that, just having an additional way to bounce a thing is really useful. Oftentimes, you just end up with a Gigantic on your field with just a useless material, especially in Tri-Brigade, specifically. So, like, you can just bring back a guy being Sprind. You know, your opponent summons a guy, you go Elf, bring back Sprind. Sprind now has a bounce, and it's an insane bounce, because it doesn't have to be the thing that was summoned. And it's so useful. On top of being an additional body to send off of like a red or a carrot, on top of being just like generically good, being able to use that for an additional sprite, gigantic sprite. This is such an underrated card. I don't think it's insane, I just think it's very heavily underrated. I remember we released, everyone didn't like him because he can't be link material. Yeah. So it's like a seal, the same as Blue Eye and Dragon players using the TCG? No, not in the slightest. Seal is wildly different from this. Sprind is a worse seal. Because Seal requires less commitment, tributes itself to generate its own effects, beneficial like special summon. The special summon is way less restrictive, right? So like the advantage you would get by utilizing its effect is way less restrictive, and it's non-target. Seal does not target, which is what makes it so crazy. Tribute a monster, return a face-up card on the field to the hand. Wild. It's time for maintenance. Yeah. That being said, Sprint is comparable. It's a more archetypal focused version of Seal. Seal is more generic, Sprint is more specific. Sprint is really good in Sprite, whereas Seal is just generally good, right? But you would not like put Sprint onto an end board and just like sit on it. It's bad to just sit on it. Seal always gets called by. True. I've seen enough people forget about the Sprint bounce that I call it a secret effect because 99% of people only know the foolish. Yep. Because here's the thing. When this card was used, it was solely used for its send effect. Because you would use this as a way to pivot into Merly in Tier Limit. That was like the big thing that this card did. Very rarely would it stay on the field. Right? But its bounce effect is very good. It is a very solid effect. And like if you were playing a pure Sprite variant, having this guy on your field is not bad. Because oftentimes you have something else on the field with a material that you can just detach and then away goes the guy, and it's fine. Right? And one thing that also is kind of cool about it is you can detach to bounce your own card. So let's say, for example, my opponent special summons a SP Little Knight. And they go, SP Little Knight target Carrot. Right? They're gonna like banish Carrot. Right? Or better yet, they just like go into a guy and activate its effect. You go red to negate, tributing a guy, right? Tributing something else, right? And then you go, and then you go Sprint to bounce, right? Well, I guess you wouldn't be able to do it in that situation, right? But the point is like, hey, if your opponent targets with like Imperm or something along those lines, and they're like in the same window of special summoning, you can like bounce your own guy to your hand or something else along those lines. You can add back recursion. There's a bunch of like little things that you can do, but beside the point. I bounce back my Maxi. I reborn with Elf. Yep, you can absolutely do that. Isn't that crazy? That is a perfect example. You go like main phase. You know they start playing the game. You go main phase, Maxi. They go called by. You go bring it back with Elf. They go, well, shit, special summon a guy, and you go detach, bounce the Maxi back to my hand. Good luck, dingus. Seal into Jet Dragon is insane? Yes. Yep. Seal into a lot of things is kind of insane. Maintenance! Oh, the game cannot be accessed at this time, and we request your continued patience. No! I refuse patience. 5 free packs tomorrow? True. Alright, chat. It's time to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We got new cards! PogChamp new cards! May everyone get WRs. True. So, first and foremost, let's talk about the free agents, which are basically just 3 useless cards that will likely not do anything. There's a chance they could do something, but likely not going to do anything. We have Sacramentum. Yep, Sacramentum Dragoon. Which is a level 8 light dragon fusion effect monster with 3,1500, which requires a dragon and a spellcaster, and you can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. Loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. Why would it have that effect? Your opponent's special summoned dragon and spellcaster monsters cannot activate their effects while this fusion summon card is in the monster zone. Why is it a floodgate? Okay, sure. This is a stupid-ass super poly target. Why? No. Okay. You can target a dragon and a spellcaster monster in your grave. You can target a dragon and a spellcaster monster in your grave. Special summon one of them, and if you do, place the other on the bottom of the deck. This is not an insane card. The problem is, it is an insane super poly target against either dragon or spellcaster decks. There's not a lot of decks that use both, but if you end up having the other one, it immediately becomes insane. Or if you play both... Also, hold on. Son of a bitch. I fucking knew it. No, it's Dragon Tail support. Not only is it Dragon Tail support, it is also anti-Dragon Spell, or Dragon Tail support. You just super poly their board and be like, Omega Lol, die. Now you can't use anything. This card sucks. I hate this card. Hey, shut up, Ghost Tricks. Oy, oy, oy. Yes, you could also use it with Blue Eyes. Yeah, you could also use it with Blue Eyes. It's great in the Blue Eyes mirror match. You're just like, hey, no effects for you, stupid. Wow, this card is ass. I hate this card. This card sucks. Anyway, we have Valon, the Psychic Sky Blaster, which is a rank 5 Dark Psychic Effect monster, XZ effect monster. With 25-22 and requires 2 level 5 monsters. You can only use first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. During the main phase, you can detach material and target a face-up monster your opponent controls, changes the face-down defense position. Fantastic effect. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one set card, destroy it. Also, pretty damn good. He's actually Dragoon in 2025. True. I don't know if the Psychic support goes into 5s? Does the new Psychic support... Hold on. Psychic by release date. Do they go into 5s? Do they have 5s? No, not really. Yeah. I mean, they kind of can for, like, 2 Synchro Monsters. Is that worth it? Would it be worth it to go in this? Like, this guy is a good thing if you could... Canine support? Do canines have the ability to make a generic rank 5? Does it go into a generic one? It's just a XZ summon, right? As long as it's not a light monster. Is this light? It's dark. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is generic. Okay. I was thinking Psychic because it was a Psychic. But you're right. This is Canine support. This is pretty good. That's actually really good. This is a solid card. Valor, Sage, and Maiden are Spellcaster tuners. Yep. However, most of the time, well, you occasionally summon them, special summon them, but their special summon effects being negated doesn't really matter. Good card. That's actually crazy that there's 2 cards that actually have application against the new decks, or in the new decks. That's actually wild. Huh. Wild. And then we have Ukano Mitsune no Onari. Ukano Mitsune no Onari. This thing, which is a level 2, a Link 2 Light Beast Link effect monster with 1500 as a Link 2. Requires 2 light monsters, including a beast monster, but you could cheat it out with Tri Brigade. Your opponent cannot target cards in the field zones with card effects. Ew. You can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. If this card is Link summoned, you can target a quick play spell in your grave, set it. If this card is destroyed, you can choose the following effect up to the number of cards in the field zones and apply them in sequence. You cannot choose the same effect twice. Destroy a card your opponent controls and inflict 1500 damage to your opponent. So, this is, I would imagine, to be used with the new Ancient Fairy Dragon archetype support, the like Luna support. Not great, but it does exist. Pearly is not Light Beast. Did people think they were? They're fairies, right? Yes, Beast is neuron activation. It's Yummy support? Are Yummies light beasts? They all are. Yes. Okay. Oh, and they also have the fields, but they have multiple fields. Wait, this card's crazy. Yeah. All of these cards actually genuinely having applications in the 3 decks, like the 3 most recent decks, is kind of crazy. Sebek Super Poly Wild. True. Oh, Jamas. That was not what I was thinking of, but yeah, technically you're right. I think, are they light? Yeah, they're all light. Okay. They're all light beasts. That's actually wild. I did not know that. For some reason, I thought they were Earths. What do I think of the Sky Striker Link one? I hate it. I think it's a good card, but it gives Sky Striker a negate, which is dumb. Sky Striker having access to an ability to just, like, link off a guy into a negate going first is really silly. So I don't like that. But there you go. All 3 of those cards are actually kind of wild. We also have a new archetype in Art Magia. Art Magia. Which is... Oh my gosh, there are... Wow, this is a big archetype. We have Medius the Innocent, which is a level 4 Dark Fairy effect monster with 18/18. You can only use the first and second effect of this card any once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can take an imprisoned deity monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. If this card is normal or special summoned, add an imprisoned deity. Either add it to the hand or special summon it. Why? Do we... So it's this guy, or... That guy. Okay, so it's this guy. Just that guy. Good to know. Alright. And if this card is in your grave, you can shuffle a monster from your hand or face-up field into the deck, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Yeah, sure. Why the fuck not? Why would it not? Why would it not? All of its theming, however, it doesn't exactly do anything, not named Minerva or Medius. Is Medius the new main character for the lore? I sure hope not. We have Fine Melt, which is a level 7 light warrior effect monster with 24/15. It says you can only use the first and third effect of this card once per turn. If you control an Art Magia card, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you could draw a card. Your opponent can target level 6 or lower Art Magia monsters you control with card effects during your main phase if you control 3 or more monster types. Ooh, interesting. Quick effect, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Also, their current attack become halved until the end of this turn. Holy shit. That's a very powerful negate. That is the Witchcrafter effect. Or, yeah, that is the Witchcrafter negation effect on the Smug one that I can't remember the name of. However, without a stupid-ass requirement. That's pretty good. Imagine Blue Eyes summoning that fusion with its second effect, and then it's game over for Tenpai. Well, yeah. Ardmegia Graflare. Graflayer? I don't know. That guy. Level 5 Light Dragon effect monster with 21/15. You can only use first and third effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control an Art Magia card, special summon this card from your hand. Then you can set an Art Magia spell from your deck. So this is all one effect, and yet still can't be ashed. Very, thank you. That's crazy. The first time this card would be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not. And you can target one spell trap your opponent controls to destroy it. This is a quick effect if you control 3 or more monster types. cool. These are really cool effects. Cool. We have Litera? Litera? Litera. Sure. Which is a level 3 light spellcaster effect monster with 400 to 1800. You can only use first and third effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control an Art Magia, you special summon this card from your hand. Then you can add an Art Magia card from your grave to your hand. Wild. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. Crazy. During your opponent's main phase, you can special summon one Art Magia monster from your hand or grave, except itself, then return this card on the field to the hand. Special summon from hand to grave, then return this card on the field to the hand. That's pretty damn good. Because that could trigger this guy, who on summon. These are wild. I am not a big fan of the artwork, but it's not terrible. This is not why I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not that big of a fan of this artwork. But it's not... mind you, the artwork is good. Personal preference. That's all. Imprisoned Deity Beast of Art Magia. Art Magia? I don't know. We'll call it whatever I feel like. It's a level 1 level 1 Earth Illusion effect monster. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name once per turn, with 300, 200. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except for fusion monsters. I like that effect. That is a good effect. It won't matter, but I like that. Because that means you can't just go this guy into full Fiendsmith combo. That is not something you are allowed to do. I like that. During your main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon an Art Magia fusion monster. During the main phase, sorry. You can fusion summon a fusion monster or Nerva, the imprisoned deity of creation, from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including this card you control. You can fusion an Art Magia fusion monster or Nerva, the imprisoned deity of creation, from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including this card you control. Okay. So this is a worse version of Ecclesia. Because Ecclesia doesn't have to use itself. But this is pretty much the same thing as Ecclesia. Cool. And then if this card is sent from the field, from the hand or field to the grave, hand or field, you can add an Art Magia spell trap from your deck to your hand with a different name from cards in your grave. Wild. So you can go normal, special, special by fusion summoning, set, and then go from there. That's crazy. Okay. Wow, Medius is crazy. Okay. These are all, like, really solid cards. These are all very good. Like, unless the spell traps literally don't do anything, this is a very solid deck. I wouldn't dare to say whether it would be top tier or not, but it seems very good. Honestly, the new archetypes after Malice have had kind of meh art-wise, in my opinion. I must bring up the goat of art, which is Yummy. Brother, it's a fucking cookie cat. It's a cup cat. It's a cat with a sucker and a rainbow head. Yummy is some of the greatest artwork in all of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I will not take this slander. But yeah, I get it. Am I gonna make a Primate Blue Eyes deck when maintenance is over, since Primate will be live? Maybe. Probably not, though. Anyway, we have a level 8, Art Magia Dike Tauros? Tauros? This guy. Which is a level 8 Light Fairy Fusion Effect monster with 28 to 25, which requires Medius and a Art Magia monster. And you can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name once per turn. You can target, you can target a monster on the field, change its battle position. Okay. When your opponent activates a card or effect... Oh, that is not a quick effect. I just assumed it was a quick effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect on the field, and you control 3 or more monster types, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Cool. Okay, it's just a negate. It's just an Omni. When your opponent activates... Okay, that's disappointing. If this fusion summoned card is destroyed, special summon a Medius from hand, deck, or banishment. Banishment. Hand, deck, or banishment. So you can't reborn this guy. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. We have Nerva, the imprisoned deity of creation, which is a level 10 Earth Illusion Fusion effect monster, which requires 3 Archmagia monsters and is 3,300, and must first be either fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck in defense position by tributing 3 monsters with different types. This has no... restriction. So if I were to get 3 different monster types onto the field... Trying to think if there's a deck that could use this in any capacity. Well, let's read the rest of the effect. You can only special summon it once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while there is a card in the field zone. Okay. And then once per turn, you can activate an Archmagia monster effect. When you activate an Archmagia monster effect, you can make this effect become destroy all cards your opponent controls. Okay, so this doesn't do anything even if you were to summon it outside of the archetype. You basically have to play the archetypal cards to get any useful effects. Cool. That being said, does this do anything? Kind of. It's okay. This would be something to summon using this guy, and then, like, trigger... Because it doesn't... Does it say you control? Hold on. No. So you could, like, fusion summon utilizing this guy, and then if it's sent to the grave with the fusion material, you could then trigger to destroy the field. Interesting. Ooh. Good framing, and any more good cards will blow the strategy wide open. Yeah, pretty much. Give them a branded fusion, unless they already have it. They might already have a branded fusion. But, like, yeah, add a branded fusion to this, and it's crazy. Anyway. Archmagia, the Academy City... Oh my gosh. Academy City of Divine Arts. That reads really weird. Which is a field spell card, which says during the main phase, you can normal summon 1 Medius the Innocent in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only use this effect once per turn. You could discard a spell card and declare the name of an Archmagia monster you do not control. Add 1 of the declared monster from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from outside of the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for Archmagia monsters and Medius the Innocent. You can only declare each card name once per turn to activate this effect of this card's name. Sorry, you can only declare each card name once per turn to activate this effect of this card's name. What? So, with the field spell, if I have a hand full of spell traps, and specifically the field spell, I can activate the field spell and pitch all of my spell traps to add every single one of these names. Except for 1. Except for technically I could, because this guy could also potentially add an additional spell trap. No, it sets it, right? Yeah, it sets it. No, it does add it. So yes, I could literally add every single one. That... That is what? You cannot special summon out from outside the extra deck. So I could still do anything that I wanted from the extra deck. It's just that I couldn't special summon, like, I don't know, Engraver. It's just food for Droll and Ogre? Yeah, except for the fact that, what if you just don't have those? Like, yes, if this deck is good, you just roll them. Ha ha ha. And now they can't do anything. However, that means that Ash Blossom is absolutely terrible, and while Ghost Ogre is okay, it's not, like, insane. Because this is not a once per turn. So if they just have another one, it's like, cool. do it again. That's crazy. Yeah, the extra not being affected. This is one of the craziest search cards. This is on the level of like, oh, what is it? The Agonister field spell. In terms of power. Like, this field spell is one of the most insane field spells. It's just like, hey, you can special summon potentially 6 guys. Utilizing this one card each turn. It's like, what? 6? It's like, yes, 6. Technically speaking, if there was a way to change the attribute of a monster in hand, it could be 7, because you could like change it to Divine, and then you could special summon like that. But like realistically, no. This is an insane card. Why is everyone upset about Mathmech Circular in TCG? Because Mathmech Circular is an insanely stupid card and creates non-games by having it exist. Especially in a format like the TCG, which doesn't have things like Maxi or what have you to slow it down, but more specifically to immediately kill it. Mathmech Circular basically just says, hey, do full combo regardless of what the opponent has in hand, which creates a bunch of non-games. Either they have the outs to the board and it didn't matter whether they had Circular, or it mattered immensely and the Circular just immediately kills the opponent. Not very fun, not very interesting. Most people don't like it. Especially when there are other decks running around that just do it more fair and more interesting, like Ryzeal or Malice. Unless we realize that all started chain to summon themselves that aren't all level 4. And that they aren't all level 4 and lower. Until we realize that they all started chain to summon themselves and that they aren't all level 4 or lower. Does that matter? Okay, hold on. No. Regardless of what this searches, this is one of the most insane field spells I've ever read. This is on the level of the Agonister one. This is on the level of Generator. This is an insane field spell. Currently, it's not tied to an archetype that does a ton. And yes, the monsters aren't insane. But like, you can search Medius with it. And then he does the full combo, right? And then on top of that, you could also search this guy, who also has the ability to do a whole bunch of other stuff, right? You can search out this guy, which also has the ability to do a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So it's like, this paired with a whole bunch of spells and traps means that your deck is really good and really consistent. This feels similar in nature to like White Forest, where it's like you play a certain amount of monsters basically just to special summon them or to search them off of this, and you want to play a bunch of spell traps that you like send to the grave. If they get like spell traps that like reset themselves, this is crazy. Yeah. Theorealize? Okay. Which is a normal spell card that says you can only use first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Send a Medius the Innocent from deck to grave. Look at the top card of your opponent's deck and place it on either the top or bottom of the deck. What the fuck? That's crazy! That is a wild effect! Whoa! That is such a... Oh, okay. Brother said scry the opponent's deck. But if you only open 1 to 2 spells and get ashed, your field spell gets negated, basically? Yeah, and? Would that be any different from any other deck? The difference is, if you draw a second spell, like if you have this and 2 spells, and you get ashed, you just search a different card. And then you still do the combo. Right? Like, you still have options. Anyway. You can banish this card from your grave in order to target a face-up monster your opponent controls and declare a monster type and attribute. It becomes the declared type and attribute until the end of your opponent's turn. This is not a quick effect. That effect exists and might come up later. This is like super poly bait. You just become this so that I can super poly your ass. Mill effect as cost. Oh shit, it is. Why does it send for cost? Why? Also, you can't ash that. That is not an ashable target. You can't do anything to this. This just sends. This is just like, this is happening. Send, scry the opponent's deck. I don't like that one. Put it on bottom. Nice Harpy's Feather Duster. Put it back. Oh. Masterwork Succession. Archmagia Masterwork Succession. Quick play spell card. You can only use first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Wait, hold on. I wanted to read this. Yep, okay. So you can use both effects in the same turn. That's crazy. Quick play spell card. You can only use first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. During the main phase, fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from hand or field, including an Archmagia monster. If this card is in the field zone, the summoned monster gains 500 attack. If there is a card in the field zone, the summoned monster gains 500 attack. This is just fucking Chimera Fusion. Cool. At least it's a once per turn. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your grave, then target 3 Archmagia monsters in the Archmagia cards in the grave with different names. Shuffle them into the deck. What? Crazy card. Wild card. Very, very solid. I like that it states during the main phase, but would you be able to activate it even if it wasn't during the main phase? I don't think so, right? Traps I know you can activate. Can you activate quick play spell card effects in grave at quick effect speed? I don't know if there is one that even states an effect like that doesn't state during the main phase, during your main phase. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Vandalism Assault, which is a continuous spell card that says you can only, you can activate only one card with this card's name per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card name once per turn. Okay. This is a continuous spell. When this card resolves, you can add Medius the Innocent from deck to hand. Cool. You can target a face-up monster you control. That face-up monster can be treated as an Archmagia monster if used as fusion material this turn. Okay. And then if Archmagia, the Academy City of Divine Arts you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can send this card from you control to the grave instead. Okay. Decent card. This is just extra copies of Medius. This is... So we have 9 potential copies of Medius specifically, right? 3 Medius, 3 field spell, 3 of this. Plus, we have ways to send it to the graveyard with this, and then reborn it with this. This deck is insane. Quiz and Grave are basically normals? Okay, that's what I thought. Then why does it state during your main phase? This wild attack. This deck is so good. They don't do technically anything. And I mean that in the like strictest sense, they technically don't really have a big payoff. But like they have so much going for them, and they're not locked under like branded fusion restrictions or something like that. This deck is wild. Archmagia Banish Change, which is a normal spell card. This says you can only use the first and second effect of this card name once per turn. Place an Archmagia Divine Arts or field spell from deck or grave face up in your field zone, and if you control it, you can add an Archmagia card from your deck to your hand instead. Never mind, it's 12 copies. Son of a bitch! That's crazy! Bro, this deck is hyper consistent. What the hell? This deck will get to the combo. The combo may not be insane, but it will do it. When your Archmagia monster is targeted for an attack, you can banish this card from the grave in order to negate the attack, then special summon a Medius the Innocent from your hand. Then you can. Okay. Not bad. Wild. And then we have Awakening. Messena Awakening. Hilarious. Normal spell or normal trap card. You can only use one of the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn, and only once that turn. Special summon one Archmagia monster or Medius the Innocent from your deck. Also this turn, the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response. Sorry, when a monster is fusion summoned this way. Woof. Okay. It can be ashed. And you can banish this card from your grave. Then target an Artmagia monster you control, return it to the hand/extra deck, and if you do, destroy one card your opponent controls. This is literally just Big Welcome. Like, that effect is basically just what Big Welcome does. That is a card. Holy crap. Why is Gigantamax Eternatus attacking a church? Where? What? Fuck? You talking about this? I guess. This is certainly something. What's up, Maurice? This deck looks promising? Absolutely. This deck looks crazy. I am not a deck builder, but I feel like just playing... This feels similar to, like, how Sprite plays. Or how... What's a good example? Kind of Ryzeal, but Ryzeal, like, has an insanely good payoff. It feels more like... Maybe Sprite? Maybe... What's a good deck? That, like, is consistent, but doesn't have this big payoff? And that's what makes it good. Yeah, like Ryzeal right now. This feels kind of like how Ryzeal works, right? Where it's just like, cool, you're going to do your combo pretty consistently, but you're not going to end on like this insane end board that just like wins you the game. What are my thoughts about the TCG ban list? How do I feel about the meta change? TCG ban list was good. I don't like the triple tack hit, and I'm not that big of a fan of circular coming back, but other than that, pretty good. Inverse for hire. They jump out of the hand instead of being recruited from the hand. True. Kind of. As far as the meta change, what meta change? There has not been a meta change yet, because the TCG hasn't had any events, so we don't know how it has changed. As far as Master Duel goes, again, the ban list hasn't happened. That's what we're waiting on. So I don't know. I'm excited for Beatrice to go away, but that's pretty much it. I don't know how I feel about triple tack going to 1. Yeah. The problem is, I don't like Thrust. I think Thrust is a poorly designed card, so having to rely more on that card to get to Triple Tactics Talents, which is one of my favorite cards, and I think is really well designed, is frustrating. This is a crazy deck. Crazy deck. I think this deck will be, on release, very strong. However, we have more cards. Morganite has received even more cards. Hooray. Morganite! Or, sorry, Morgana, the Witch of Eyes, which is a terrible, terrible name, which hopefully will be changed. Crossroads should have been limited a long time ago in TCG. I do agree with that. Level 4 Dark Spellcaster effect monster with 1521. This card is also treated as a Morganite card. Hilarious. Wait, we'll look at the other cards in a second, because I believe this is searchable. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish a Morganite spell from your grave to negate that attack. That's actually, that's so good. Cool. You can only use these following effects at once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Morganite spell from your deck to your hand. If you have 3 or more Morganite spells with different names in your grave and or banishment, you can change the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls to 0. You can make the attack 0. This is an activated effect. That is pretty good. That is a genuine payoff to this archetype of cards. Also, Mommy. That's all. Which device is just a Bloodborne? It's just a Bloodborne boss. True. We have Guilt Gripping Morganite, which is a normal spell card that says, for the rest of this duel, apply the following effects. You cannot activate monster effects in the hand. Crazy. You can normal summon level 5 or higher monsters without tributing. Why the fuck would you allow that? Why would that be a thing that you would allow? What? Fuck you, game. And you do not pay life points to activate spells and trap cards. This may be my least favorite card I think I've ever read. This may be everything that I hate about Yu-Gi-Oh! No! No, why would you do that? Oh my gosh. You can activate this and then normal summon Vanity's Ruler. Not Vanity's Fiend, not the level 6 monster. Vanity's Ruler. The guy that says, fuck you specifically. Oh my gosh, why? Why? Why would you? This is the worst effect I've ever read. Oh. To be fair, at the very least, it does require you to draw those 2 cards. But why would you do that? Why would you allow people to do that? Do you know what else you could do? You could normal summon Blue Eyes Red Dragon. Not that you're going to, but like you could. Also, you can banish this card, then reveal a Morganite card in hand, place the revealed card onto the bottom of the deck, and then draw a card. That is pretty good. That's a pretty good effect. Oh, man. Oh, that's... Sorry, I just read this comment. Morgana shows up in the Art of Play Diabelle, so technically the Morganite cards are part of the Diabelle lore. Also, she's hot AF. Yu-Gi-Oh! Morganite. If I'm not mistaken, this searches a Morganite, right? Am I wrong? I'm wrong. No, yeah. You manage to add a Morganite card from deck to hand, then place a card from your hand onto the bottom of the deck. So you can search out. This is so... No, why? Why are you... I hate it here. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh my gosh. So we all know what Time Tearing Morganite does, right? Activate, no monster effects in hand, draw 2 during each one of your normal draw phases, and then you can connect it to normal summons, and you can banish it in order to prevent your opponent from doing anything on normal summon. We just read these 2, and then of course we have Succumbing Song Morganite, which says, for the rest of this duel, apply the effects, can't use monster effects in hand. Monsters you control can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, which, mind you, wild effect now with the Morgana. And if a monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. However, the important effect here is the second effect, or sorry, the engrave effect, where you could just activate this, banish it, to add a Morganite card, which can either be Time Tearing, or the Guilt Gripping, or Morgana. This, it will make Winged Dragon of Raw meta. True! Wait, you can actually, oh my gosh, that's so fun. Wait, hold on, no. I actually don't think you can do that. Okay. That's not actually how that works. That is not how Raw / any of those cards work. Because of the way that they read, they basically forego the mechanics of the game. Which states, like, in order to tribute summon a monster, you have to, like, tribute a certain amount of monsters. This just states, like, this is an effect, basically, in order to normal summon them. It's a cost. And it requires the 3 tributes to normal summon. Unless I'm reading this wrong and they, like, change that. But I'm pretty sure, regardless of any way to, like, change the mechanics of the game. Like, unless you get an additional normal summon, which would count, right? But, like, I think no matter how many tributes you have to tribute 3 monsters. Morganite doesn't ignore conditions, I don't think. Okay, that's what I would imagine. Basically, this still requires the 3 tributes, which is dumb. Oh, I'm aware of what the new support does, but why would you use that in Raw? Why would you not just, like, I don't know, not do that? Because, like, this wouldn't help this in any meaningful capacity. The new support is interesting, though. The Odeon stuff is pretty cool. Wow, I feel like I've been flashbanged. Like, these last 2, Art Magia and Morganite, are crazy. Actually, all of the cards we looked at today were crazy cards. You summon it without using a summon? Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. The Morganite cards don't do anything for that. The Morganite cards specifically would help with the tributing, but because of the way that those cards are written, where in order to summon them, you have to tribute 3 monsters, this card doesn't do anything for that, is what I'm saying. So yes, the new support does help Raw to hit the field more consistently. But the Morganite cards don't. Imagine Soul Crossing? True. Wild. Wild. Use the Morganite to get 2 attacks. I mean, yeah, but why would you do that? I'm sure there's a bajillion other things you could do. Maybe 8,000 attack, piercing, and 2 attacks. Okay, but then you can't play any like hand effects. Doesn't that cut off Guardian Slime? And isn't Guardian Slime like one of the best cards in the deck? Am I wrong? Does that not cut off Guardian Slime? It might not. I could be wrong. Either way, I don't know. I don't know enough about that. You could absolutely be right. That could be the way to play. I have no idea. I've never played that deck, and I'm not going to. I just don't know. It's 2 attacks with Morganite with 8,000 attack. Yes, I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying is I don't know if that's worth it. Anyway, I would lost my crap if they did do that. Yeah, that would kind of be crazy. So there was this invitational that happened quite a while ago, and I haven't reacted to it because honestly, I had like no desire to watch this. This looked ass. That being said, a bunch of like popular players and like, it is an invitational, right? So like popular people or famous Yu-Gi-Oh players are in this. So I do want to see what this is. So we're gonna react to this. Because, we're waiting for maintenance, so. Use a player, get affected. Not, the monster? What? What? Watching Josh farm Tempai with Snake Eye Fire King made my day. Oh, sick. Memento getting the dub in the YCS. As much as I enjoy Memento, seeing them clap Labyrinth made me sad. Though that was it was an okay match. It kind of sucked. Anyway, let's watch this event. Also, can I just appreciate the Yu-Gi-Oh Card EU game or team is like infinitely better than every other Yu-Gi-Oh channel like put together. They're so ass everywhere else. Like EU just their content brain is so on all the time. It's peak. Using number 41 to turn all opponents' monsters into defense position on purpose. Do piercing. Are you talking about Baguska? I have no idea what number 41 is. Anyway, these are cool.
Similar to the World Championship, which we
First
were
and second.
You also had to share your card.
Can I do this invitational?
And
These are sick trophies.
Similar to the
I
World
want
Championship,
those.
still you had free
Those are
shared
cool.
cards. And you as well.
Anyway, let's continue. Are those cross
Just
duels?
playing with the Fire King cards here. Garunix is activated.
Josh versus
activated.
the
question is, at some point, will he bridge
person.
into the Snake Eye strategy,
I don't
which
know
also
how you
has
would say
been
that name.
incredibly popular over the last
Watch OCG
year
streams, and
in
there's
Master
so
Duel.
much
That's
dead
true.
space so
Usually it's the other way
often.
around.
Use unmatched
Usually you're
for
trying to go
broadcasting.
from your Snake Eye cards into your Fire King.
Dude, watching North American streams are like that. It's wild how bad they are in comparison. Watch Syriax's video. I'm not gonna watch Syriax's video because I do not give a shit. I cannot stress this enough.
Exactly.
I do not care.
So the other way around, I'm trying to figure out how you
If
would
it's
do
broken
that, right? I mean,
in a deck,
that's just
that's
a normal.
terrible.
Wait, we did normal summon
Anyway,
Fire
let's
King,
watch Fire
with
King.
your
Yeah.
Volcanics
Fire King was
before.
cool.
I don't really think we're going to see.
Did we just draw
Glitch.
Volcanics? Are we just the
So
goat?
it's going.
How did
Probably
yeah,
is
we
going to be on
just drew
Tempai.
Volcanics.
And the
Wow, we
I'm
are
not only
just the
zoomed
goat.
I
That's
don't
crazy.
think
What do we
normal
call?
summon, and now we'll
be a little bit of a giveaway on what she would be playing.
Start with Volcanics. Let's go. Peak.
Now we're waiting for a
Base,
possible
base, base,
response
base, base,
of Colossa. I
Yeah.
don't think that's going to be the case. This might resolve, yep, and
Yeah.
we're destroying a Kirin.
The camera not only
I don't think that's going to be the case.
What is
This might resolve, yep. And
Oh,
destroying
Kieran.
a Kieran.
Oh.
the camera not only zoomed in
Oh,
there on Colossus,
Kieran
but also
special
she seems pretty locked in
Onyx?
right now in the
No,
situation.
we're not gonna activate
For the
Kieran.
moment,
We're just gonna
not
special
really
summon
doing anything. And it's
Onyx,
interesting.
right?
Like going second, I think it's not a very big giveaway saying that she.
We are
probably
gonna
is beyond
activate
Tenpai.
Kieran.
And the
Yeah.
Tenpai Dragon strategy, it has developed a little bit in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. As in the beginning, people usually try to go for a lot of hand interactions, try to go for effect veilers, ash blossoms, and all those kind of things, infinite impermanences. But instead, very recently,
Could we not have
perfectly
activated
fitting to our
the
jackets here as well.
Ponyx
Sky
there?
Striker cards actually have been included in most
Doesn't
of the
Ponyx
Tenpai
have the
decks.
ability
I think
to just
Colossa
trigger
might
itself?
also be on those Sky
Am I
Striker
wrong?
I mean, when she selected going second, I immediately thought of.
Do you need two with the Fire
Sky
King
Striker as
Z for
going
Pure
second.
Fire
Thanks for
King?
mentioning
For
it, yeah.
Pure Fire
But
King,
of course,
yes.
Tenpai might be the
Yeah,
strongest
you
going second strategy that we've ever had in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And now you're seeing
We have
Josh
Volcanics,
just playing
and
with the Fire King
Garunix.
cards. Your Garunix is activated, Volcanics is activated. The question is, at some
No
point,
Fuwa
will
loss,
Bridge
by the way.
into
Pog,
Snake
we
Ice,
love to see
which
that.
also has
No
been
Fuwa loss, no
incredibly
Max C.
popular over the last year in Master Duel.
That is true, but usually it is the other way around, isn't it? Usually you're trying to go from your Snake Eye cards into your
Arvada,
Fire King
yeah,
cards.
Arvada.
Exactly, but
Bring back
so
Kieran,
the other way
bring back
around, I'm trying to
Kieran.
figure out how you would even do that, right? I mean, I guess just a normal way. We did normal some of the Fire King
that's so
high
good.
tier
Yeah,
Volcanics,
Volcanics.
therefore.
Where do
I
we
don't really
even
think
need
we're
to
going
do
to see anything
anything
out of the
here?
Snake Eye cards. Still, though, as we can clearly see here, we have already produced.
Oh,
Fire
I know
King
what we're
cards, so
doing.
this could be
Vampire.
Zombie
Yeah,
Vampire,
make Zombie
maybe?
Vamp,
This is how
right?
we bridge, quote unquote, maybe because
Yes.
you
Yeah.
have a chance of getting to your Snake Eye cards here. You just need to get them into the
Yeah.
graveyard.
Oh,
and
we
there is a
hit
Poplar hit.
Poplar!
What did the
Wait, hold
chance
on.
of getting to your
What
Snake
did-
Eye
what did
cards
the
here?
opponent-
You just need to get
Cringe. Hold on. Check out these mills. These mills are wild. Oh my gosh. Pydra, the Afterburners, Dimensional Barrier. Crazy. And then, of course, the Fuwalos. And then, yikes. Just yikes over there. Wild.
them into the graveyard.
Wild.
And oh, there is a Poplar.
Yo, this game's
What we see on the
great.
side of Colossus because the
Those
Tempo
G
can
hand triggers
also
and hidden
Have a look here.
info.
Let's
Steal
see for the
your,
rush first. We
you
are
only
seeing,
have
as you
one
said, the Poplar, which is immediately coming to
monster
the field.
jump out.
Also, we see there is Azamina cards in there with
Out
Deception
the
of the
hand
Simple
at
Spot.
singular
But also
time.
in the
Oh, I am
graveyard
aware of
Colossus,
that.
we
I
see
am
a
aware of
really
how that
dimensional
works.
barrier.
But the thing is, they could have activated, instead of activating in the Kieran, they could have kept the Kieran activation available. Not that it would have necessarily done anything, but they could have just activated the Ponyx. Because they didn't have the Garunix in hand. So if they wanted to, like if they had Garunix in hand, they could have gone Chainlink 1, Kieran, Chainlink 2, Garunix. Right? And then not activated the Ponyx in hand. Right? But they didn't. So they could have just activated the Ponyx and not activated the Kieran. But maybe it was a reason to like keep it available in case they had like a Fuwa loss or something like that so you could pop, or I don't know. Maybe there's a reason for that. I just don't know.
That's wild.
And the Pie Dragon
I don't
I like
think
that.
there is.
I like the main deck dimensional barrier because in
Anyway,
the Sky Striker
Poplar,
package, you usually
woo,
run triple tactics
Poplar.
thrust. And in this format, if your opponent elects to let you go first, then you're probably going to be faced with some sort of hand interaction and you can thrust into your barrier if you are certain that your opponent
way
is
to
going
put
to
a
be
body
on the
onto
Tempai
the
strategy
opponent's
as well.
side of the
Not
field.
happening this game though. I think Colossa is quite happy that the dimensional barrier was not the top deck for
I don't
the
think
next
so,
turn.
right?
And she also got at least one spell into the graveyard so that
True.
the Sky Striker Mobilize engage is a little bit better. And we didn't lose our Widow Anchor from the deck as well because I think those might be the only targets, maybe with the Hornet Drones.
Yeah, Hornet Drones definitely as well, because Hornet Drones go into Kagari and then some other monster into the Hita. Oftentimes can be your way to get to your Tenpai cards, of course, as well. When
Where do we
you're
go from
tapping into
here?
a monster, searching out the Genroku, and then trying
That's
to
so
go
This
into
hand
things.
was
But for the moment,
absolutely
it's
custom
all
on Josh's
Josh,
side.
it's all Joshua Schmidt
So
with
since
his
we're
first
Carnage,
Invitational
yeah.
appearance here.
I mean,
on
I've
the
already
Anniversary
seen
Invitational,
it.
and he's of course
He
really
drew
hungry for a
Volcanics
title.
and
He is going in here. He's
That's-
not
that's,
stopping from
you know,
anything. He's
and
going to
Kieran.
summon out
That's pretty much all you
Promethean
need. Right?
Princess, the Bestower of Flames, and
Out comes the
monster
boy,
is very well
or
known
the
for some
princess,
monsters back from the graveyard. We're going to get the
Princess,
Arvata out,
bring
so
back Arvata.
are now more protected from hand interactions than we were before.
Amblo.
Now we can go for a Link 4 or a Link 2, a Sunlight Wolf.
Oh,
because
Sunlight
Link 4
Wolf makes more
might
sense.
not be in Josh's deck because you can only summon fire
I've
monsters
regretted
when the
dismantling
Promethean
my
Princess is
Fire
on
King
field.
now.
We
Dude, Fire
activate
King is so
Spoils,
cool.
or also known
I
as
love Fire King.
Snake Eyes.
I'm pretty sure we played the Whale in the extra deck, so we could have gone for that. But I mean,
Would make
what a
sense, yeah.
fire cards here to add back. Kieran is, of course, like
Yeah.
a prime target to get back from the graveyard here, as that is providing you additional interruption with your opponent, and it's like that unpredictable card as well from the hand. Now, it is somewhat predictable as it is in the hand now, and it's known, but still you don't know, as it is a quick effect in the opponent's main phase
Sorry.
when Josh is going to do that. So whatever
Just gonna
Colossus is
mute
trying to do, still
Master
Josh has
Duel
that
real
last
quick.
resort in hand of just being able
Who's
to
being
then
loud?
destroy the last fire monster remaining on the field and getting all the Fire King effects in the graveyard again through that.
I mean, just because the card is known doesn't mean that it's not going to be incredibly useful for
Oh my gosh!
There is the
Ah!
Diamonds of a
He had
Black Witch
DMSR
as well.
too!
So honestly,
Big question.
That's
we gotta
crazy.
say Colossa probably, or yeah, Colossa quite happy that
Duel.
she didn't have any effect veilers or
Yeah.
infinite permanences or anything like that, because Josh's hand, it was all engine. He just had all the cards to play through any kind of interruption, and therefore
Do we
it's
know
probably good if
anything
Colossa
else in
rather has
hand?
cards like Lightning Storm and stuff like that. Okay, we got the Holidays Amina in hand already.
Oh, we already
It's
had that.
there.
Okay.
It was quite nice to see that
I
Josh
don't
used
think-
this information
Do we
for
know-
other
we don't know
players
the
of
other two,
tournament,
right?
That there's
Which
multiple
is cooler,
deceptions
Fire King or
in
Lab,
the
in my
deck of
opinion?
Josh, because,
Cooler?
the first one was milled by the Zombie Vampire.
I mean, it's such an incredibly
Yeah,
strong
that's
card,
a
of
good
course.
point.
In
Just bridge
Yu-Gi-Oh
everything to do with
terms,
it.
because of how
Since was
different Labyrinth works, especially compared to like modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks, I genuinely believe it is lab. That being said, I do thoroughly enjoy the way that Fire King currently works. I find it super interesting and very fun. But it's undeniably lab. Just like due to the nature of the way that it works in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And actually is able to compete, really, really interesting.
And now the interaction that is so common.
I've seen some
Not
Fire
even
King
going to
on
Flam
Chain
Bird.
decks.
I mean, look at how
Wait,
many things we have
full
already created,
bringer
and
of
it's
the
now
end
only time
times?
to go to Snake Eyes, Flam Bird,
fuck is that
Dragon,
card?
and that
What is
usually
full
means
bringer?
in
Huh?
the process of Link summoning, we're going to get more and more monsters onto the field. Is
More
that already the
fun
moment we want to go for Appaloosa?
I think at first we want to use Flam Bird to put IP value into the spell trap zone.
Very true, very true. Okay, and I mean, before
I mean,
that,
it's only
we bring out the
it's like
Ilya
one of the
Sylvia.
few
Yep, another interaction
genuine
here.
control decks in
So
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I
right
think
now.
if you want to put the IP Masquerade into your spell and trap zone, you
Uh,
can't really go to link off the
With
Flam
new
Bird now, because
support,
then it would
then
just
opponent
go
won't
lost there.
even
So
be able to
maybe
hand
you
trap
go for
or
a CP line.
negate. We use effects on
here.
raw. Because
Yeah, you have to keep these Snake Eyes, Flam Bird, Dragon on the field, but you didn't even use the Great Effect here,
But
right?
they need it
So-
all
that's true.
combined.
That's going to be interesting.
How much
What
do
new
level one
support
bodies do
are
for
you
you
talking
in
about?
this
Are you talking
situation
about the
anymore?
Morganite stuff?
You have plenty of resources.
How does that
almost all the
support
resources
raw
that your deck can
in
give
any
you.
way?
If you're playing the Celine line, I think
Doesn't
you
do
go
anything
Black
for
Witch and
raw.
Sunlight Wolf, but we choose to not go for an Appaloosa here, which is atypical.
Don't they still just lose to
Snake
like
deck, but it's still like this is a
Detonator?
field that is very hard to break.
It is indeed, and that is
This is
what
a crazy
John's going to
end
end
board,
on.
by the way.
He could,
Holy
without
crap.
thinking about it a second time, just shuffle back Deception of the Simple Spoils.
Like, we can go
as we send another one to the graveyard through Zombie Vampire, getting a free card in the process, and now the end phase also getting back
into
Deception. But how many of those cards on the field will stay there with Colossa?
Appo.
With the decision of going second, of course, having a strong deck, very, very likely in her arsenal here.
Yep, but she has 6 cards.
We're
And
on a Fire
one of those, or
King.
maybe 2 of those, are 10 pie cards, and that is like maybe a pie drop.
What's
or
up,
something,
Zephyr?
Kaiman,
How's
or
it going?
second summoning.
Did you already say
Those
hi,
cards
and I
become
just didn't
useful
say
with
hello?
cards that break the field.
I'm gonna miss
Very,
using
very
Graver
strong.
as a starter
Fun
for
thing with the Sunlight
Voices
Wolf on the
Voice.
end field, if you have something like an Ash Blossom and
True.
Joyous Spring in your graveyard, milled through
I
Zombie
will.
Vampire, you can add that back on the opposing turn as well. Not the case this time around. We add the Fire King High Avatar Runics to our hand.
Yeah, worst case, but it's a card you can destroy from your hand with the Kyrian, so I think that's pretty smart, having an extra chance in there. But now Colossa, thinking about it, you can tell, trying to figure out what the first card would be to activate here. And the thing is, one of the... Okay, that is my favorite card of all time, and it's definitely a card to start off a game with.
No!
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Josh
I have to grill this
about it,
this
you can
commentator for what they've just said.
Trying to figure out what the first card would be to activate here. And the thing is, one of the... Okay, that is my favorite card of all time, and it's definitely a card
Your favorite card of all time is Engage? Cringe.
to start off a game with.
Cringe.
Yeah, but the thing is, Josh
Detonator
only
will-
milled
Detonator
one
will
spell
lose to
card
Raw.
with the activation of Zombie Vampire.
Doesn't it
This
just
could have been
pop
so
the
much better for Colossa
continuous
if she
spell,
just
and then you
milled
just lose?
multiple spell cards there. We have 2 in the graveyard now, so Skystriker Mecha Hornet Drones is not going to summon out a token with 1,500 attack and defense,
Oh,
which
no.
is very, very rarely super relevant.
That's true. Okay, we bring out
Not
the
Ray,
token.
Engage.
So
To be fair,
that is a little
Engage
bit
is definitely
concerning
the
in
better
way that
choice.
we can kind of rule out Lightning Storm already, which would have been a real, real good answer to that. Another thing I have to mention, one of the most prolific cards against big fields in the 10x Dragon strategy is Forbidden Droplet.
Yeah.
And Ilya Sylvia, just by nature, if they don't send a monster, there's not that many monster
Yeah.
cards in the 10x deck. Sometimes
you
it's a
shut up.
problem
Okay,
because it can distribute itself off the field. Oh, look at that. Josh is just going into an Appaloosa here on the opponent's turn by the looks of it. There it is.
Oh, that is an Appaloosa with 4
Wow.
monsters here. You can summon out
That's
the
so
Black
cool.
Witch
Wait,
again
did
by
we-
sending
oh,
something to
we-
the graveyard, and
oh,
of course
okay.
Language is going to
Oh,
activate.
that's-
So
oh,
endless
oh.
resources are...
Oh my gosh, Josh is so
Another
fucking
very
smart,
important
dude.
point with the Flamboyant Dragon.
I
We
never
get
would have
level
thought
one
to keep
monsters
the
with
Duel
Link
on the
Karibo
field
sitting
to
in the
allow me to
graveyard.
get
So making
additional
opponent's
material
monster
off
zero
of
attacking against
the
a 10x Dragon
IP
strategy,
Masquerade.
and also as a way to
For
protect
Appo.
Appaloosa above the God is on the field.
And then you could
That
also
is
trigger the
truly
DBL to
great.
special summon.
But one thing I will have to mention.
This is
now
why
of course
Josh is
we
the
have
goat.
activated
I
monster effects in the
never
main
even
phase, meaning
considered
Josh is playing
He's
in
just
triple
in-
tactic
uh,
talents
oh.
territory.
This
And
plays
I
so
thought
sick.
that Josh was just going to
What
send
the
out
hell?
Speed of Light to banish the token, but the token is still there.
Wait, this is so cool.
So that is still
I don't play
something
these
that
decks, so
Colossa
like
might be
seeing
able
them,
to
like,
do at some
yeah,
point. Also
that's
something
so
very notable
cool.
here for Josh is that the deck that he's running can play one of the newest cards in Master Duel, which is
Add
Donald's Impulse.
Ponyx to
That's a card that
hand.
is very, very strong versus the 10-pie strategy because you can just activate Donald's Impulse from hand, then negate its hand and Kaiman in the battle phase.
Oh, that's very true. Just released yesterday, and of course the duelists had the chance
Delicious.
to include those new cards
Kagari!
into their invitational decks. Sky Striker Ace Kagari is going to be used here to add that. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's trying to, but Appaloosa above the Goddess says whatever you're trying to add back
Droplet.
there, it is going to stay in
Maybe
the graveyard.
a droplet because we have Kagari on the field now. With a token, you couldn't send for the Forbidden Droplet because you
True.
can't send the token to the grave technically. But now you could activate Droplet, send Kagari, and maybe a spell card from your hand to the graveyard. And negate.
That feels like an. I mean, also of course Widow Anchor could be a card chained here, but nope.
Yeah.
It is going to just resolve.
That
Appaloosa
end board
stops
is kind of nasty.
Sky Striker Ace Kagari
Th-
from adding
this
that
hand
card
was
back
crazy.
to the
By the
hand.
way,
But what
5
else
cards
Appaloosa
in hand.
Is there a 10 pie card coming
I-
next?
this
Need
sucks.
Something to stop
I hate
Ilya
this
Sylvia
game.
and Appaloosa.
This game's
But
dumb.
Just with 10 pie cards is going to be a real tough time
He
getting
did
through those,
one
honestly.
of the
Look
most
at the
disgusting
field that
end
Josh
boards
set
in
up.
all
This
of
is-
Yu-Gi-Oh's
Oh,
history, and then
hold on.
also said,
maybe
hey,
Ilya Sylvia
what
chooses
if,
can
now
activate
hear me
four
out,
cards. That
what if
could
I
be
also have 5
absolutely
cards in
phenomenal,
hand?
But the Appaloosa was summoned by
Why?
Appaloosa Arena, so you can't destroy it via card
This
effects.
game sucks.
There is forbidden
Droplet!
next now,
Wow,
okay.
who would have guessed?
So we'll
That's
not be able to
crazy.
negate the Ilya Sylvia, but but we can at least negate the Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess here.
Yep,
That
and
does
of course,
stuff.
Ivata is also
Trust.
so that is also something you might want to negate.
Those were 2 cards, so probably exactly those 2 you were
What are we
mentioning.
Can negate
negating?
the Oak as
Oh,
well, it's just a
Arvada.
question how
I
much that
forgot
does.
Arvada
But
exists.
I mean, look at
Does
yours.
this do anything?
5 cards in hand, 3 set cards, one of those is deception that we know of. 4 monsters on the field. There is still the Kirin interaction.
I would have saw
Only
this end
it's
board
also
and just been like,
hand or not Ulcanix, but Garunix. Yes.
yeah,
Garunix
you got
in
it,
the
bud.
graveyard. Okay, Colossa.
Oh,
proceeds to
Genroku!
summon Genroku.
Tampai Dragon Genroku.
Ulcanix, but
Did I
Garunix.
see that
Yes.
correctly?
And Garunix in the
53.4% win rate. That's kind of
graveyard.
crazy.
Okay, Colossa proceeds to normal
I
summon
imagine here
Genroku.
watching him make this
Tampai
board.
Dragon Genroku.
True.
Good thing about that one is it's
Envelope
kind
access
of good
board,
into
but
like effect
Vomber,
Veiler and
IP,
permanences
Arvada
because it can just always
is not
chain
unheard
itself
of
to
for
that.
me.
But still, then without a field spell, whatever.
Well,
you
it was the
somehow
fact that he went-
can again be hit
he
by
went-
those, but we can at least play around the effect Veiler by going to
Flumberg,
battle phase
Arvada,
first. So let's see, is it going to be the battle phase
Salamangreat,
that Colossa has to go into here?
But Kirin is
Sunlight
only in
Wolf?
main phase, right?
Kirin indeed is only main.
So
Diabellstar.
if Colossa wants to proceed to battle phase. Yep, Josh
That
is going to be
was
forced to
what
activate
was
the
so
Fire King
weird.
High Avatar Kirin. This card has a crazy effect when it gets destroyed itself, and that is to destroy a card on the field without targeting it. So this is a perfect counter to Genroku. You might say, okay, you just summon this from hand.
Because like ending
But now
on that is
you
kind of
can
like a
activate
weird
the
end board.
Garunix from the
But then it's like,
graveyard and
oh, if
destroy it,
IP
and
Master
from the
Mana
deck, you can go
resolves,
Genroku. If
you
the
could go
Genroku
like
is chained to it, this is
Diabellstar and
the
like
card that comes out of Genroku's special summon.
that like whole sequence
Let's
was
see
really,
whether
really
that's
cool.
going to be applied. We bring back the Kirin here, but
Another
it's-
one!
We also have Sanctuary on the field.
Imagine-
You know what that
imagine
does.
if
I was just
Special
wondering,
Summoning
Kirin is semi-limited, so we can't even
Imagine
strike
special
Kirin
summoning a
here from
monster
the
and
deck.
getting your
But
board
you said maybe
entirely
with the
destroyed.
Sanctuary we
You can
could
destroy
Also,
destroy
you
the
could just
field.
do this.
There you go.
I forgot about that.
As you just
You can-
explained,
you
chaining
can pop
Tampai
on
Dragon
field?
Genroku here doesn't accomplish.
Wait, I didn't even
Sanctuary
think about that.
Wondering Kirin is semi-limited, so we can't even
Alright.
destroy Kirin here from the deck.
Effect.
Hold
Or
on,
a
go
card
back.
from the deck to get rid of the Genroku. But that is to destroy a card on the field without targeting it. So this is a perfect counter to Genroku. You might say, okay, you just summon this from hand, but now you can activate the
I didn't know
deck.
you could pop on
You
field.
said it maybe with
Why did I
the
not know
Sanctuary
that?
we could
Destroy it from
I think
the
I
field.
did know
There
that.
you
I just
go.
like
As you
never
just explained,
considered
chaining
it.
Tampai Dragon Genroku here doesn't accomplish anything, as when the moment the monster is summoned
Wild.
out from the deck, it immediately gets destroyed by the Kirin, so it can't even activate.
Yeah.
No Pydra could activate, no Fodder could activate, no nothing. We're still chaining it, but I think we will have to realize that the monster coming out of this is not going to
Neon
give us
Sunlight
great
Wolf,
value at all.
Photonics,
Yeah, but Prince tried to summon
back
out
in
the Hydra.
hand
Maybe the Kirin
because
is going to
he
destroy the
thinks
Kagari
he's
and then you
a
get to search
world
something, but I
champion.
doubt it. This is
Yeah.
looking grim for Colossa in the first round, playing
died.
against the previous Master Duel World
Wild.
Champion. Josh is putting up an impressive field. 4 cards in hand, 4 in the spell and trap zone, a field spell, 5 monsters in the main monster zone, and a link 4 in the extra monster zone. I don't think this. Oh, we activate
hold
second
on, hold
Kaiman.
on.
Is this the time for Dominant
Song and
Impulse?
Kaiman
Is
does
this
not
the
do
time to shine
anything
for the
here.
newly
It's
released trap card?
fine.
Sang and Kaiman in the battle phase. Good last card to have in the hands. Surely one that can turn things around.
Yeah.
But can it turn things around enough against that kind of a field still? Because
You
Appaloosa
have to
still
grab
sitting there.
Chandra
Link
here,
Kuriboh in the graveyard
and
waiting
Chandra
protected as well. So
immediately
what kind of
dies
Senpai card
to
are you going to
Arvada.
bring out here?
I mean, Appaloosa is negated, right?
Oh, Julius, all right. Very much.
That is.
So like
that
they
is
go
not going to
combat
help
and you just
Josh
Arvada their
anymore.
ass.
But the Avatar is no longer negated though, right?
No, the Avatar was just recycled, which is very, very strong here.
So like even
And
though this is
so adding
probably the
Chandra,
best,
and now Chandra is being
last
special
card
summoned to
in
the field by the
hand,
effect of Sang and Kaiman.
it
But
still
in the battle phase, you can
does
activate
not
both
do
effects,
enough.
which is our search for aging. Oh, and we also
Oh,
We did
also,
not
never
mention
mind.
it, right?
Forget
We
I
talked
said
about all the
anything.
different
I forgot
layers
that
of
that
drafts
card
that Josh has
still
created, and we
existed.
almost forgot
Forget
about the
everything I
Palladium
just said.
Princes, who's
Arvada
already
does not matter.
extending his
They
own
also
combo
could
so
just
much,
walk
but now
over the
also the
Arvada. I'm
opponent's
stupid.
turn is
But, like,
providing him that
yeah,
extra bit of interruption to deal with that last 10
They could also
monster
just
that was
win.
summoned there.
And I mean, it's very smart by him not to reveal any
Do I
more
watch
cards from his
replays?
deck there.
Not yours.
Not showing anyone else information in this tournament. Just saying, hey, you guys already knew that I have the Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames in the graveyard. So
It's
I just
kind of
might
a
as well
hassle
just
to do
use
that, so
that
I
one
just
activates
don't.
the effect to summon out a monster, and this is looking like a lot of damage. Up, Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon.
Flumberg!
Definitely helps on top of
We just
things.
put Bro into the back row
We
and
can
then we
just
go
put
combat,
that
right?
Skystriker Ace Kagari into the spell and trap
Yeah.
zone, and there it doesn't help much defending anymore.
Are you
Look
not
at
allowed
all
to
those
surrender?
attack
Is this
points
like
on
an
the battle
OCG
phases
thing where
those
it's
are being
like,
put to work
you
with
are
us,
not allowed
attacking
to
with the Black
surrender?
Witch.
If you
Who's
surrender,
next up?
you're
The Promethean
cringe.
Princess.
That's
Oh,
probably
to
what
attack
it is,
with
right?
the Flamberge as well for game. Not even using the Fire King cards. You look at all those chickens not attacking because we already have enough damage for game here. Josh wins this. Colossi choose to let him go first, and if you let a world champion start the game with a very, very strong combo deck,
Ah, yes, you need to combine it with
Yeah,
Odeon
absolutely.
and
That's
Spirit
always the risk
and
of
Morganite
Dragon deck.
and go
When you
first
make the
and
sacrifice
lock your
to let your
opponent.
opponent start.
True.
If they do have those powerful decks going first, they will
Just
be
do
providing
all
you with a
the
big combo,
things.
and you are relying on yourself to draw those important cards.
That was
to deal with those
crazy.
things. And honestly, they were like
That-
Forbidden
that-
Goblin is usually a really, really good card.
This end board is
I'm gonna
what
say usually you need
it
something
makes
else to
me
support. For
hate
example,
the
either
Asmini
Maxi or
cards.
Fubalos to already
'Cause,
have
like,
more cards.
if we go
An
back,
unpredictable card
in
as well
time,
from the hand.
right?
Now it is somewhat predictable.
Doing
as it
all
is
of
in the hand
this,
now, and it is
all of
known,
this is
but
fine.
still you don't know.
All of this up
Honestly,
until
the card is
Diabellstar
known,
hits
it's
the
not
field.
incredibly
All of this
useful
is
when there is the Diabellstar of a
like,
Black Witch as
fine.
well.
And
So
then it's like,
honestly,
cool, what if
we
we
gotta say
put
Colossus
an
probably,
Omni-Negate
or-
on
yeah,
this
Colossus
as
quite
well?
happy that you didn't have any effect
I
Veilers
was
or
like,
infinite
ah,
permanences
great,
or anything
yeah,
like that.
that's
Because Josh's hand,
fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted.
match it.
He does, but I mean,
Base, 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 base. Sorry, I skipped way too far forward, and now Orcust is currently being played, and all I can say is, fuck you, Josh. You've been outbased.
Like very control heavy.
As much as I love Fire King, don't care. Orcust. Orcust, PogChamp, Orcust.
Number 2, who's going
There
to
we
get
go.
first? A Guardian Celta has selected to go second. Is this really going to be
We're
the
just gonna
trend
Fire
of the
King and
weekend?
Snake Eyes,
Because
put
honestly, I
Promethean
don't
in
really see
grave,
a go
and then
second.
they blow up one of my most
strategy,
important
but on the
colors.
other
It's
hand,
true.
Bayonetta showing off her love of the Orcus cards here.
So Orcus Harp Horror is interesting to me because
Strategy, but
Harp
on the
Horror?
other hand, Yuya Bayonetta showing off her love of the Orcus cards here.
So Orcus Harp Horror is interesting to me because that was a card that was oftentimes kind of the go-to Forbidden Limited list hit for the deck because it's such an integral part of the strategy. But seeing that now able to just be utilized to open the game for Bayonetta here does suggest that we could
Honestly,
very
this
well
might
see
be where I
deck
take a
off
break
to a
from
good
Master
start.
Duel.
We
Well,
could get
Beatrice is now banned, so there's now a chance to actually play the game.
Chris can just send one machine monster from the deck to the graveyard, and now of course the link to summon of Galatea.
Galatea,
And that is going to
Galatea,
immediately set as another card. And now the choice always
Galatea.
is between the powerful trap card of Orcus Crescendo or the powerful field spell Orchestrated Babel. I mean, that card hasn't been seen too much lately, therefore I'm going to break it
Hold
down
on,
really
what
quickly
did they
again.
send to the graveyard?
Stars you can have for the deck
because deck off to as good. That now able to just be utilized Forbidden Limited list hit for the deck
Yep.
because it's such an integral part of the strategy. But seeing that
We
now
sent
able to be
fucking
utilized-
World Wand? Why the hell did we send World Wand? Why was that not Nightmare? Please tell me we didn't draw both of our Nightmares. No shot we drew both Nightmares, and they're currently in our hand. That would be a travesty. But you abso-fucking-lutely sent Nightmare there to then... Wait, did they? Am I stupid?
of her love of the Orcus cards here.
No,
So
they
Orcus
just
Harp Horror is
sent
interesting to
World
me because that was a
Why
card
would
that
they
was
just
oftentimes
send
kind of
World Wand?
the
What are
go-to
we
Forbidden
doing?
Limited list hit for the deck.
Yeah.
What are
Because
we
it's such an integral part of the strategy.
doing?
But seeing that now able to just be utilized to open the game for Bayonetta here does suggest that we could very well see this Orcus deck off to as good a start as it possibly could get.
For sure, Scrap Recycler is one of the most powerful stars you can have for the deck because you can just send one machine monster from the deck to the graveyard.
'Cause we
and
can
now
do
of course
so
the
much
link
more
to
here.
summon of Galatea, the Orcus Automatron, and that is going to immediately set as another card. And now the choice always is between the powerful trap card of Orcus Crescendo or the powerful field spell Orchestrated Babel. And I mean, that card hasn't been seen too much lately, therefore I'm going to break it down really quickly again. You, with this card on the field, make all of your Orcus effects become quick effects.
Nice.
Therefore, you can activate Nightmare, you can activate Harpor, you can activate Skeleton on your opponent's turn in the graveyard, and we're following it up with the summon of Dingirsu here as well on Bayonetta's side.
Yeah, Dingirsu, the Orcus of the Evening Star, pretty much the go-to
Scrap
boss
Engine
of this
Orcus,
monster, but can
insane.
El Guardian
It's
do
not
something
really,
about
but,
it?
like,
We said he loves
crazy.
Umi control. It's
How did we end on this? No! What is in our hand that this was our end board with Scrap Recycler as our starter? That's like the best start. Okay, okay, yeah, no, it's fine. 'Cause I mean, yeah, no, it's fine. Because Girsu surely just sends World Wand there and not Nightmare. That gets us... Because we could have at least gotten an additional material onto the Orcus Dingirsu, and then we could have, like, I don't know, linked 2 into, like, IP Masquerena or something like... Why did we stop there? Was that 4 summons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... No, it was 5 summons. How did this happen?
so good at disrupting your opponent once you've been able to
I could beat
establish
this with
something.
Magnet.
But
You could beat
is he
this with,
indeed
like,
using that this time. I guess we'll see. Here's the underwater field
anything.
to match it.
You could
He does.
sneeze
He decides to
at
go
this
second.
and
Oh,
it
that
would explode.
Maxi, I'm sure.
Also, of
just drew
course,
there as our
Lakuga
6th card,
Rasha
otherwise it would
has
have
6th
activated on
card.
the opening turn.
Why would we
Now
not?
still able, of course, to get us at least that one draw.
Hey, at least they
here.
didn't start with it.
There it is. Summons out Skeleton.
Why
there
is
by
Simple
Nata,
Skeleton
and
on
El
the field?
Guardian
What are we
provides with
doing?
Still 6 cards in
How-
hand.
what-
Heading into
what
the main
the-
phase, and as he chose second here, I would expect him to also be a Tenpai Dragon gamer for this.
Yeah, we did mention that is not the last that we'd expect to see from that strategy. Yes, it did not find a victory in the Colossa versus Josh match. Sorry, Colossa, for bringing that up immediately.
Yep.
But perhaps we see it now come out for
We
El
are
Guardian.
so
The Infinite Permanence immediately onto
unbelievably
Dingirsu, the Orcus of the Evening
It's so
Star.
over.
Harvest Thunderduster again, we're just seeing
Oh,
10
it's
by
so
card, 10 by card. Granted, they
unbelievable.
don't
Was
take
that
Orcus
crescendo?
of the
Did
Evening
we
Star.
have
Harvest
crescendo
Thunderduster again,
and
we're
we
just seeing
didn't end
10
on
by
a link monster? Ah! What the? I just remembered this is an invitational. She was invited. Who invited this person? Who invited this person? Get him out of here!
Card after Tenpai card. Granted, they don't say Tenpai Dragon in the name, but you'd expect it to be. And that one does
Whoa,
say Tenpai
Pydra,
Dragon.
who would have
It is the Pydra,
guessed?
able to fetch out one of those powerful spell cards, but no, Crescendo is being chained in the graveyard. Is there something valuable we can search from our deck here is the
Why
question.
are we active?
It is an
Stop
effect we can
clicking
also use on our opponent's
buttons.
turn, but it's only
Don't
going to
click the
search cards here,
buttons.
and therefore,
Why?
it might just be follow-up for the next turn. And dealing with follow-up,
I mean, it
usually
doesn't
the
matter,
Temperators don't
but
have to worry
why
about
do we
that.
grab
You just
Symbol
take the turn
Skeleton?
you have here, and you may as well make it the last turn of the duel.
Exactly that. Tenpai Dragon, they try to finish towards that.
It just doesn't
Continue
matter.
what you have to with those monsters on the
Hydrants not in the
connect.
slightest. Wow, that was...
It is very much so, and therefore Elguardian Celta and Josh being the the winners out of this group, and we of course want to hear it from Elguardian Celta.
Brother, just like end on Galatea set pass would have been better.
That we mentioned earlier, we could very well see a premature end to this turn.
That is true. I mean, we're playing around goes over. Oh,
Bingo Machine, go!
We're actually playing Bingo
This
Machine.
card-
It does indeed go.
Yeah, that is true, and it goes off as well. Or is Emre trying to negate this? I don't think that he's toggling right now, so we're looking for 3 cards with goes off as well. Oh,
Bingo
Bingo
Wait,
Machine.
wait,
Earlier, we
hold
could
on.
very well see a premature end.
Just
to
watch
this turn.
Emery's face
That
this
is true.
whole
We're playing
time.
around
It's very
goes
funny.
over. Oh,
Bingo
Setting the
Machine,
Bingo
go!
Machine? Huh? Okay.
This card,
It does indeed go.
yeah, that is true,
Activating,
and it goes
sure.
off as well. Or
And then
is
the
Emre trying
reveals.
to negate this? I don't think that he's toggling right now, so we're
Huh?
looking for 3 cards with blue eyes in their name.
2 Jet
One of them
Dragons
should be
and the Roar.
decided randomly, and it's going to be added to
What?
the hand of Rev's cards. So this is a very
Why?
heavy blue eye strategy. We've seen strategies that are very minimalistic on the blue eye side with only
Is
blue
this
eyes white
EU?
dragon
Yes.
as the
Of course
blue
it is.
monsters, but this
It's also
has
an
blue eyes
invitational.
cards.
We love a commitment to a
Yeah.
theme here.
Wishes for Eyes of Blue. I think one of the most powerful spell cards that came
Pitch
out.
Fusion.
It feels a bit
Bro,
like the
Emery,
Awakening
Emery
card
is so
that started one of the
confused
searching
this
for
whole
blue eyes.
time. He's
Instead
just
of
like,
at a level
you know
1
what?
Light Tuner and a
Sure.
spell or trap card with blue eyes.
Add
Effectively
Veiler
an
in-
underrated
in-
light
in
tuner
the
here. Of course,
trap?
a lot of people do
Sure.
forget that
Yeah.
it is also a tuner.
Uh-huh.
Just because innately it is a disruption from the hand, and it will be again this time round, you have to imagine. However, just being able to access that through the utility of the blue eyes.
To be fair, I don't
really,
hate this end board.
really
Like,
valuable
it's a
here.
pretty
Red
good end
cards, though,
board.
we
It's
said,
just like,
respect the Nibiru, the primal being.
especially if they have
Summon
Jet in hand.
those
If they have
little
Jet in
monsters,
hand,
minimize
this is
your
crazy.
plays within a single turn, and just let Emre react.
Funnily enough, the entire field that Rev's cards put up on the monster side was 5 summons, so Nibiru could have happened there after the 5th summon. Now Lightning Storm is a huge start
It
here.
is
Yes,
negated to the
your
Spirit
Spirit won't
Booska?
get destroyed, or your Spirit Dragon, in fact. But, I mean, of all these spell and trap
Lightning
cards,
Storm.
get destroyed, like the Majesty that has been searched
What? Are
before,
we playing
this
fucking
going to be
Tenpai?
very,
Is
very
everyone
tough.
just
This is
fucking
another
playing
one of the
Tenpai?
games.
What is
So we special
happening?
summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the graveyard. Put up a little bit of a defense. Maiden of White will also be summoned back from the graveyard then.
Very important that if the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon is forced to commit its effect in negating this True Light, it
Yeah.
could very well just use up a lot of Rev's disruption, and that may very well have to be the case here.
Yep, you can still tribute the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon later on to summon out the Neo Ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon. I think that might also be the fusion monster. It's the new Synchro monster.
Please
Why
don't quiz
would
me on
we
Blue Eyes
not
White
find
Dragon.
an
If for Noble
ultimate
Knight, maybe, but
Alright, so there is still an interruption. We are negating the True
Oh,
Light.
we're
and I think
negating our own
that
effect.
we
Okay.
then cannot special summon our Maiden of White
Yeah,
because
that
we
makes
have
sense.
chosen to not activate the trigger on this one, so we can negate the True Light. So also very
Sky Striker,
Well,
Mecha, Widow,
doing
Anchor.
things.
So, of course, the Sky Striker decks that we've seen so far have just been
I mean, it
Sky
kinda
Striker,
does, but it
Tenpai
doesn't.
Dragon. Now, with the commitment of Lightning
Is this
Storm, we
actually
did-
Sky Striker?
Oh,
I
right.
highly doubt it,
Do we
right?
see
This
a
is just
Call Fighter?
Tenpai?
No,
This is
okay,
just
that was a very
Tenpai,
interesting Widow
Tenpai
Anchor,
like
because Blue Eyes
number
Spirit Dragon
6?
can just dodge the Widow Anchor.
True enough, Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon are now coming out.
My bad. Very much my bad. We could have just kept the Anchor to negate the Ultimate Spirit Dragon here. Oh.
Into the Void, going to commit for more
Oh, wait,
draws here.
no, this
it's
probably
very
is
kind
just
of,
Sky Striker,
double-edged
huh?
sword here, where if you're not
Oh,
able
yeah,
to
it's
fully
Emre, of
utilize
course,
this hand
it's
within the
just Sky
turn,
Striker.
you will lose it. Emre, though, he seems pretty confident that he can close this one out in this turn, which suggests, again, 10
Are they, like,
type
not allowed
dragon,
to use
maybe
fields
rearing
or
its head
something?
against another kind of dragon this time
Because
around.
Which
have
ones
we
are the
seen any
superior
of
dragons?
those?
The ones with blue eyes
Oh,
or
no,
the
we did.
Tenpai dragons? I don't want to
It's just that most people don't
say
use
anything
them.
here that Tenpai might be stronger than blue
Hilarious.
eyes, but the field of Rev's cards isn't looking too great. However, Emre is taking a lot of time with this one, so if he only has one way to play his turn,
We do have the effect Veiler waiting in the hand to run
Yeah.
disruption if this combo is contingent on a normal summon or anything from the
Tenpai will
monster's
stay
turn.
alive as long as summoning
Still,
exists.
Emre taking time here is making me a little
Tenpai
bit nervous
will stay
because we know that
alive
to the Void is going to discard all
as
the
long
cards.
as
I have a feeling that there's like a timer
Chandra
going down there.
exists.
After
I think if you
Veiler,
get rid of
another
Chandra,
Sky
the
Striker card
deck
committed
dies.
here, we will reach that sweet spot of the 3 in graveyard very soon to enable the additional effect of a lot of these Sky Striker spells. Does seem to be
I don't think the
committed
field
here,
spell
so
matters. I don't think the
The funny
quick
thing
play
is that
matters.
either
I think if
negate
you
this with the
remove
Blue Eyes
the
Ultimate Spirit Dragon, or
access
you
to their
activate the
one
effect
ass
that's
tuner,
destroyed to summon back the Blue Eyes
won't do
Spirit
anything.
Dragon, and then you're
But of
able
course
to
you can't
engage
do
in
that because then
graveyard
the
effect.
deck
However,
entirely
it's
explodes.
crazy.
There is the negation
I-
I did mention here. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, of course, preventing that.
What-
Is this Tenpai Dragon Sky Striker is the question.
If we have multiple Ultimate Spirit Dragons, don't we just allow this to be destroyed so that you can just special summon back the Spirit and then go Spirit into the second one? Like, that's obviously what you do, right?
question, or is it something else entirely? Okay, yeah, that is looking more and more like Tenpai Dragon Sky Striker without actually a Tenpai Dragon named monster being on the field.
Yeah, because then we just special summon Spirit, and the Spirit can go into another
Emerald
ultimate
needs
here.
either 2 cards to play with the Tenpai strategy.
About as Tenpai Dragon as
Spirit needs to be synchro summoned to Tyro. You're right, my bad. But even then. What do we
You could
summon?
possibly get. But now Emerald needs either 2 cards to play with the
I always
Tenpai
forget about that.
strategy or Genroku. Genroku plays around Effect Veiler, because if you try to Effect Veiler,
you contribute it off, and then
exactly. And you can also activate it in the battle phase, and there you can't Veiler anything anymore. So normal summon
there
Genroku.
we go.
Emerald just knows how to pilot his Tenpai Dragons, and this is looking good. Now, Effect Veiler in hand is not doing anything against this. However,
Hooray.
Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring could be crucial.
Yes, indeed, we do have a couple of unknown cards in the hand of Rev's cards, but
I
here
actually
is
do
the
like
immediate
this.
Effect Veiler. You have to imagine immediate Tenpai Dragon Genroku effect in response to
There's Nash.
tag.
Because if we have a second
there is nothing so far.
Effect Veiler,
Emerald now going special summon another
we
Tenpai
can
Dragon
just
from
Effect
the deck.
Veiler
It's
this.
Hydra. Does
That
that
being said,
get to have
how
its
much do you
effect?
want to bet they have
Does
Chandra
that
in
get
hand?
to resolve? Is there a response? There's no response
Never
from
mind.
Rev's cards.
Never mind. It didn't fucking matter.
Maybe
Never mind.
Effect Veiler, because then the third one would
Never
be absolutely phenomenal
mind.
to force out
Woo.
Hydra. Negate that one then, but we have Sangan Kaiman in hand. This is looking good for
I
Rev's
banished
cards.
Tenpai player's
Just needs to go
Chandra
to
the
battle.
other
So we
day,
are
and he froze
in
his
battle phase
tracks
currently,
to
and this is where
rip.
Tenpai Dragon likes to be. Sangan Kaiman is now being activated. It resolves immediately. No Ash
Alright,
Blossom
happens
Chandra.
Chandra.
And guess what? We can special summon it.
Yes, we can,
Yay.
and yes, we
Yay.
That-
Yay.
Neon eventually.
Yay. Hooray.
Wasn't enough to stop Tenpai
Tenpai.
Dragon here. Wasn't enough to stop
Wow.
For
Who
winning
would
in
have
here. There's a blue
guessed?
Barcode winning the coin toss.
This game sucks. This game's
What
so
do we make out of
bad.
it? It activates Deception of the Sinful Spoils. Tributing
Oh, it's so much better.
Yep, and now we're going
I'm
to
glad
see
I
the
haven't
system
watched this
summoning
until
Sangan
now.
Engine.
This
Might
man.
not have lost
Okay.
it. On a
We skip the cutscene.
is being the seeding of the deck as well.
Did we
because
go
very
Beatrice into
that
what have you?
is tomorrow basically. So or a few
Yes,
days
that
later.
is exactly what we
Definitely
did. Wow,
Very
that's
good.
that's
It's
wow.
yeah. I would honestly try to include that into Lar here. Actually, we might.
Macapo.
Every duel is
Yeah,
the Joe card, but there is a Larry already in hand as well. Every single one of those cards of the Feast of Engine in the main deck have found their way into the hand of Joker. Honestly, you might say not that great, but here in that particular scenario, when all of them get negated, you still have the missing piece already in hand. It's kind of funny and good to see.
That is true, but now SP Little Knight is just so incredibly good. You were just talking about getting
Great
a
game.
second light feed into
Yeah.
the grave, and Barcode is having none of that. Chaining IP Masquerade to Snake Hope is also kind of cool. Now you still have Ilya Silva, you have 2,400
Make
attack
SP,
points on your
banish,
Apocalypse Above,
yeah.
because
Oh,
you're
man,
summoning
banish
the SP
Flurry
Little
is
Knight
so
to banish
bad
people.
here,
You
dude.
still have the second of
One of them will have to deal with the effect of Ilya Sylvia, so it better be 2 triple tactic talents or something like that. That could be something to turn things around. Okay, we go Chains, 1 Little Knight, chaining 2 Poplar.
Anything here?
Or
What could we
Poplar
possibly
just
have?
blocking the SP Little Knight here.
'Cause you've
Doesn't
already
really matter too much.
normal.
We're adding Sinful Spoil, Snake Eyes, banishing the Fabled Lurry. Now the question is, how much more can Joker do? This was his normal summon.
Oh!
Sign it!
Yeah,
Okay,
Sign It
because there's a surprise
Mining!
effect here. Just signing his own Ash Blossom, and Ilya
Never mind.
that.
I
Therefore,
don't
we're
care.
confident
Get owned.
Barcode going
Get owned,
also said
loser.
that he's going to play.
That's what you get for playing Cybers.
decision. I think
Cybers.
Joker immediately is going to
What
sit
a-
down
what a
and
great
already
game.
try thinking of what to play.
What
for this
an
round.
incredible game of
Going to
Yu-Gi-Oh!
still be undefeated after this one. We're about
Bro, in
to find
person
out.
put up
Let's
like
get into the
16
gameplay.
negates.
First to that, however, the Fire King deck
Through
does have
hand
ways through
traps,
this.
dude.
It does have ways.
Oh,
to
Lakuka
respond.
Racha!
That is very, very good for
Let's
Guardian Zelda, though, because
go!
that was what Colossa really was lacking in her first round match against Josh. She had like those powerful cards like Forbidden Drop
Hold
and so
on.
on, but she really
It does
Did
have
I?
ways to respond.
that is very, very good for Guardian Zelda though, because that was what Colossa
Oh, he didn't have a target other than the Garunix to special? Cheeky. GG.
really was lacking in her first round match against Josh. She had like those powerful cards like Forbidden Drop and so on, but she
Now
really
what?
lacked the
Deterrent.
ability to like limit the field, limit the potential of Josh Weber, because now Josh,
mean, we-
he'll have to decide. I don't think he's going to put up as big of a field as he did in the
Yeah,
first game.
Exactly, you
Onyx.
want to stop them from committing to that established field that will
I
just run
guess.
disruption after disruption, negation after negation,
And
and
do we have a
Maxi
normal
goes a
summon?
long way to facilitating that. And it does look to be the case
Look
that
at
that
that.
will be
Yeah.
the case here, because you
Yeah,
have
Maxi
just two
sucks.
set spell and traps.
I mean, we do
No
get
draws
to add
granted
the
off the
Ponyx
Maxi
back
either.
to
Josh,
hand, so it's
it
not like
could feel worse.
terrible.
It could also feel a lot better.
Do we know what
but
this guy's
still
playing?
Not the
He's
worst
playing
start for
Tenpai?
Viking
He's playing
Snake Eye deck.
Tenpai, right?
Okay,
Like
the
everyone's
legendary
playing
Fire King
Tenpai.
Ponyx returning to the hand, but if Guardian Zelda starts things off here with a possible Lightning Storm or Happiest Feather Duster, it might be going to his direction very, very, very quickly. Or is it maybe going to be the activation of a Legendary Ocean? With Guardian Zelda, you truly never know.
Friendly reminder that both these duelists are 1 and 0 in the group, and as Leonard did kindly mention, going 2 and 1 is going to presumably be enough to get out here based on the format, and therefore they do have the
Do we
luxury
have
of
nothing?
maybe being a little bit more overcommittal in their plays, maybe looking to try
Please
and
tell me we have
score an
Gold.
upset victory here for our Guardian Zelda,
No,
or
my
just look
God.
to close this one out for Josh. But right now, the Tenpai Dragon not getting
Confirm.
interrupted so far. Granted, that was a difficult one to respond
Okay,
to. This
not
one,
bad.
however, much
How much do you
easier.
wanna bet they
Tenpai
have
Dragon
Chandra in
Hydra,
land.
going to be answered by an infinite
Droplet?
impermanence.
Is there a forbidden droplet? Yes, there is. We're going to clear that Hydra off the field. Here, the part about negating the opponent's monster is not the important one, but the part about getting your own card off the field to dodge that infinite impermanence there is the more important one. So we're halving the Garunix, but more importantly, we're also resolving our Tempo Dragon Hydra and which card is going to get for us. I'm guessing. Oh, we're searching for Sengen Kaiman, yeah.
Didn't have to guess in the end because Sangen Kaiman
Snag
immediately
in. Do we
added to
have
the hand. Do
field
we have
spell?
access to Sangen summoning? And in turn, do
I
we
mean,
have
yeah, we can just go
responsible
combat
battle
here.
phase, as you said. So we could very well see just the Sangen Kaiman immediately activated. Double on the
Snagging,
Invector. You get the level 4, level 5
Givash,
dragon monster
no.
from the deck to the hand. You get to
Chandra.
summon this Tempai Dragon Chandra that has been added, and you potentially
Chandra,
get
do we have to quick
overwhelm
play?
this
Surely we
Fire
have
King
to
Snake
quick
Eye deck
play.
in the battle phase with the
Grim
Tempai Dragon.
Burn?
Let's see though, there is Fire King Skyburn, and that is a vulnerable
Skyburn's
field right now.
crazy
Usually
here.
Tempai Dragons in the
Skyburn's
battle phase
so
are very
good
well
here.
at dodging effects because they can just chain
Yeah,
their
'cause
synchro
now we get
summoning
to go
stuff.
Ponix,
But when
Ponix
there's only
effects.
one Tempai Dragon monster on the field, it's tough to synchro summon with it, and therefore Joshua had a good way to play around.
Is there
the
any
next.
way
He
that they
already
can
had that
do
Skyburn there,
anything
hard draw in his hand.
additional
And Josh, in
here?
that initial post-game interview, did mention just how well the Fire King deck
Yeah.
extends through a lot of disruption. It has play
Yep,
after
yep.
play after play, but this play has been swiftly answered by another infinite impermanence. This time from Elgardian
I
Celta.
mean,
This time there's no dodge.
yeah,
from
they've already
Joshua,
used their
but is
normal,
there
they've already
anything
done,
else
like,
this Tempai
everything.
Dragon deck can
It's
do for us?
basically just,
Turn-
like, hope
no,
and pray
turn
that
3, you never want to see
Tenpai
this
doesn't
Tempai
top deck
Dragon.
well.
That's true. It's kind of funny though negating the Ponix there because honestly,
But I mean,
think
it doesn't
the potential
matter.
of the Ponix was quite little. As
I
we
mean,
already had
they
the
could,
Fire King
like,
Island,
Ash or
and we
something
also had the
along those
Skyburn
lines,
used there in
right?
the battle phase. Therefore, I think the only card we really would have been searching there
But yeah,
was
I
the
mean,
Sanctuary.
Fire King
And
Island
Sanctuary,
has
you don't really
full
need that
combo
card
with
anymore when you already
Ponix
have
on
Fire King
field.
Island on the field. Therefore, I don't know whether I really needed the infinite impermanence on it, and Josh did not really even seem phased by it as we just keep on activating the
Runix.
island, destroying the Ponix,
Second
using your
called
Runix in the
by?
graveyard,
No
and that is the
shot
beauty of
called
this
by,
Fire King strategy. It's so incredibly consistent. It keeps on
Would we have
returning
called by the
with the big
Ponix?
monsters to the
Maybe.
field.
And Fire King
No,
and
that
Power
doesn't
Hunter in the
really
hand
make
as well
sense.
does suggest that Josh will have
Yeah, we
access to at
probably
least
would've
one
just kept
additional
the called
negation.
by.
If
So it could've
Elgardian
been
Celta is
called by
allowed
there,
another turn,
but-
it's a big ask depending on where
Could be
this
imperm.
Fire King deck does go. We haven't seen the Snake Eye
Could
card
be
yet. We could very well see it
droplets.
very, very
We just
shortly.
don't wanna
And it
use the
could very well
droplet. Could
spell the end
be
of this duel in favor of Josh.
Song
right
in
now.
Kaiman?
Destroyed.
Yep.
That means we are about to destroy that set card from Elgardian Celta there as well. What was it? What is it? It was another forbidden droplet. Of course,
Yeah,
the card
it
you
was
can only
droplet.
use
Yeah,
once per turn, so you
droplet.
don't want to double consume it. And very noteworthy.
It depends on what the
we're
last card in
playing
hand
double
is there,
Fire
but
King
like,
Skyburn, so that's
it
something
honestly
other
might
players
be
in
worth it to
tournament
just
will
droplet
have to take note
the
of.
Deception
Runix.
of the Sinful Spoils. Now, it's not a
But
Snake
I
Eye card by
highly
name, but
doubt
it
it.
may as well
I
be
would
based on
imagine
where
last
we're going
card is
here.
like a
Just
hand
additional
trap or like
engine pieces to
a
accompany the Fire King deck,
Tenpai
accompany
normal
the Snake
summon that
Eyes,
they really
accompany
need, like
everything Josh could possibly want
Fadra
here.
or
Mercy
Hydra or
Alago going to
something
be
else.
activated in the extra deck, going to be summoned to the field. Really.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because now full combo. Woo.
Dragon Slayer.
Oh, it was Nib.
1,000 points of damage, attack boys as well. Just battle phase, need to use it.
The prize
Need
being
one. That's crazy.
very, very resilient.
Yeah,
and strong
I actually
resilience
do
when
think
that-
holding it there was the correct play then. Yeah.
Lampion
Smart,
here
smart.
once again with Joshua Schmidt. Another win.
Who cares though? Because fuck you, Tenpai. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes
Is
you.
cross out designator on top of that.
Cross out.
Bayonetta will go first, and it does look like we could very well see the same effect again. Molchami
Ferulia.
around though, going to look to draw some
Nasty.
cards for Colossus here. Orchestrated
Dabble.
Babel. This
Cross
is
out. Why the
cross
fuck
out
did we activate
designator on
cross
top of
out?
that.
What is happening?
The crossout designator might be a little bit late for the Molchami Ferulia because you banished Scrap Recycler here. Alright, okay.
Recycler.
I think we may
perhaps
have
not
to
helping
skip this
you too
person
much
because I
because
think
your
they
own
will
cards
give
can't
me a
activate
genuine
anymore.
stroke.
Attack and then like 18,000 damage.
Try to
What if
defeat
they
here.
even-
Actually, this previous week, I played the Titans Challenger Cup, and I
It's not helping you.
Does have
Yeah.
luxury. Extra for main deck disruption. As
They
by Dragon Hand if I ever.
Interesting.
Back in the days,
Nothing
Tenpai
happened.
was very,
It's
very
fine.
strong in going second strategies, but Tenpai is not the kind of deck that.
You know what? We might also
Honestly,
skip.
this is rather minimalistic and
Cybers!
rather
No!
minimalistic
Why is it
against that.
Cybers?
It just goes after field big time is the right approach. Like keeping a lot of cards in your
boo.
hand to interact with your opponent. First card activate is Ultimate Slayer. I think that's alright though, as you have already kind of
What do we
done what you wanted to do
send
with your
here?
Link monsters there anyways, and I don't think the trap card negation effect of Lingo Reaver would be too important.
Nope, definitely not. That's very interesting. I mean,
Beautiful animation here.
yep. The monsters on the field. Not
That
very
might be
useful
the best
because
animation
of
in the game.
Factorial. Perhaps that is a way to
Cephalus.
force it out.
I think we're
But
sending
we
Garura
can't
here
send
though, I think.
Antis. We have to send Garura, yeah.
I mean, that's
Send
another card. This deck's
Garura,
not going. There is
Garura.
Garura indeed.
I mean, this card didn't really do too
Draw.
much. It was an upstart goblin, basically.
At the end of the
though.
day, really, it was,
So,
yeah, for sure.
Get you a draw by sending Garura Wings of
Not
Resonant
bad.
Life there.
Not
One
bad,
card
not
that actually
bad.
historically
Not
has
great,
never been
though.
really good against the Tempai Dragons was Droll and Lockbird, but honestly against this variety of the deck, with all the striker cards into the void and even drawing effects like that, Upstart Goblin, it all of a sudden seems pretty prime against that deck, but we don't
I
see
mean,
here
depending
the
on how many
Would have been very
cards
helpful. I think
are
many
hand
players
traps
have
in
set player
hand,
card.
this could be
Starting with
bad.
Sky Striker, Mecha
Like if they have
Hornetron
like a
is not
Maxi or
the
something
best thing you
like
wanna
that,
do because
this
again,
is pretty
you can
bad,
rule
but
out the
like,
Lightning Storm already from Joker's
other
side.
than that.
I mean, he doesn't have a monster that you could crash into with Theta, so I guess you don't need to Super Factorial here at all.
I don't think that is what you need to do that at either. So we go into Kagari, and are we returning the
Into
Hornet drones, or are we
Kagari.
returning Poppy? And one
Yeah.
advice that I've gotten from
What do we have?
returning Ultimate
We
Slayer
don't
won't
have
work as it is not a Sky
engage.
Striker card, so Hornet drones
Hornet
it shall be. And
Hornet
one
drones
advice
into
that
what?
I've gotten from experienced players when facing this 10 Striker deck is, they usually say, don't even care about the striker cards. Just keep your interruptions for the 10 cards because those
Truly,
are the
we
ones
don't play
that are
Z.
going to bring you trouble trying to end the game. But the striker cards are only set up for it, basically.
I
Wicked
think it's
IP.
very, very important that it was
True.
hard draw Hornet Drones and not engage because if you get 3 spell cards into the
I
graveyard,
think
you have
Maverick
Lingering on the
when
field.
first hit Master
Afterburn
was
is
cool.
such a
Wicked
threat
idea.
here.
Yep.
But now we just have 2 monsters here, which is super fine. I guess
Going into like the
most threatening
whole
removal here would be SP Little Knight.
like
and if your
Wicked
opponent gets SP
IP
Little Knight in
set
their
card
tech
was
hijack,
basically
you're
just
fine.
a
Possibly
10
Nightmare
removal,
Phoenix maybe
which
could be
was
something to go into, but
Yes.
Or
it
not
is a Link
Tenpai,
2,
Trident,
so
sorry.
I mean we
not
could still
Tenpai.
just also go for
Trident
Vegeta.
game,
It is
which
Vegeta
was
the
cool.
Fire Charmer, and I mean you gotta realize if they go
Hito
for the
was
trap
not
card,
what I was
Oh, no,
expecting.
Heat Soul is back in the extra deck.
it is very much. Oh, triple tactic frost. There was a monster effect activated in the draw
That's
phase with the Deco
hilarious.
Talker Heat Soul, and we have
Oh,
Astros and Joy
no.
Spring.
We activated Ash Blossom. Hita is on the field.
Oh, that is so true. But also on the other hand, you're kind of. I was just preaching. You don't really want to go after anything but the 10 cards, but we have just used our Ash Blossom and Joy Spring on the triple tactic frost, meaning a possible Sengenpai. Oh,
That's
Sengen
smart.
Kaiman would be activatable, but there
I
comes
like
the super
this effect.
factorial.
Oh,
Joker
this is
has
very smart.
everything he needs here, maybe. It was looking dire for him, but this could be enough, honestly.
I really like this because otherwise there is so much value that you're getting out of the Hita, but it also goes against the advice that you have been given to not care about these striker cards. If Emre has a nice 10 card in hand and another card to get rid of the
Circular,
effect that
yada
the rotation is
yada,
going to get.
yup.
Leo, I know one card that would just be incredible.
just send a card and we have the Omni?
Drop it, you send the Hita away, immediately negate the location,
And
that
we
dealt with
send
everything that
specifically
would have done.
the
But does he
Hita,
have that card? Is there a Forbidden Droplet? We've seen it in
which
so
is
many 10
pretty
Dragon
good.
games so far.
Do you
Is it going to be a
Droplet?
card included into Emre's starting hand here as well?
Droplet kind of kills us here.
Oh,
doesn't
I mean,
it?
that
Widow
does
Anchor.
it not as well, because that can be responded to. So we can chain the effect of Laplacian here to negate it, which would still result in dealing with another card in hand ultimately.
That's true. So it kind of does the job, but it...
Oh, but there's also Forbidden Droplet. That is very interesting to me, honestly.
So we're keeping the Hita.
We are keeping the Hita indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so we just...
And I mean, now the
Double
Hita
negate.
has a monster to attack into
I mean,
with
that
Laplacian.
more or
Wait,
less
no, we're
accomplishes
negating it
the
doesn't
same
again, though.
goal.
This is kind of
we're
funny.
having the attack here.
So that one's interesting now. Let's see. We're probably negating the Laplacian. What else would
It
we
depends
negate?
on what else we
pretty
have
sure
in
that
hand,
we're
but likely we're
Probably, yeah.
we're
I'm
just dead here,
90%
right?
sure about this because we really needed that in the game versus
We're
Reps
just
cards. as well.
dead.
Every other Tenpai wouldn't have helped.
I
him
struggle
there,
to think
but
of a
again, Roku
world
was
in
just
which we're
perfect
not
opportunity
just
search,
dead.
effect failure. Hita is now going to summon out the Ash Blossom Joy Spring. This just takes me back to
I mean,
some great days here again.
although to be
Yep,
fair,
you're
what does
truly a
this
fire
do?
enjoy as well. But Joker, of
'Cause they
course,
don't have
you gotta
anything
see that
great
Heat
to,
Soul
like,
was
bring
great
back
in
the
providing 2
Promethean
extra cards
Princess.
by
They could go,
resolving
like,
on both
SP
turns,
Light, but
but
that
it also brought
kills
it down to
them.
only 6,000 life points,
Like,
which of
prevents
course
them
is
from doing
dangerous
any
territory. Which
damage.
Do we
on
don't,
its own, not that much,
we
honestly.
don't have anything in the graveyard that we really need to special summon
I
out.
mean,
You
you
can get the
bring
Hita
back
back. The
Kagari.
Hita can still not crash into anything.
And also, it wouldn't be able to
Can
activate the
crash with
effect now that it's
anything
on Link
with
Summon
the
anymore. We have
Hita.
the Battle Phase, so it's not the Genroku you predicted. So maybe
have
there's no
the,
10 cards at all for Emre.
Quick play?
Wow.
That
Then
we
might
have
be a good
Kaiman?
sign here for Joker, honestly.
The Ash Blossom
Surely
on
we
the
have
Triple Tactics
Kaiman.
Thrust might have been huge because that could have given us the engage that gives us a draw or just something else to get us going there.
That's a lot of
This
damage
is a
still,
lot
though.
of
Joker going
damage, to
down
be
drastically
fair.
here.
Almost
One card that will still do
anything
the trick, of course, in the
would
battle
kill
phase.
him.
As per usual, would still be the Sangen Kaiman. Emre still in the battle phase, and he has it, of course.
Oh my goodness, but an
you have
impermanence would now
Imperm?
still do the job
It does.
because there's nothing to synchro summon with. There's also no lingering.
Would we
bonus
not
because
have
you can't
Imperm
negate
to
your own permanents.
the-
I don't even know if that's possible with lingering
Oh,
bonus.
Chandra.
Promethean?
That's
No,
the way to go.
probably
Here could
not.
also summon out Genroku, but Chandra
dead.
just does it. Plays around Called by the Grave as well.
And it is the Infinite Impermanence. Joker will get another turn. And that might be all he needs because he did what so many others so far in this tournament could not do. He prevented the Tenpai Dragon strategy from
Okay,
coming. He even
okay.
has that Magnum mode here as well.
Magnum!
So we're preventing extra
Oh,
damage too.
shit!
I love it.
Wait, that's actually
How
really
much
good.
Steam does the
That's
Math
very
deck have now?
strong.
Or alternatively,
It's crazy that I'm
what
rooting
can
for
Emre do
Mathmech.
here? Another alternative
That's how
to
bad
activate the
Tenpai
Vision
is, that
to
we're
activate
rooting
the
for
second turn
Mathmech.
Before you attack with the Hita.
Let's go,
But again,
Mathmech!
Joker was never forced to
Whoa, Mathmech!
Also, the Hita can not
Aye,
activate
aye,
his
aye,
Link
Mule.
summons.
Alright,
We're going to the end
What
phase
do we
now.
even
Okay, we
search
can
here
search
with
with the
Magma?
Bestial Magnamute.
Do we
And
have a
also,
target?
please know
What do
there
we
is still
search?
Mathmech Sigma in the
Cruise,
graveyard
okay.
ready to be
Sure.
another monster on the field. And Joker, as we saw in the previous round
Yeah.
that he played, is also running
summon
fees
the
with
Cruise?
cards in his extra deck. So I think setup and potential for Joker here actually use.
Cruise actually
also
is
Emre
pretty good
kept
here,
off
right?
of the
Do we have,
Heretic
like,
Seal of the
Beatrice
Heavenly
or
Spheres
something
because
like that?
Promethean Prince is still on the
Maybe.
field, meaning only
Maybe
fire
not.
monsters could be summoned.
He doesn't even go into an
Probably
Ember
not,
or
right?
anything. Summon Great Raging Phoenix, just something to link
Enemy
off
of my
Promethean
enemy
Prince
is
to
my
have some
friend.
sort of
True.
interruption for your opponent because that card in the graveyard, we've seen it for Josh before, does quite a lot actually in destroying monsters from your own and also from your opponent's side. But now,
I just
Jurisco
want to know why
is
Linga
something you
Riva
have to
has in the game.
Pay attention to not
That's a
send
great
off the
question.
Promethean Princess by accident, but I think that Joker is able to
Mathmech
do
with
that.
He
Bistials
probably is
in
aware. I think the
Fiendsmith
scary
meta?
card
Yeah.
on the field right now is certainly
Yeah,
with
of course.
Genroku, and you want to get rid of that first of all, so that it doesn't do anything in the battle phase.
Bistials are
But
crazy.
you
They're
really
just
can see
like
the smile of
generic hand
Joker
straps.
returning there. Oh, he's also kind of shaking his head right now, though. So is he happy or isn't he? I mean, he really did what no one else could do so far by preventing that Tempai Dragon deck when it got rolling.
The thing is, Sigma locks you into Cyber's monsters when you special summon it out of the graveyard. So if you're going into Moon of the Closed Heaven, you need another monster to summon from hand. But you have 3 cards in hand.
Are we
Which
playing
cards could it
Fiendsmith?
theoretically be that you
No
can't
shot
cancel and
Mathmaker
you
is
go for a
playing
Fiendsmith combo?
Fiendsmith.
What do you, how bad can
There
your
must be
hand be?
something, right?
Actually, what am I talking about? There's like no restrictions.
There's
in
not
this.
more.
Of course.
So Emmer also waiting for his
Like, oh,
demise
you
here,
can't
but
attack
Shoka, he
because you
really tries to
activated
figure this out. It's
Circular.
not the easiest decisions here.
Who cares?
He also doesn't play Moon of Closed Heaven. Because this
We
is
gotta
gonna-
see this list, honestly.
Yeah, because you can't bridge into the engine
You
when you're
can't
playing
just go.
your Mathmech cards. So you also only play your Fiendsmith engine when you draw Engraver.
Oh my.
No.
What's going on here? We're setting a card Joker.
No, that's illegal. I'm pretty sure that's
Oh, look at him on the full cam here.
Don't you
We
have-
are kind of going through that pain together with him
What's
right
this
now.
bucket
Not
in
really a way
hand
of
that
extending
does
it.
like
Looks so
full
good.
combo because you have a
Something
guy?
into a rank 6. At this point, we know that he doesn't play Moon of the Closed Heavens.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're just going Engraver would be better here, right?
Yes,
oh,
for sure.
No, this is so painful.
What
to
the-
watch. This is
what?
Chandra.
I mean, of course, you can't go into the battle phase. There's no way you
Yeah.
go battle phase because
Chandra is
but
just
Chandra is just doing Chandra things. So back over to Emre, and honestly, he probably is surprised by it as well. But he is once again an unforeseen in the driver's seat here.
Are you?
Yeah, the question is, which
how?
other cards does he have in his X-ray? Can he just
How did
go
this
for a
happen?
play here, or is he over expecting? I'm sorry, first, that's a card.
Emre's being kind,
Sure,
giving some life
no.
points back here.
Oh, he only needs to deal 3,750. That's not a lot. If there's another impermanence, you can stop the Chandra this turn again. If there is something that Emre can summon, then it might be over. If he has a Phoenix or something, we're going into the battle
Okay.
phase. There might be another turn for a Joker.
There's no way. Come on. Chandra
No,
effect
no,
now in
no, that's the end of the
okay,
game.
there
Cool,
is none
great,
of that.
fantastic.
So we are going to bite.
Maybe
Oh,
just
even going, look at him to victory. But technically, he does.
Once
what's
again,
happening?
just OTKs here. We're going for the Sangenpai Biden Dragon once again. And I think this is the longest 10-Pai Dragon match we've seen today.
For sure.
Two
And this
turns.
Ghost Bell
Bell.
Haunted Mansion. Hold on.
We have Kaiman in hand.
Hold back. That still brings nothing
Yeah.
back. And if they're glowing, look at him. Champion, even a world champion. Once in a blue moon has those guys. Leo, I told him, and Joker also. It's possible still.
Joker was laughing. Emre is laughing. Everyone's just having a great time. Sangen Kaiman is being negated. What
I
does
mean,
Emre
we're just
have in
dead,
hand here? I mean,
right?
Look, Emre's still reading Vegeta. I think he's still trying to figure out what happened here. What did I do there? Big oopsie on my end.
okay, we're in a bad spot, but
Wait,
A world champion. Look at
Were
him.
we
He
unable to
realizes there was
add?
no yellow button glowing.
did we not add off
Hold
of?
back. That still brings nothing
Yeah.
back. And
He
if there's glowing, look at him. Look at him. He realizes there was no yellow button glowing. Ay, 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 ay.
maybe he
Uh-oh,
doesn't
even
realize.
Why was Hita not activatable there? Did we not have a target? Can we not search Genroku there? How much defense does Genroku have? Does Genroku have 2,000? Charmer's only search when linked? I wouldn't know that
Ghost
either.
Bell and Haunted Mansion.
There you
Hold on. Yellow button glowing. Those got a moment. Told you it's possible.
Oh,
It's
hand here. I mean, how bad is it really?
What
for his
what
entire
could we
X-Ray.
possibly
Because
have
once
that
you have
does
Promethean
anything
Princess, you
here?
can only go into fire cards.
Yep. Still, that is the case. And look, Emre, like, basically looking for his entire X-Ray, trying to figure out what to do from this moment on. Trying to find a solution. And did Emre do any battle damage this turn? Yeah, he attacked over the Magnum for 100.
When you deal to your opponent, when
Declaring more attacks, but Biden could also now come up and
Transcendent.
destroy the
Yeah,
spell.
not
Okay, we
bad.
already did
And
declare
we
free, so that's good.
special,
So we can
and
deal
we
with the
paw.
set card that Joker had there, which turns out to be a
A
Cosmic
Cosmic.
Cyclone. Okay. Interestingly enough, triple attack.
Thrust?
He's engaged,
Oh,
doesn't
Thrust
do
just
anything.
kills us, right?
because you have monsters in the main monster zone, you could go for something that takes away the Driz Worm.
Can we go
I think at this point you're just
triple
very much hoping
attack?
that your opponent doesn't
They didn't
draw away
activate
the
anything
Force
during the main
That
phase,
was
so
big.
no.
Imagine they do
Triple
just
attack
top.
doesn't do
It
anything.
is
Draw-
your moment.
Draw and
For the moment, Happy's
add
Feather Duster,
Harpies?
just in case it.
oh no, you should have played Moon of the Closed Heaven. It would have been
Why
so
did
good
we-
to cut it. Drowning or oh, there's
Okay,
Sigma.
We really
had
We're
nothing.
locked into Cybers now, so Chaos Angel is also not
No,
enough.
now we
Maybe
go
he
for the
just
Sigma.
forgot about the
Are we
Sigma
just
last turn, and
stupid?
now all the opportunities are all of a
Why
sudden
did we not
arise.
do this
Let's
last
see,
turn?
Joker. What
How do we
oh,
not
no,
have
putting up a
anything?
wall of defense here?
I mean, there's Promethean Princess, so maybe we have a Veiler, we have a Ghost.
Okay, yeah, I guess we just don't have anything.
Exactly.
That's crazy. That's cool. That's fun and all. Tenpai is so sick,
Pi-
dude.
Not happening anymore. Attacking
Could we
for
not have just
3,000,
gone Sigma
and Promethean
last
Princess
turn
had
and
the
done full
honors,
combo?
Emre did the right thing and not linking off the Promethean Princess, just hoping that Madmec doesn't
Does,
have any follow-up after the first turn combo. Just sitting there going, I'm just going to summon back.
Does
Fire
Splash
monsters
Mage
every
require
turn
two
because
Cybers
then I'll
monsters?
and then
I think it just
eventually
requires two
watch
effect
Emre
monsters, right?
Trusting in the power of Promethean.
Hold on. Splash Mage. Go. Okay, it does require two Cybers monsters. What did they go through that they ended on? Okay. What about... Did they go... I would imagine they go Decoder. What about, G Golem? Crystal Heart. Yeah, no, it requires two Cybers monsters. Okay. Right. Cool. Yo, Blue Eyes! Let's go!
But rather just a link away, but that link away
Is
is
this-
going to get...
Is
not
this
getting
another
Blue
10
right.
player?
We also do not get a second normal summon, so maybe Refscards was banking on that. Okay, Wishes for Eyes of Blue is the best search card this deck has. Discarding an effect Veiler, and he responds, nope. That's really, really, really good from you.
Is that all the turn 1 disruption we see from Barker?
Couldn't
here?
you have
Is that the
gone
only
IP Mask
turn
Arena?
disruption we had available to this deck? Is it even Fiendsmith Snake
Like,
Eye again?
special summon
Who
and then
knows?
go
Right
IP
now,
Mask
the
Arena
full Ice
into
Dragon deck is the one
Splash
that is
Mage
able to do one
into-
Ultimate Fusion.
Yeah.
Bring
being
back
added to the hand here.
into,
Sage with Eyes of Blue also going to follow here. Sage with Eyes of Blue going to resolve comfortably. That Spirit with Eyes of Blue is
G-Golem
removed
or something
from
along those
the
lines.
extra
Like,
monster zone
you
with
could have
3
done a
up on
ton there,
space,
right?
And we've created the Blue Eyes White.
You have a potential of
Dragon
3
on the
white
field.
on
Now
the field.
getting Maiden of White from the graveyard back to the field. Very, very,
Am I
very
wrong?
strongly and well done here by Ref's cards. And the Ultimate Fusion actually is quite of an interesting card because the Blue Eyes players are kind of split on running this card or not, but it does give you some
Like,
very,
surely,
very impressive.
was
powerful
IP Mask
options
Arena
to
not?
summon out,
Did they already
and
use
set
the
it
IP
in his
Mask
abilities
Arena?
as well.
Hold
He
on,
wants
now I'm so
to the field,
confused.
and Emra keeping it simple, just chilling back, sitting back, waiting for his turn to try to play into the
Okay,
field.
they already
But when
used
that
Flash
field
Mage,
is
so there's
consisting
that.
of that also powerful
But
tower
they didn't
versus
already
Dragon,
use
then it will be tough to deal with, but we go into deeper
Masquerena,
cover.
right?
He's
So, like,
on
you
here.
could have gone
That is an
Masquerena
interesting
into
one.
that.
But it didn't even
Did we forget that IP
It's
Masquerena is a
possible to
Cyber
decode it.
sponsor?
No, no.
Probably.
Oh, why? What is this field?
Yeah, 'cause we could've gone Bring Back Sigma, and then IP Masquerena, and then go into
Interesting.
Back in the days, Evenly Match was very, very strong
Transcode,
going second
right?
strategies,
We
but
didn't
Tenpai
use
is not the kind of
Transcode.
deck that can allow to skip the battle phase.
I mean, honestly, this
Yeah,
is
so
rather
we could've gone
minimalistic and maybe
Transcode.
go
We could've gone
minimalistic
Eagle
if you're
to
up
bring
against
back
a
a
deck that
Transcode
just
if we-
goes
even
out
if
the field
Transcode
big
was
time. This is
great.
the right
Like,
approach.
we
Like
had a
keeping all
ton
the cards
there.
in your hand to interact with your opponent. First card activate is Ultimate Slayer. I think that's all right though, as you have already kind
bro
of
was just-
done what you
bro
wanted
was
to do
just
with
bad.
your Link monsters there anyways, and I don't think the trap card negation effect of Linger.
Attack points doing not a whole lot of much for this turn.
Two things accomplished through that. First of all, no Mausoleum of White searched. Second of all, no way of summoning back the Blue Eyes White Dragon from the graveyard or summon it from the hand. We sent the Maiden of White to the graveyard though there, so maybe we have another way of getting our Blue Eyes from our deck possibly. Or maybe it's waiting in the hand. What's next for refs cards? Because the important thing here is, due to not getting Mausoleum of
That Spirit of Eyes of Blue is
we had
card or not, it
wishes.
does give you some...
Wait, did we tribute that?
We're going to follow here. Sage with Eyes of
Oh
Blue
no,
and
we
Resolve
sent
I
it
mean, I think
with
he's
Sage.
rounds.
Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon going to be an
hold
equip
on.
here as Magician Soul's going to also resolve. Illusion of Chaos being sent from the deck as well does suggest that this is not the end for Rev's card, so his combos continue. You see Barcode just watching
Is
the
this
magic
the
happen. The
Meiji
magic courtesy,
version?
of course, of the
Is this like the
Magicians. They're currently
bad
resolving their effect in that main
version
monster
of
zone.
this deck? Are we gonna make like
Indeed, and therefore we
Verte
do now have
for
another
Meiji?
spellcaster on the field. I like the inclusion of
Please
Magician
tell me
Souls,
we're
honestly,
not
because
doing it.
the deck
Actually,
is all
I already
about having
know that that
spellcasters on
is
the field or
absolutely
Dragon
the
monsters
case
to go
because we
into your
saw
powerful
the
Link 1. And
fusion
having
spell.
another one of those with
So,
Magician Souls
yeah,
certainly
of course it
counter it.
is. Why
And the
would it
best
not
thing
be?
about that
Yeah,
Maiden is that it cannot only
yeah,
activate from the...
Right now, this is currently topping it. Crazy attack points on this monster and an equally as impressive effect.
It doesn't get much better than that. Level 12, 5,000. Linking off.
In the extra
Seals,
monster zone,
baby!
the
That's an
destruction of the red card
FTK!
should be enough to stop at least 2 of the opportunities from Barcode here to get established onto the field. Snake Eye Fiend
Yay,
very
Media.
consistent. Just
Yay,
better than the one you created in the first
Media.
He could just knows. No more searching, no more. And Droll and Lockbird
Okay.
on
We
top
had
of all
Droll.
of that. And look at Barcode laughing about it. He knows.
Barcode
no
said.
more searching, no more
I would
drawing, no
also
more
be
nothing
sad.
from here. Norman's Valeri.
Fiendsmith that
Barcode's turn. And Face still will be able to bring back Blue Eyes White.
see the lure. Currently that
Yeah,
For a game.
yeah, this game's way over.
down the deck of the format. The Snake Eye Fiendsmith.
Yeah, wow,
never
the person
really
who went
allowed to
first won the game. That's crazy, because the opponent wasn't playing Tenpai? Whoa.
Quite a few level 8s in this deck, so it does mean that you have access
Seal
to your
Majesty
rank
Magia is a
Xyz,
real board?
such as
I'm not
the
saying
Zombie
it's not a
Vampire,
real
all these
board.
others that are favored.
What I'm saying
And in
is
particular,
Seals was
this
the
is,
FTK there. Seals is
Tenpai Dragon, the
crazy.
access to the Photon Lord later on, does mean that we have the potential for the Curry
Perulia!
Perulia going to come out here. It does mean that
I mean, that
Colossus
doesn't do
will
anything,
punish
but
this commitment
Perulia!
with another draw on top of the one
What
that
the
already
hell are we playing?
guaranteed from the first
Oh.
Perulia.
But there is no draw guaranteed yet if you're playing just with the Horus cards, because Horus summons from graveyard. That doesn't help you with Perulia. That's me.
Again here, Widow Anchor in response on top of that. Just so
Sure.
many spell cards coming out and not much Elguardian Celta can do in response. Widow Anchor going to steal the Dragolixion. Its effect is online because it's Colossus' turn technically. Yeah.
She's just showing off at this point.
I think so.
And also, I think the effect isn't online anymore because Drone Lockbird is active.
Truth.
But now we are still in main phase, so normal summon Chandra could be a possible play. Or
I don't give a
graveyard.
shit.
And the Curry Photon.
I'm not gonna
being
try and
saw
figure out that
rise
game.
up.
Just
Graveyard Dark.
we're playing this. We're doing this. This is the plan. Is sure. Yeah, dude. Fucking sure. Blue Eyes.
It's 6 cards in hand.
What?
Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon is so incredible versus the
wait,
Orca strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Whoa,
to get to think of it.
whoa,
Again?
whoa,
Or
whoa,
maybe
whoa!
perhaps also
What happened to Fire King?
These of yesterday's pack, right? Because I would be
Oh,
excited.
never mind. He's playing against Julia. Never mind. Makes sense. Is anyone playing a cool deck in this Invitational other than the Orcus player? Imagine if the Orcus player was playing something interesting. Or more like playing well.
Expecting Dominance Purge to be in that Blue Eyes deck 100%.
I was so
you
confused.
included
Apparently you
Dominance
could just
inputs into
switch
a fighting
decks.
strategy, and now the Purge into this here, maybe.
Have we seen one of those cards so far?
But okay.
Absolutely not.
Because that is
I also
not
like
surprising.
that he
Because
switched
I mean,
against
I
the
very much
very
assume that they're in the
clearly
player's decks, they just don't draw
inexperienced
the cards,
player. He's like, you
Very
know what?
true, but for
I'll
now,
play
we're
Blue
going to
Eyes.
use the graveyard effect of Wishes.
How kind
Equipping
of you.
Tyrant
How
Dragon
kind
here
of
to
you.
the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Interesting,
Oh,
you usually want to
yeah.
equip something else there to protect targeting.
Neo Blue Eyes White Dragon, Ultimate. Neo Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah, and now we're going to use the graveyard effect.
I very much assume that they're in the player's decks, they just don't draw the cards.
Yeah. Very true, but for now we're going to use the
Did we put
graveyard effect
Tyrant
of
Dragon?
Wishes, equipping Tyrant Dragon here to the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Interesting, you usually want to equip something else there to protect targeting.
Why did
The
we
Neo
do
Blue
that?
Eyes White Dragon, Ultimate. Neo Blue
there a
But it
pink
has
cat?
seen like we have seen Called by the Grave from her.
Spirit
hand.
Dragon
It's like
Pass,
Blue Eyes
let's
Spirit Dragon. We've
go!
seen Raigeki, and the combination of those two
go!
cards that she had in the last game and couldn't play would really help against this.
Okay.
We've seen Activate Orchestra.
We
take
drew
power all
Battle
the time from
again.
her. She always draws this card, which is
This
not
is
something you want
tragic
to
because,
with the deck, but let's see how she continues versus Blue Eyes Spirit
this
Dragon.
card right
Engagement
here
for effects
just
in the graveyard
cooks
is
this
huge against Orchestra.
Gyasu,
Spirit Dragon is
Yorkers,
so
Magnite
good.
is there. One of the very, very powerful normal summons of the deck. Honestly, from the Orchid
Josh
cards,
was
probably the
right.
best normal summon there is, and Josh,
True.
accomplished player, of course, knows that, and therefore
Imperming
he's
that.
dominant on it rightfully.
Yep. Immediately shutting off access to this. Of course, also if you're activating infinite impermanence, this is something players
I
just activate relatively
actually
early
don't
just
like that
because,
play.
Okay, we activate Bigfoot.
I am not a fan-
Tactic Talents.
Never
Maxi
mind,
is
it
being
didn't
chained in response to Danger
Never mind.
We have seen Called by the Grave. We've also seen it cross out
It doesn't matter. It does not matter what I was about to say. Hit the Bigfoot!
But they can negate the Bigfoot now with the Spirit
I mean, we
Dragon.
just negate, right?
I mean, yes, it does.
Yeah,
Okay, the
it
Bigfoot
just
on the field right now doesn't do anything with the Gearsu.
Yeah.
So I think this was actually
Yeah,
quite good for her.
negate.
Also, you don't give Josh the Maxi draw here.
That's actually very true, yeah. So we have
Tragic.
found an answer to the Spirit Dragon. Do we now, on the resolution of that, maybe immediately use the effect of the Blue
Yep.
Spirit Dragon? Yes, we
Yep,
do.
yep.
Which is our
And then we
card of
called
choice
by,
here,
right?
which is the monster we bring out, of course. The Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Basically, we upgrade, right?
Also,
Show me the
very,
forward
very smart from Josh to summon it in the extra monster zone because there's a good chance that Nightmare Cerberus is a card that is being played from Bionetic.
Yeah!
Just link it off into Nightmare Mermaid.
Jackalope.
We are playing
Oh,
so
no.
much engine.
Even though Joshua
Wow,
is not even
just
really
American
executing it,
Sniper
he is
over
getting
here,
those dangers
Joshua.
out of the
Just
hand of
hit
Bayonetta.
all
There's
of the
Snipe Hunter
dangers.
step by step. He
All
is
of
Snipe
those
hunting here for
dangers.
sure.
EU
Still,
Sniper,
of
I
course,
guess,
a way
he's not
into
an
a Danger
effect.
Monster with the Graveyard effect of Danger Jackalope there.
Why
But
did
you
we
also don't know
summon
what Bayonetta has
Thunderbolt?
in hand. If it's like
Because
Orcus
it's
cards
big.
in the hand, then you
True.
really want to discard those. But you still have
Can we
access
do
to
anything
Nightmare
here?
Phoenix,
Do we just...
which
we can't
probably
just
would be
pass.
negated if you target the
die.
True Light to destroy all monsters on the field.
We
But
go...
you can get the discard. We go into Galatea, the August Automatron, which would
it
give us the
doesn't
chance
matter. We're dead.
to
This
summon
is
out
so
Gearsu. However, we
unbelievable.
can't activate.
I don't think there's a
Spirit Dragon,
world
the
in which
monster
Orcus
summoned out
does,
will be
like,
destroyed in the end
shit
phase.
here.
The cool thing, Netta just
Hold on,
nodding,
what
Haddock will be
happened?
activated, immediately trying to deal with the Galatea and do it. But also apparently of the Blue
And
Eyes
that
Wide,
destroy- yeah, yeah,
it
that's
immediately
what it is.
replaces itself again. So
Then that comes the
almost
Spirit
like
Dragon, and
supposed
then
to
we
be.
get
Yeah.
True
I think
Light,
that's
and...
not-
yeah.
so no guards available.
Wow, that's
And
crazy.
Blue Eyes
Who
White
would've
Dragon
guessed?
attacks.
Disturbing of a world champion, moving on to top
Whoa,
4 as the winner
crazy!
of this
Joshua
game.
won?
You're just
Who
choosing
would have
to reveal the second deck
guessed?
before it gets really
Hold on, what
relevant
are
as well.
the-
It's just such a flex here.
Only person in group.
Here's Group B. Wow. Former world champ is number 1, and everyone else isn't. If only Emery was playing something remotely interesting. Too bad he isn't. Is this our first Fiendsmith combo that
Haven't
we're
quite
gonna
seen
see?
what it was yet.
Smith's Requiem.
I'm
putting
sorry.
itself
I'm
in a great
sorry.
spot.
Hold on. I'm sorry. What? What? Why are there Fiendsmith cards in here? Okay.
To the Fiendsmith Engraver. Can we do anything with that card here in the Spell and Trap Zone?
Why
There
not?
must be a reason why we did
of
that.
course.
Is there a way
I mean, it
we
doesn't
can bring
lock
it to the
you. Why
graveyard
not?
with
I
my
just...
cards? I'm wondering. I don't see any. to
Is
be
that
honest.
worth it?
But Joka, oh, he's setting one card.
Yeah.
He's setting another card, and we have
I don't think
seen
it's worth
him
it,
search
chat.
for Super Factorial. But he only has 2
What
mana
is this
from the
deck?
graveyard currently,
I got
so
it.
the
I
place here,
need
the
to
ones you
know
wanna
what
summon
this
off
deck
Super
list
Factorial
is.
not an opportunity,
Because it
not a
looks
possibility here.
Do
so
we
bad.
have any kind of meaningful response from Rev's
Specifically
cards
the
with
extra
established
deck.
field, though, is the question, because we
Because,
set
like,
5
Math
unknown
Mech,
cards now.
or more
with the
specifically
Halo, back
Cybers,
to that number
needs
5,
a
off of the
ton
Duel
of
turn
extra
as well,
deck
so
monsters.
where do we go from here? Is it Blue Eyes White Dragon? I guess we're about to see.
We're about to see indeed, and I mean, you say established field, and yeah, we're matching the cards in hand from Revs with cards on the field on Joker's side, but if we look at them, the Requiem, the Engraver, and Villaplation, or no, rather the Alimbrician, they don't do anything on Revs'
Why?
cards turn,
Okay,
and
yeah,
also
we don't
the
have
Cypher's
access
probably
to
going be the Super
transcode.
Factorial, and we do have a
Why
strong
would we
style
play
of Revs cards
Fiendsmith?
using wishes for
Just
either
play
blue,
the
also
Math Mech
Bright
cards.
Target
The
for
Math Mech
access
cards
and
are
charge
infinitely
Rainbow.
better.
If Joker has it, he has
Solemn
Solid
Judgment does say no to this, and ultimately Rev's cards cannot do anything to stop that. The counter trap speed, of course, does mean that any further kind of response on that chain.
No
is
wonder
going to
you're
be shut out.
0-2.
Where do you go
This
from
list
here?
is
Wish
ass, dude.
for
This
Eyes
list
of
is
Blue
so
wishes to
bad.
close this one out and get out of this group, but ultimately stops in his tracks.
Why are we
Cypher's
playing
has an opportunity
Judgment?
here. Revs, it's your turn. It's your move. What do you do?
I mean, we might have a really, really
that
funny
is a
situation
choice.
in the end developing, because imagine
I-
Joker loses here. I don't think he's actually out, right? Because Joker
So-
could go to 1-2, Revs cards would also go to 1-2, and then if Emery beats Barcode in the last game of their group round, then we may have 3 players at 1-2, so nothing over for Joker so far, so it's really worth playing, but there is a Magician's Souls now next up for Revs cards.
This nightmare tiebreak scenario is
I-
ultimately the dream of Joker. He wants to stay in this,
yeah,
and he looks to be in a
Alchemist
commanding
Sprit,
position to do so.
Sprit,
But Rev's card from Spirit with Eyes of Blue
This
able to add the
resolves?
Mausoleum of White, and it's not gone disrupted.
Yeah?
There's still 2 cards in hand for Joker. Could very well see further
What?
interactions there, but Rev's cards for now looking pretty okay with how things are turning out.
There already is a Blue Eyes White Dragon in the graveyard as we discard started that for the wishes at the beginning of our turn. I think we're going to bring that back here. Very much so. There he is, the most iconic monster back onto the field. It's so beautiful to see that just a normal monster in 2025 Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel still has that big of an impact. There's Raw the blue-eyed dragons, meaning we probably are going to make that 2 blue-eyed white dragon in just a second. Oh, we
Yeah, summon Jet Dragon makes
here in that
sense.
situation,
Yep.
arguably.
Yep.
And then we make
Removal
Seal.
available now for red cards to deal with that established field. One face down was the Solemn Judgment. What is the other face down though? I believe it was a Math Mech card.
Quit, make
It's
Tyrant.
most likely Super Vectorial, and the interesting thing is we could go into Tyrant Dragon.
Oh,
and
we could go
Tyrant Dragon
Tyrant,
would
walk
actually
over
be
the
insane
field,
as
and then
Tyrant
make
Dragon
Verte,
allows
and then
Revs cards to
go
attack every
Mavia.
single monster
That's
on the
actually
opponent's side of the
pretty
field. There is a Blue-Eyes Tyrant Dragon. There we have it, Mausoleum of White now as well. So one fusion monster could deal with both of these monsters from Joker there, and still noteworthy, it's only 4,000 life points right now for Joker due to that Solemn Judgment activation.
One fusion monster, but it is one normal monster sent from the deck to the graveyard by Revs cards.
Hold
Here, the
on,
Tyrant
though.
Dragon answered by the Nibiru the Primal Being. The entire field now sent to the graveyard
mind.
as this meteor
Never mind, we're fine.
crashes down. Not a dinosaur made extinct this time around, instead a whole field of dragons.
Look at that 10,200 attack points on the token, but possibly the turn-ending
Do
move
we
here
have
from Joker's
anything?
side for everything.
If we
that
have
Revs cards
a
try to
Cyber
do there, and
sponsor,
you
I
see
think we're
him
fine.
going left to right in
Like,
his
any
chair, and he
Cyber
will have to
sponsor
pass it
pretty much
over.
does it,
And
yeah.
Joker now back in the driving seat here.
Actually, no. The extra deck is so shit
Math
that that's
Mech,
probably
iconic
not the
for
case.
being able to
That's
start so
probably
many
not
combos
the case.
off of a
Any
single
Cyber
card.
sponsor probably
Fiend
doesn't
Smith,
do it.
very much the same. Joker
But they're going to
has
draw
two
circular, right?
of these engines in his deck and two of the components in his
I
hand.
was
Math Mech
close.
Diana is going to start this off.
That's the perfect card he could have drawn there, because that does not
Why?
only give an immediate monster access,
Why are you
immediate ways to play,
here?
but also the set card is still the Math Mech Super Factorial. That will be live now with a third Math Mech monster finding its way to the graveyard.
And Joker's previous duel, he needed that Math Mech card off the top of the deck.
Oh,
but
never
could
mind, we still
not
haven't
find it.
graveyard.
This
I
time
forgot
around,
about
though,
the
he
graveyard.
gets
Yeah,
it.
this
He
was
gets
never,
the circular
this-
on the field on top
yeah,
of
this
it.
is
The
okay.
Fiend Smith Engraver joins the party. Granted,
This
nothing
is
has
so-
5,300 attack or more at the moment, but it should still
Jover.
easily dispatch this
Requiem.
Nibiru, the Primal Being token.
For sure, we can
Requiem.
just equip that Requiem once more, and that alone would be a good way to deal with the
Do we
Nibiru
remove
token
the
here. And
token
exactly
now?
what we're going to do. Fiends
This
of Engraver,
potentially
not only
opens up
sending the
like
Requiem, but
Gamma,
also
Delta,
the
etc.
token
So
of the
technically
field.
speaking, I feel like you're not
And
supposed
I mean,
to do that.
some quick math here. That's almost 8,000 points of damage, and we still have the trap card in there. Oh,
And we still have an Xyz summon
Oh,
on
never
top
mind.
of it. We can access more of these
Doesn't
Math Mech monsters. Prime,
We
Math
just make this
Mech, Alembestia now being summoned again for the
Here we
second
go.
time this duel, but this time no
Here
effect
we go.
failure, no
What are we adding
interference, allowed to just resolve.
and we're going to get Math Mech Circular. Joker will have to pay attention. Do you really want to activate that Math Mech Circular here? As when you do so, you could only attack with one monster that turn. So you have so many attack points there already on the field. I don't even really think you want to do that necessarily, because let's
It
face it,
does
just
not
go to a
matter
battle phase like that. Oh, we have Druid's Worm as well. That
At
very
all,
handily and easily does it here,
commentators,
possibly.
whether or not you activate the circular
even-
here,
we're even
because
safe from
circular
here, because
allows
that's
you
Prime
to
Math Mech,
literally
Alan Burschen there
invalidate
was made
everything
with
your
the
opponent
diameter,
does
so nothing that Refs
by
can
just
do, because we have a negate
going access
online
code
with
attack
Joker.
with it.
There was
There is an Nibiru, the
but
Primal
we
Being.
can just negate it, as I just
Wow,
explained.
that's
with
crazy.
negation
Imagine-
effect
imagine
was
that
granted
mattering.
due to Math Mech diameter,
Imagine
which
that
uses an
fucking
X
mattering.
black Zat material.
Imagine
So,
Nibiru
sad
mattering.
The
Couldn't
Nibiru
be
from Joker was way
me.
more impactful, as it did resolve, and we are in the battle phase now, and we are going to close this one
Yeah.
out. And it's lovely to see that Joker gets his first win.
He won!
Kind of
Let's
shakes things
go!
up here in Group B, as this might be leading to him possibly still
this
making
game.
it into the top 4 eventually. Wait, hold on though, we were a little quick there. What happened there? Is Joker just said, you know what? Let's play this one on for a little longer here.
Okay, is there a reason why the Alembestian was not able to attack?
So we gotta see here. Refs cards trying to figure out the situation.
Okay, in our defense, Math Mech is not something you see every day, and Fiendsmith Math Mech especially not. But a Fiendsmith sequence here, the additional burn from the Fiendsmith card from the Lacrima is going to be able to hopefully seal the deal here.
He's trying to do it that way. Look at Joker. He knows the last card in hand from Refs cards, so he just wants to do it in a different way.
Yeah.
He wants to show us here that he has every tool
Are we
available. He
just
goes into Fiends with Lacrima. He's like, we can all attack, but has anyone ever today done that one yet today? So we're going to do it here. We're going to link up that Fiends with Lacrima, and then we will be able to deal the final damage here in the main phase 2 instead.
Yep, able to just do a clean, I believe, 1,200 points of damage with this. It can be the difference maker. It will be the difference maker here as well. Going to actually Xyz with this into a rank 6.
That works. You can still just attack. Okay,
piece
we don't
of
see that.
shit.
Nice.
I mean, okay. Joker says we're going to not even end it like that here. We're going to give Refs cards a chance here. Honestly, gentleman move there by Joker saying, hey, you may try again. Super
You
Victorious
piece
now
of
from
shit.
Joker.
Oh,
Immediately when Refs cards
you.
drew another card. So he may
Oh,
have
this.
turn.
Oh!
His card out of the hand taken away there. And we're going to have another negate available by Diameta also returning to the field here. I think Joker just wants some more screen time.
We
here.
had
He wants to show
lethal,
off.
right?
A lot of Math Mech here, and we do have an
We
extra
had
one bit
lethal
into
on
Prime
field.
Math Mech
Am I
Laplacian.
crazy? Was there
Goodbye
something
to the
preventing
Volume
us
of
from
White.
attacking
Goodbye
with
to
that
the
Alan
card in
Burschen?
hand.
I don't think there was.
Okay,
Of course
so
we
it
did.
is an
Of course
unknown
we
card that we
did.
drew there,
No,
but we do also have a negate. We do also still have the Caesar on the field, so in case we try to special summon something, but no, Refs cards with a set card there. Is that set card going to be a Mirror Force, possibly?
We've
Can that
seen
get you
a single
banned?
card
Is
turn
that-
game on
is that
attack
a
before, and
bannable
we may very
offense?
well see it this time around, but it looks
are
very
you
likely
doing?
the Joker
What are
will
you
close
doing?
this one
What are
out.
you doing?
Synchro
What are you doing?
summon on top
What
of
are you
that.
doing?
It is 10, so that should be the Chaos Angel coming out here. Banish on the face down.
Oh,
And this should just be
What did we banish?
the Chaos Angel.
Please tell me it was
coming out
something
here.
like Mirror Force.
Banish
At
on the
least
face
be
down.
some. No, it was
And this
Wishes.
should just be
It
a
was Wishes.
clean connection of the final attack from that Nibiru, the primal being, from Joker to take his first
Indeed, Joker is still in this. He will be urgently paying attention to that next game coming up because all of a sudden he's in this. All of a sudden he may be having a chance for himself to still get into that top 4. He was very nervous. He was
We
really
now have
upset
a
when he did
villain,
not win the
Chad.
first 2 rounds.
We now have a
He's
villain
shaping up
who
now.
we
He's
no longer
possibly
wants to see
still
win in
good to go and
any
maybe golden
capacity.
because he is
I'd
in
rather
second
see
place.
Tenpai
Next opponent,
and
Josh.
every other player
I mean, also you have the
beat
advantage of playing
him.
Mathmech against Josh.
Indeed.
Historically, a difficult matchup.
That's a heads-up start for him already, for sure.
True enough.
Absolutely.
But regardless,
Commentators
very
call
well
it a
played by
gentleman's
Joker there
move.
to just shut out the Blue Eyes White Dragon strategy from Revs. We've seen the power of the deck when going first. We haven't seen too much.
Look,
of it
if I was a
going second,
commentator,
though.
that's
And of course,
exactly
when
what
it
I would
comes to
say,
dragon decks
because
that
Konami
do
would be
deal
like,
with established
you can't
fields,
call our game
Tenpai
dead.
Dragon has been
I
go-to
would,
team so far this tournament, and so far
as
the
not
last
a
couple of months,
professional
and
commentator,
And
I
finally,
would have
we'll a chance
literally
to have an interview
walked
with Joker,
up
as of course, this is the
and
first win he got out
slapped
of this
his
tournament,
ass.
so let's bring it over to
I
our
would have
winner, Joker.
done a Will Smith and literally smacked him.
Thank you very
Be
much,
like,
guys.
dude,
Yes, I am here with
that's
Joker, who's just achieved his
so
first win here at the Invitational,
aggressively
and also
mean.
dethroned
For no
the
reason.
previous champion from the last 2 years.
Why would you
That's
do
indeed
that?
so. Your Mathmech strategy, it's paid off pretty well.
Who's getting destroyed in
I'm feeling
chat?
really good.
Yeah,
I
no
was
shit,
so
dude.
confident when
I
went
would.
to the duel because I knew who I was
Oh my
playing against.
gosh.
When I saw my hand, I thought I was playing against Blue Eyes because that's all he played. That's all I saw.
I'd
this
take
turn
his
was so far,
shoes.
I knew I could win with this hand, and yeah, that went off perfect. I had
actually being revealed.
If this were in paper, I would have taken his deck. Just like ran off with his deck. I would be like, you don't deserve this. Fuck you. That. Ooh, that tilted me so much. That I. Ooh.
To come out for Barcode. So far, no disruption from Emre. Granted, if he is playing Tenpai Dragon into this,
What was
it could very
said?
well end up
Nothing
that
was
no
said.
disruption is needed.
Bro had lethal on field, did not attack for game, proceeded to then combo again, and remove everything from the opponent. Timer? There's no shot that was timer. He did like 30 other plays after having lethal on field. He had lethal multiple ways and actively chose to not kill his opponent. And instead played out an additional turn for no reason. And then continually did like the most aggressively mean thing. Yeah.
Because later on, that's when things start to get scary for
Ooh,
Barcode.
ooh,
And now we activate
ooh.
original Sinful spell Snake Eye.
We have a
search back to the
villain.
hand. So there is a different route that a few
Bro
different
had
routes that
Lacrimal
we
on
can go
field,
for.
he could
You
have
can
just
send out
attacked
the
for
Mercy
lethal,
Lateral
he
for
could have
your
done,
original
like,
Sinful spells and then add the
you know,
Harrow as a
during
bigger
the-
bank from your graveyard to your hand. If you have
uh,
something to do with it, or it's just a free resource as a card in hand.
Yes, indeed, could very well be that is the case. Snake Eye
It was-
here,
it
about
was-
as good as a summon as you can get. Either normal or special does have the additional.
What time
effect
is
from
Master
the
Duel
Hopper.
gonna be
Hopper
done?
will then intent summon itself, and that,
It
as you said,
says
eventually leads
in
to
about,
more
like,
and more
an
access to
hour.
the Snake Eye components to get to the Doom Dragon, to get to
I
really
believe.
anything. The Flamberge Dragon, certainly
It's
dragons
at
in an otherwise
12:30 for me, which I don't
focused
know
deck.
what that would be for
Now we
you,
can just
but it might be
decide how
cool.
we play this combo. I think at this point
I don't
there's 100 ways to play the Snake Eye combo.
And rank 1
Even
exceeds here
Cowboy
coming
for
out for
game
Barcode,
with
the
gun
Kiki
Lacrima,
Nagashi Fucho going to be the play here.
Oh, and we're just passing the turn here on Fucho.
That's not
predicting.
ideal.
I mean, it's basically a turn ender for.
Actually being revealed in the extra deck here, could very well see this initial piece of the puzzle start to come out for Barcode. So far, no disruption from Emre. Granted, if he is playing Tenpai Dragon into this,
Or it's just a free resource as a
either normal or special, and more access for this to be the play here.
Oh, and we're just passing the turn here on Fucho.
That's
predicting.
not ideal.
I mean, it's basically a turn ender
Okay,
for
this is-
the
Tenpai Dragon. Yeah, for sure. It does
Yu-Gi-Oh.
mean that we have
Yu-Gi-Oh is being played.
the opportunity to run interference there. 4 cards in
Yeah.
hand, potential disruption here.
I
We
mean,
are giving 1,000 life points as you
we
mentioned before.
are unaffected,
there are a few
and we
outs to the
can
Kiki
activate
Fucho,
to
Kiki Nagashi Fucho. I always
prevent
get his name messed
any
up, because there can be like an
Another
ultimate
upstart.
there. You can
battle damage.
not run over
Do we
it, of
have
course,
a
but you can
way
often
of
snare it
dealing?
away. You
Do we
have
play like
I like that it was activated immediately. No, it wasn't activated yet, right? Oh, we
A
draw one card
kaiju?
here. Because now if we have found the Forbidden
Probably
Droplet,
not,
it's
right?
also decent
Why
out
are
of
we
the
playing
Nagashi
Fuko?
Fucho.
That's
I don't
my
know. I would have
that's
liked
my
to see like
question.
a huge
We're
feat
playing
for
Fuko,
Barcode.
I guess.
Well, it's unaffected by other card effects. What am I
Called-
even saying?
called
And this
by
was
the
the first
draw.
part of the card. Yeah, this is basically
Makes
a turn
sense.
ender for the 10
Why
that
would,
we always
why
have.
would we
And
not
as you
have
said,
that? Of course.
Tenpai really wants that turn 2 victory. If it gets to turn 3, it's
Yeah.
basically it. Droll and Lockwood going to be called by the grave.
You need a kaiju for this, basically. A kaiju, Game Seal, or Kamungus, something cool, and then start tenpying. At this point, we're just
Is
trying
there a
to diminish
reason
the
not to
resources
just
of Barcode
immediately
on the side
fire
of Emra,
the
because
the
I don't
Fuko
think that
effect?
Barcode
Yeah, probably,
has
right.
built up some big resources here.
Still holding the effect of the Kiki Nagashi Fucho here, and actually will use the Triple Tactics Thrust to basically choose whichever spell or trap Emre wants.
Let me grab
Anything that can deal with the.
We grab
Kiki Nagashi
Engage,
Fucho.
right?
Nothing can deal with it. It's unaffected by other cards effects.
'Cause
and
you can't
be
grab,
run
field
over
spell.
by battle.
There's
So
not like a
there's,
Tenpai
just trying to
spell
think if there's like
grab
any
us
spell
anything
card.
here, right? So it's
Oh,
just
normal
engage.
Herald of the Dawn.
Engage,
It could be
woo.
the Herald of the Abyss. Not
Change Chain Droplet also works? No, it does not.
This would basically allow
Read the
Emre to
card.
call Winged Beast and Wind, and then Barcode would have to tribute a Winged Beast and Wind monster from his side of the field, which would be Kiki Nagashi Fucho. But I don't think that Emre plays that, because usually this is a card played to out X-Pearly Noir, and we are not expecting Pearly in this tournament.
I don't think we are, but what is Emre going to add off of this? It will be the Sky
Follow
Striker
up,
Mobilize Engage.
Yep, Engage can be activated as well, as we called by the Grave the Droll and Lockbird earlier. So not even only follow up, but set up,
Or is
perhaps.
it- oh, of course it's
Yeah.
3 spells in graveyard because of the 2 Upstart Goblins. But here
That's
in
why
National
it's
Spring, to
even
run
played. If it
interference,
didn't have
and
that first line of
perhaps
text, it wouldn't be played.
Called by the Grave would have been nice for that one, but at the end of the
Right.
day, you had to deal with the Droll and Lockbird.
Yeah, but Emre is, I think, he's just trying to build up some advantage while
Imagine
Barco
playing
is
a
sitting
deck
there
most of the
laughing
CCG players
gallantly
hate
there
having
about
the
the efforts
audacity
of
to be
Barco,
in.
because
Imagine
has
playing
set
that
up
next.
in original
Ooh.
Sinful Spoils.
Whoa!
This card can banish itself.
Who
shuffle
would've
back
guessed?
a Diabellstar or Snake Eye monster from the GUI into the deck, and then search another one from your deck to your hand, and there is still Snake Eyes Oak in the deck of Barcode, and also he can just now use Popular Effect to put Snake Eyes Diabellstar from the graveyard
game
back
looks
into the spell.
Pretty
So
good.
plenty of follow-up
It's
there, and
hard
Emre is
for
going to
Tenpai to
struggle with winning this
realistically.
game.
Yeah, Emre, I guess we'll see if he establishes some kind of disruption-heavy field off of this Tenpai Dragon Jundra.
Like Snake Eye Diabellstar as
Ultimately,
well
though, I think
in the
a
back
lot
row
of
is
the Tenpai Dragon extra deck is committed to just...
But I
trying
mean,
to
we could
push
just
out
pop
the
it
game
with,
single
what's his bucket?
Yeah, this looks to be pretty tricky for the Tenpai Dragon deck.
Yep, so Pydra, I
Seven.
still understand the
tackle
hassle
a
of
whole
it, right?
bunch,
You're building
synchro
up
off
resources
into
here,
the
you're
seven.
possibly
I mean,
setting
make
up a
Transcendent is also very,
Transcendent
very
Dragon.
strong
You want to
here.
attack as much as possible, go into Biden, and then summon out the Biden Dragon from the graveyard as well to take care of the Snake Eyes Diabellstars follow-up. You destroy it then.
But even with that being
If
said,
gets
like, how
you
much
to
does
where
that
you
matter
wanna
when
be
you
in
can
the end?
just
I am not sure,
Or
because you're
OSS.
basically just going to end up on
put a card
perhaps
back,
a seal.
search out Oak? Because
Synchro
I don't think we
something
have. Yeah, I don't think we have.
Presumably the Biden Dragon that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Make
So we can activate
Biden,
this one to summon out another monster.
Biden,
Do we even
special
get to
summon,
seals if we want to get rid of the
Hydra,
Biden Dragon in the battle phase here? We can now
attack.
synchro summon this off. We're still going to continue
Synchro
attacking.
Shogun.
We can synchro summon this. We haven't used Genroku, right? So I think we can synchro summon into Barondafleur here.
Yep, we very well...
That's also going to get rid of the Snake Eyes Diabellstar.
We
It would
can't
get rid
go.
of even more cards,
Baron.
but don't have to summon out the Biden
Biden
Dragon.
Dragon
as well.
on lock.
I
Maybe-
have lingering suspicion that we were Dragon locked.
Transcendent,
Yeah.
Transcendent,
So-
Omega Lol
I
doesn't
think
do
Biden Dragon-
anything. Biden, pop the card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, now the
So
smart
the
thing
Sengen
here
Pai
to do
Transcendent
is
Dragon now
go
coming
seal.
out does help again, as you mentioned. just
And now we
go
make
out of
seal.
field. Ultimately, can't really do much against the Kikinagashi Fucho, and Barcode now hoping
Man,
that one
it
of the
feels
cards
like
will
we
have
are
access to
just
is enough to
playing
deal with
a
this
metagame full of villains.
Yeah,
Like
but
every
so
deck
we're
that I
just
think
searching
I've
for
seen,
Fodder now
except
as
for
well. Emre just
Orcus,
keeps
which
on
was
going,
played horribly,
trying to
I've
set
just
up
been like,
something.
wow,
Fodder is being summoned
this
as well.
sucks.
Kikinagashi Fucho
Man,
is
I
still
hate it here.
brilliant. But no, it's
Ah,
definitely
cool.
depends on what
Another
you attack
another
because of the effect
unfun
by
deck to
cards,
play
a lot of flavor
against,
on this card.
or to
Really.
play.
Now we're going to main phase 2.
Main
So let's see
two.
what we can put up
Do
here.
we have like
Is it
a
sealed?
7 that we could make?
Is it
that
something
does
else than
anything?
seals? I like what Emre does here with the field.
Yeah, just make
You
seal.
Take away the
Yeah.
battle phase effects from your opponent. You get a
Yep.
bounce. You have a set card, which could be helpful, and your fire dragons can't be destroyed by battle with the Fadra on the field.
So Kikinagashi Fucho, I think, is another one of these Photon-esque tech options against
if that's
specifically,
Droplet,
where these decks have
does
changed
that-
their approach in a way that they
It
can
matters quite a
reliably
bit, right?
access cards that let them deal with what is
We could at the very least go
and
like
explosive
SP
kind of
to banish
meta-defining strategies in the format. Now,
Transcendent.
3 cards in hand, as we mentioned, for Barcode. One of them needs to be a starter.
That's
That is
choice.
one starter, but what does Emre have face down to deal with it in terms of disruption? What is the final card in the hand as well? Is there an answer to it? Because right now, looking pretty okay for
Blue Eyes is
Barcode.
a fair deck.
I mean, keep in mind there's also original Sinful Spout Snake Eyes in the graveyard, so that you can
True.
recycle your
True,
monsters
you're
from the
right.
graveyard and search for a Snake Eye Oak, which is a phenomenal normal summon if you have some follow-up in the graveyard, or some setup in the graveyard rather. Diabellstar the Black Witch is just now looking good. Deception of this Sinful Spots. I think we've added the Hallowed Azamina to our hand earlier, so we can actually just
give you
send
that. That's like
the
the
Deception
one-
from the field to the graveyard without having to tribute another monster to search for the quote-unquote fusion spell, the Hallowed Azamina.
Yep, hello, that's
I don't know.
it
One of them
looks
is
like
playing
it is going
Magia,
to
so
result in
I
pending
can't be
whatever
like,
Emre
yeah,
wants to
Blue
respond.
Eyes. Like,
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
playing
you
Magia,
can
dude.
activate the seals here, but that doesn't really do anything. You get to bounce the Diabellstar the Black Witch.
It's like playing
That one
Dragoon.
was
It's
already
like,
summoned this turn. Murcielago is being activated now as well, so we want to go for the big
Nah,
route here.
that ain't it,
I think
cheap.
the Barco is now going to go into a huge combo. There's not too much that Emre can do unless he might find a spot in which he can bounce to the hand and engraver that hits the field. That could help, but then again, considering all of these options, there is still normal summon Snake Eye Oak.
It is true. Unwanted Secret of Simple Spoils now being added
What
to
do we go for here?
the hand. I guess this would add the Snake Eye Diabellstar to the hand.
IP
There's
Masquerena?
a
We could
Spring
go...
Queen. However, I think you are also maybe just going to link those off, add the Hallowed
Dark?
Azamina back to the
Like a
hand
Plain
because you have
Dark?
Murcielago in your graveyard then.
Yeah.
We
And
could
then you're going to
go
the Fiendsmith
Moon?
engine and activate
I mean, it's
before
just
that
Moon
after you
here,
link
right?
those off. Might go into Moon, then maybe Requiem.
99.9%
Here is-
And you can activate Hallowed Azamina from the graveyard to get
Whoa,
it back.
who
Yep.
would have
Yeah, Windows
guessed?
Heaven, of course, just allowing
That's
you further
crazy.
access to a lot of these Fiendsmith cards.
And then you get back
Wasn't
Hallow's
BMing a
Arena,
misplay?
deactivate it, and then you chain
I think the
wanted Secret
players
Simple
can
Spoils
see what the
to
others
send
are
the
playing in
wanted
their
to the
matches.
graveyard, add back the Black Witch
Yeah,
to
I
the
mean-
hand from the graveyard, or take one from the deck. I don't
Of
know if Barcode
course,
is playing that
BMing is a
anymore.
misplay.
Yeah, we're
That's why
bouncing
it- that's
the Moon
why
of
it's a
Ghost hand, which is
BM.
very good choice by Emre.
That's why it's bad
I really
managed.
like this because I
Because
think
it's
the most
the
vulnerable Beatrice is
unoptimal
gonna
thing
get.
to do.
It also shuts down
Of
a lot
course
of
it
the,
was
well,
bad.
I mean, all of the Fiendsmith options, to be honest. Barcode
What do we even
has
summon here? Magma? It's gotta
one
be
Azamina
Magma,
spell
right?
in hand, plus one unknown card, so it will be interesting to see what that exactly is. Is it another one
Again,
card
makes
starter?
sense.
Now, I think that you can still activate the original Sinful Spoils in the graveyard, right?
Ah,
So
yeah,
we're-
also one of the cards in hand is the wanted Secret Simple Spoil, sorry, not the Azamina spell. But speaking of Azamina spells in the hand,
Magian
Hallowed
is
Azamina
not
coming back.
Dragoon.
There you go, Hallowed Azamina here, chain
Yeah,
the
I
wanted,
know.
get back a Diabellstar Black Witch. We've seen him earlier not activating the wanted.
What
by
I'm
default
saying
because
is
he only plays one Black Witch, and
Magia
he
is
had
like
that
Dragoon.
on his field already, so
In
he
the
can't
fact
add it.
that
So now he chains,
it
and now he goes for Ilya
hitting
Silva.
the
there is
field
one from the
is
graveyard now being added
disappointing.
back. Then you
And I
can, of
don't
course,
like
get the shuffle back and the draw from the wanted effect.
It's just
as well.
another big dingus
And we
that
should
is
always
difficult
have
to deal
access to
with.
our
It's
Snake
like,
Eyes
yeah,
Engineer, as we
fun,
have
negates.
normal summoned this turn.
Hooray.
Plenty of stuff happened in this duel already, but Barcode is just getting started after doing the most minimalistic thing we've ever seen in turn 1, summoning Kiki Nagashi.
At least
Magia
Magia is like a
shuffling
little
back the
bit
original
more
Sinful
interesting,
Spoils.
but
Wait, did we already go through Oak? No, we have Oak in hand already. Did we search that at some point, or was that just a hard draw? Oak can, of course, now summon out the Snake Eyes Poplar from the graveyard that is going to search out the original Sinful Spoils.
Any response here from Emre? We have the face
we
down.
don't have
we
OSS,
cards in hand.
right? So we grab
And
Field
Barcode
Spell,
has Ilya
Field
Silva,
Spell,
so it will
Scale,
better be 2 interruptions at this point.
Flumberg?
So we're seeing Emre is taking his sweet time. There is effects
Oh,
that he
maybe
can
not.
activate, like for example,
Maybe we
Genroku.
go...
So, summoning Genroku here is very cool in Master Duel because then you can start bluffing.
Do we
Because
have
you will
Called By?
always have a
This is
possible effect that you
Called
can
By, right?
activate. So you can start thinking about
That
something
felt
where
like
you
a
might
Called
not have an answer.
I don't know if
Yep,
it matters, because then we
effects
have the
activation.
Omni.
This one from the Oak will resolve, bringing back the Poplar. Poplar's additional
Hmm.
effect of adding a Snake Eye spell and trap from the deck to the hand will activate that Sinful Spoil Snake
Oh,
Eye,
we
which
shuffled it
comes
back with
will be
Wanted. I
added
forgot
back to
that
the
we had
hand.
Wanted.
It's online.
Yeah,
It's
never
able to be used. We could very well see it used right now.
Yep, and very well
Building
played by Emre playing around
Karibo,
the
Poplar,
Millennium Ice Restrict, basically. The name I just forgot. There is no
doesn't really matter.
zone for it
Probably
to take
like
a monster.
Ash, right?
No way, we have put in Snake Eyes Diabellstar.
But then you
Spell
can
Trap Zone
use
here
the
with
Snake Eye
Poplar.
Diabellstar to
And
potentially
Barcode
put
is
like
just
Fodra into
celebrating
the back
stuff right
row.
now. This is
if you
just a
deal
big
with
combo.
the,
Ash Blossom, Joy Spring put into the Spell Trap Zone will be useful later. Snake
Snake
Eyes
Eyes Doom Dragon, of course, being available later on, but as you said, later, because Snake Eyes Diabellstar will summon itself, clearing up that spell and trap card zone.
Yeah, or the OSS or Snake Eye Oak, they can all use this card here to summon out the boss monster.
I was
of the
wondering
deck.
if putting
Snake
Ash
Eye,
into the back row
Flatledge,
is
Dragon.
like the best option.
Yep, this card takes
Or if
away
there's a
resources
different
from your
option, that
opponent,
would be
gives
better.
you more if you
Probably
set up
not,
your
right?
field, and of course
We
also
go
has
Transcendent,
the
put into the
floating
back row,
effect,
and then we
but
can
when
go
it
like
leaves the field or the
Diabell,
hand to the
walking
graveyard,
into the
summon
Fodra
out
and put
two
that into
level
the back
1/5
row.
monsters. And we go into Moon again, because this is not an effect that you use to go into Requiem. You can summon this multiple times per turn. Now we go Link Summon
When
into
did that
Requiem, and
get
Barcode
put
is
back
just making
into
all
the
of the right
extra?
decisions here, going into the Fiendsmith engine.
Yeah, that's always the downside of
Are we
sending
playing
the
two
moon back
Moon?
to the hand, or
Wait,
effectively the
when did
extra
that get
deck in
put
this case. Because if the Fiendsmith Snake Eye player is able to re-establish a field that they can confidently link off again, yes,
I
you
crazy?
cost them
What?
a 2-material card, but if they have 2 more materials, why not? Why don't they just go back and do it again? Lead into the Fiendsmith Requiem, lead into the Fiendsmith Engraver, equip that. Access the
Seal
extra
bounced
deck
it.
monsters from the Fiendsmith
You're
engine
right.
on top of it.
You're
and
right.
deal
I was
with
like, wait,
additional
hold
land
on. Did we
cards
not
as
do
well.
the Fiendsmith combo?
But I'm gonna be
We
honest
didn't
with
do
you,
that yet.
Getting 2 Link materials off your opponent's fields against
cool,
Snake
cool.
Eye.
Yeah.
I'm so
If you're doing this
confused.
Before they've normal summoned their first Snake Eyes monster, there's not a lot you're doing with it. Not a lot that you're preventing with it. And now you need for full speed combo, if you're not starting with a Grave Energy, you need a Mother Monster.
Link Shogun.
If you have your Snake Eyes Flamberge deck as
Link.
that monster, even better. Sequence is being summoned, we get the Oak back, we can summon Snake Eye Ash or Poplar or whatever we want. Poplar has an
Wait,
effect
do
of
we even
PX
have a
as well
target
with
for the
preferred
OSS?
You can fusion summon a Fiendsmith Lacrina now, and you're seeing
Are we not
the
playing the
field
field
of Emre already
spell?
being diminished.
And we're just
Ilya
like,
Silva constantly threatening a
we
gate
only
for
have the one
Barcode.
target?
And this is just, we're going to Desiree, using 3 materials.
Desiree
Yep,
makes
3
sense.
materials to access that larger Fiendsmith fusion monster. Has the 2 face-up negations available to it if needed. And actually now Fiendsmith sequence living up to the name as it starts a sequence with
what
the
is
Snake
this?
Eyes and is able to capitalize on it. Here
Oh,
comes Promethean
Promethean.
Princess, Bestower of Flames to bring back a fire type.
I forgot
to
this card
bring
existed, I'm not gonna
something
lie.
back onto the field for Barcode, and that something should very well be enough to close this one out and secure Barcode's escape from
Yeah.
this group. Snake Eyes, they have a
Flomberg.
spell card with escape in its name. It's
I just realized Flomberg absolutely shits on this here. Because Flomberg grab Transcendent against Tenpai is so deadly. It's like, haha, nice Tenpai deck. It'd be a shame if it was entirely turned off.
name escapes me right now.
Cool!
Barcode will escape this group with
What
the
a great
in
game.
Onto the
battle phase is
I'm just
enough, right? Sad. We've seen
probably with the Snake Gate, if you're chaining Genroku to the next card, it's just going to be negate.
here's that the effect does resolve successfully.
Yeah, and also being activated immediately to negate cards on. We're going into the battle phase. Does Emre want to fight back in this one? Desiree is being activated immediately to negate cards on the field. Genroku could be activated in response to that. Let's see.
Could be, but won't be, as it appears that the effect does resolve successfully.
Yeah, and also it doesn't target, so if you're chaining Genroku to the next card, it's just going to be negated.
True.
So Barcode is now going to attack, probably with the Snake Eye
Yeah,
onto the
hate
Battle phase has
to see
ended,
it.
actually. We're now in the
Alright.
end phase. We've seen Tenpai Dragon turn
Was
around
this a
before.
timer
We've
issue?
seen the comeback from Emre in disadvantageous situations before.
That very well could have been
It's the
timer.
dream combo here.
Ultimate
But
Slayer.
Is it enough right now? There's the Ultimate Slayer that would have been nice to
Does
do with the Hinagashi Fucho.
that matter?
I'm just...
Elder Entientis will be an additional destroy on top of this Ultimate Slayer as well. There's the
I don't
animation,
think that
there's the
matters.
resolution, and there is the removal of one of the fusion type monsters on the side of the field of Barco.
'Cause you can't
Elder
target the
Entientis,
Desiree anyway.
As we said, will send something
I guess
else
you
from
could
the field to
target
the graveyard.
And
The
you can-
plays continue.
You can get rid of the Fiendsmith sequence, so that Desiree
Equip.
doesn't really have any more negates.
You have to target.
Can of course
here.
be chained. Okay, we can just send away the Snake Eye Slamberge Dragon. We still have Snake Eye.
Why
out
are we
in the
clicking
graveyard,
buttons?
and
Don't
Pop
click
Power, so
buttons.
Those would be retrieved by the Snake Eye Slamberge Dragon. And this one, of course, summons out the Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon. That is really, really cool. For
So
Barcode.
that is really interesting because it means that the opponent, so the Tenpai Dragon player in this case, can't use the battle phase effect, which is what the Tenpai Dragon deck is all about. But here's Forbidden Droplet. It can potentially run interference, but it does get the Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon off the field, so Emre does have access to the effects in the battlefield. But how many effects does he have access to? Because right now, the field not looking too established, not looking too good. This duel not looking too good for Emre here, as Barcode seems to have weathered the storm, but it's not over yet. Here comes Snake Eye Slamberge Dragon. Here comes Genroku, still on the field.
Iris, I'm gonna be honest, I think this looks kind of good
What
for
is
Emma right now, because there is nothing stopping this Genroku from just summoning out a Chandra. Wait, no, you don't have Chandra in hand in the deck anymore. You don't have Fadra in the deck anymore. There are very few targets. Do you play perhaps two Fadra? We're taking control of one monster. Promethean Princess, of course.
Bring back the Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon from the graveyard.
You can also take back the Fadra and summon back the Chandra with that effect as well. Go into the battle phase here. Emma is just clawing his way back into this. Fadra is being summoned here, getting back the tuner.
So you get back the tuner, and then you climb eventually into the Trident Dragon, you have to imagine as well.
Yeah, because you should still have Pydra in your deck. Chandra can, of course, summon this out. Then you set the Sangan summoning from your deck to your side of the field. We're attacking with Fadra, and now we're starting to slowly but surely chip away the field from Barcode. Barcode is going to activate Linkuriboh in response to that. First, Linkuriboh will be able to put the attack of the Fadra to 0, but does that really help you at this point?
It looked so good for Barcode, but we saw the power of the Tenpai Dragon. We mentioned this deck can turn it around in one single card. It took more than one. It took quite a few, but quite a few was exactly what Emre had available. No more cards in hand, but so many on the field right now as he loads Barcode's graveyard with what was previously a very nice Fiendsmith Snake Eyes field.
Yep, but there's the Promethean Princess attack as well. Now the world is just Emre's. The Sanctified Transcendent Dragon is going to summon itself back out, preventing Barcode from using any effects for the rest of this battle phase. Therefore, you can freely run over the Fiend.
So
Desiree
cool.
can't trigger in the graveyard anymore. You can use the Chandra. Do we even play?
Why didn't
Tenpai
they kill on
Dragon?
turn
Does
2?
that even really
Either
matter? We're
a
going to
misclick
go
or a
into
timer.
Level 10 synchro, and
Th-
that
that-
is going
that's
to be
it.
the Trident Dragon.
Those
that
are your
can
two options.
Destroy the Promethean Princess. Attack twice. We haven't attacked with the Sanctified.
Time?
Did we just lose to the timer? Did Barcode win because Emre?
Barcode wanted you to time limit there.
What is happening? This is absolutely insane. I was already questioning why Emre just went for the Trident Dragon.
That was-
there. Because that didn't seem like the optimal line, even though it would have gotten him there. But losing to the timer
Let's
on
fucking go.
Tenpai Dragon,
Get
that is something
on
I think only
dip
Bucky could
shit.
do.
Fuck you.
The attack would have...
This game sucks ass. This game is terrible. Konami, why is it that we only get 30 seconds on our turn? Actually, sorry, 30 seconds on the opponent's turn and 60 on ours. Why do we get so little time? I hate it. I think, genuinely, both players had a time issue that game. I think the reason Snake Eye didn't have the ability to immediately kill Tenpai was because of the timer. And then, of course, Tenpai also loses because of the timer. What? How would that end? Why? Why, Konami? Why is it that the timer is so fucking short all the time? I don't understand. Just add more time each time the turn changes. It's laughable how little time you have to actually play the game. You cannot think, you just have to click button.
Our Blue Eyes player, or yes, Neo Kaiser Seahorse normal summon with the quickness being
What
leaped
is
off
happening?
into Spirit
Why
with
is-
Eyes of Blue. Good start here for him. Chaining 1 Spirit, chaining 2 Neo Kaiser Seahorse, but there is the Infinite Impermanence on the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. But the Crossout Designator.
What a great game.
Chaining
This
4
game
cards
is so
flying
cool.
here from Emre.
Spirit with Eyes of Blue is very popular Infinite Impermanence target because the monster is just so important. Sometimes you really need that extra normal summon for your level 1 light tuners. And of course, being able to summon out a Blue Eyes from the dragon, a Blue Eyes the White Dragon, in fact, is a very, very popular thing. It's a very powerful thing, having this monster on the field.
Oh,
As
they
iconic
have
as it is, but
two
now you
decks,
can see
both
the
of
next
which
normal
have to
summon. It is
win.
this Sage with Ice of Blue that is going to give you access
Yeah?
to either Effect Veiler or...
So what is the
maybe
likelihood this is Fire
I think
King?
that Effect Veiler will be preferred here because you
This
have
is
the
likely
Spirit
Fire
with the main.
King,
It's in the
right?
graveyard. You can activate the Spirit later
Or is
on
it Blue
when you
Eyes?
send your Blue Eyes to the graveyard. And then you can summon it back, tribute it from the field, activate True Light, and you can use your Sage with Ice of Blue as your tuner.
That is absolutely true, but there also is now Ash plus Majora's Spring.
Oh,
You do
wow.
not see that
Wait.
very often, using this against the field spell effect of Mausoleum of White. But here, I think Josh picked up on the fact that Emrys so far has no access to the Blue Eyes monster itself, but we do have wishes for Eyes of Blue.
Never mind,
and then,
it didn't
of course,
matter.
can search for Roar.
Cool,
and then
good
Roar
game.
equals the Blue Eyes that can be special
Do we
summoned in the
have,
deck. So, good Ash plus
like,
Majora's Spring,
Droll?
if not for the
Droll
wishes in the hand of
is
Emrys.
And I
Here.
love that you can discard Veiler for this card because you can just search
Yeah,
for it's fine. Actually,
yeah.
search for Maiden of White that can be
Yeah, that's
activated
pretty
now
much
for the
the
True
end of
Light.
the game, huh?
True Light can, of course, get us another
Hooray!
G, but
Wow.
link off into the Heretics.
I love that every
Majesty
deck just
of
gets
the
to do
White
this all
Dragon
the time
is
and
activated,
just make
or
their
is
full
set
combo
ready to
through
be activated on the
any
Plays around
interaction.
Ogre plus
That's-
Veiler,
that's-
because if you
that's
use it
great
in the
to
main phase and they Ogre that, and you want to negate your True Light in the graveyard with a Spirit Dragon, you can be Effect Veilered in the end phase. That doesn't work anymore.
True, and now, Josh, is it the Fire King deck or is it the Blue Eyes deck?
Oh,
we
Light's
do
Blue
have
Eyes.
them both playing their Blue Eyes deck here in the first game.
No.
And Emre far ahead here with a big head start, playing for that Infinite Impermanence and the Ash plus Majora's Spring, created a decent field, and Josh is trying to contest that now.
We call that the mirror with the Ice of Blue. But now look at this. So Josh has no access to Mausoleum yet. What you can do is link off into Spirit. You could also use your Majesty already to destroy the Sage with Ice of Blue to deny access to the Mausoleum. However, Maiden of White was already used. Maiden of White can be used to put a True Light, but then you can use these fields to your maximum
I
potential.
mean, we're,
Yeah, that seems pretty good because Spirit
You
Wise
should get
so
cooked
far
by
Emre
Majesty, right?
not ready
Like,
to
there's
give up
not-
on any of his interruptions yet, just letting Josh do his thing for the moment. Mausoleum of White successfully added to the hand.
we could do.
could also just destroy this True Light, actually.
Yeah, and you can really see it in Josh's face. He's trying to work it out. He's trying to make the plan work, really focused as we
Yeah, I
usually
don't
know him.
I think we're just cooked.
Really, basically,
Crossout
it feels like
Designator
he's part of
literally
the game,
kills
right?
us
He's like
right
he's fusion
Because
summoning together
if
with
they
the
don't
game.
have the
He's part of
Crossout
the game as a
Designator,
master.
they
That's
don't
what
get
makes
the
him so
field spell,
strong.
which doesn't give them
because
the extra
his
normal
mind is
summon,
one with the game, and now in that specific game, here with the
nor
Blue
does
Eyes
it give
White
them
Dragon.
access
Does
to,
anyone know if
or
Josh
it
has
allows
Blue
us to
Eyes?
also
Because he
keep
might as well be the player with the Eyes of Blue. Here, being completely locked in.
Keep
However,
the
Emre
Ash
is the one
Blossom
dominating
for-
spot. There's a call by the
Oh, never
grave
mind, never mind.
on the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, which is huge. That is the
There's a
best
chance
call by
here.
the grave target by far for...
But even with that
Crazy,
being
it
said,
does
like if they don't have the
resolve. I mean,
Crossout
both cards there on
Designator,
Emre's side were decent targets to hit with
we
and
have
called
the
by the grave,
ability
but sealed
to-
equally
or
so.
I
Is
should
really
say,
struggling
Josh
against that,
has
but
the
as you
ability
say, this is beautiful
to
too. Now Mausoleum of White.
keep the Ash
It's cool to
Blossom
see because
for
usually
wishes,
Call by the
they
Grave
could,
very
you know,
much
imperm the
interpreted
spirit,
as
and they
going
don't have
first
to
card,
use the,
securing your own combo
Ash
to go
Blossom
through.
field
But it does
spell.
have very, very decent applications going second as well, specifically against this Blue Eyes deck here.
But I still think that Emre has quite a lot of play with the seals and the Majesty. Because either Josh forces out the seals now in the battle phase, which would grant Emre another turn with
Majesty's
True
Spirit
Light as
for
follow-up
those
and Majesty to
locations
disrupt
for
his
free
opponent.
prime Blue Eyes
Or
to navigate
you just
comfortably.
wait.
Yeah. But don't
Bounce
worry,
the
Called
Blue
by the
Eyes
Grave is
White
a
Dragon deck that Josh
stupid
is inevitably
card that
going to
basically
summon
allows
and
him
destroy
to
perhaps
actually
the
now
main
be
of
in
the True
this
Light
game.
later on.
This game should not be
Josh
close.
wants to put out with the Maiden. So you deny
But
the
now
Blue
it
Eyes
is.
Spirit Dragon access, and then you destroy the Blue Eyes.
Okay,
That being said,
comes Maiden
Called
of
by.
White now. So we're going to have an equal amount of True Lights on the field in just a moment.
True Light can't really be activated right now. Oh, we activate Seal.
Hey, but they could chain to it though.
Yeah.
We can just chain the True Light, and I'm sure Josh is going to do so, right?
Yeah, but then you can still destroy it with the seals to destroy the Spirit Dragon, which would also be kind of good for Emre, to be honest. Have we done an extra normal summon yet? I don't think so, right?
Huh?
No. So that would be something that the play is vulnerable to. But oh, we are bouncing? Ooh, okay, I see how it is. We are bouncing the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and now basically Josh is also forced to activate the True Light to get into place, and we have the Majesty. I was being very greedy with my line of play, to be honest, trying to maximize the value we get out of destroying the True Light, but you can also force Josh to activate True Light and then pop it. You also have another set card that we don't know of.
And I mean, this is
we
very
got two
cool here
now.
for Emre. That's what I was about to say, because
Sorry.
we summoned out the Blue Eyes White Dragon from the
Okay.
field, and Majesty, of course, accounts not only for
That's-
monsters in the graveyard and in the hand, but also on the
Yeah,
field.
Majesty.
There we go. Immediately after the
We had
activation,
a
now
Majesty,
Josh,
right?
does he have a
I
response?
mean, we
There's
popped
not much
the
you can
whole
respond
field,
to
right?
to the Majesty of the White Dragons, and now no extra normal summon, and the True Light effect also not resolving. It looks like Emre really found a sweet spot here.
Majesty with the
Yeah.
quickness activated to destroy True Light before it can resolve. Also getting rid of the Mausoleum, no recursion in the deck for that. Last card in hand is Wishes for Ice of Blue. We have used the Maiden in the graveyard already. Solemn Judgment!
Wow, that's the smile of a
Man, I
winner, I would
fucking
say.
hate
Emre using that, yet all the
Seen how well Josh does versus... I mean, if you're playing Fire King here and you're having a decent start, I think... Tampa's gonna get through faster.
Bro said, nah, you got it.
maybe it will be. But
It's big.
that makes it even more interesting of a decision. Like we keep on elaborating.
So
on
none of those
this
cards
Emre
probably
did
do
pick that Blue Eyes deck
anything,
in the
right?
first game, because that is a
Yeah.
deck with the Solemn Judgments in the main
Yeah,
deck too, which just makes so much sense to have for the later stages of best of 3 as well, because you will be able to decide to go first, and when you can then decide to pick a deck with Solemn Judgments in your deck
We knew Old
while
Man
going
from the
first, that's
Sage
just such a
normal?
good thing to
Yeah.
happen. Okay, there's a Skyburner activated, and Yeah, that is 4 set cards. Now only 3 of them remaining. But it's not even guaranteed that any of them do something. You see there, that's Ultimate Slayer. We had to set all of it, otherwise it would have just been discarded. But there's no guarantee for it to be good. Now we activate the Kieran. I think Josh just with ease working through all of those set cards there.
I think Josh is just having an absolute field day here, right?
Yeah.
He is just going in, destroying everything. This is like playing versus a...
Is there a
Vampire
reason
player
to
who
not
wants
just
to go
load
first,
in
wants to
the
set
Blue Eyes
everything?
deck there?
This is just
Again?
like, you can do whatever you want right now.
That's cool. That is going to be... It's going to be the, yeah, Garing's Eternity, High End of the Fire Kings, and that will, of course, deal with the last remaining set card there from Ember. 4 at the beginning of the turn, and so quickly, just Josh takes care of all of them.
Is there a reason not to on-summon Nuke in Dark Hole? Is there a reason not to put the Pydra into the grave?
Remaining set card there from Ember. 4 at the beginning of the turn, and so quickly, just Josh takes care of all of them. Oh yeah, it's always like that, right? When they have infinite impermanence, you have the triple tech talents. They never have the effect Veiler when you have the triple tech talents. We all know that feeling. So Ember had to set it instead of activating it. Now the Hollow Azamina.
It's going to send away the Deception. Deception in the name, Destruction in the game. Now we're going to be able to activate Murcielago effect search for the Wanted, and Wanted is going to give us access to the Diabellstar, the Black Witch. Which card does that give us access to?
Of course, the original Sinful
Yep.
Spoils, and then we can immediately go for Snake Eye Ash, possibly again, just
Prometheus
accumulating monsters
Atlantis.
to be used for possible link summons, link climbing into the rest of our big monsters. Now the Wanted is activated.
But it's not
And
like
Emra,
the,
yeah, no cards to be activated there.
if you have
Honestly,
the
at this point, you
Yasmina
can just
line,
summon
does
Ilya
it
Silva, and attack, and you're probably
matter?
still going to win that
Yep.
game. Because Emra is left on absolutely nothing, just like
Do you
Josh
need
was
to go
in
for
the
that?
last match
Like,
where
you-
he ended on
you
no
definitely
cards
have
in the spawn trap zone, no cards in the monster zone, no cards in hand, and now we
Maybe
have
not.
just Josh
Maybe you're right.
summon out Ilya Silva. Dominus Impulse, first appearance on the stream,
appearance.
absolutely crushing it here on stream. Diabellstar, the Black Witch, is going to set original Sinful Spoils, which is
Anymore though, as we if we
Yep.
like.
Yep. We'll see if
You
they
might
go
not even
for
need
the
it though.
Atlantis
Let's just
line.
see. We go Promethean
This is
Princess. Promethean Princess bring back Flumbridge. Flumbridge put the Pydra into Span Trap. So you might not
Did
even.
we activate the
a target
Hydra?
the Fiendsmith cards, right? See a lot of interaction here, not with Emra, but with
Flumbridge put the Pydra into
Yeah,
Span
we
Trap.
could've-
So I think
Because now we could have had
2-7.
Kita online.
Promethean Princess is just
in the deciding third match, Josh on the other hand. will be
Oh,
forced
maybe
play
to
his
put
Blue Eyes deck
it
again.
into the back row
Honestly,
with Flomberg
he's
so
kind
that
of
they
that
can't
one
like
first
Lightning
game, so
Storm.
let's see whether he can turn
Maybe?
around with it.
that is true. So he either plays a heavy going first version that helps you versus the 10-pie deck.
Yeah, I
Instead-
don't know. I don't know. I can't think
Link
of
this one off
anything.
into the Spirit with Ice of Blue. Prime Infinite halfway there,
So he will.
especially since we've added the Sage.
Okay. Yep.
And also, I think Neo Kaiser here we have 4,000
With the Fire King deck though, so he will be on the Blue Eye strategy now.
Fury Ray,
And
grab,
won with the Blue Eyes
save.
deck already.
4,000 damage, we're halfway
And then
there.
normal
on
summon
Emra's
Neo.
side already. Neo Kaiser Seahorse is being normal
Okay.
summoned. Here we have the Sage in hand. Of
I
course,
guess
however,
we
want
know
to
that the opponent
edit
isn't
Sage.
playing any hand traps,
And
so
also,
it's
I
like,
think Neo
cool,
Kaiser
I'm
Seahorse
just gonna
is the normal
go
summon. It gets you
full
started into your
combo,
engine.
and I know
However, I
that
think
you
it's the
don't
one
have
that is most
anything.
vulnerable to a
So I'm
hand
going
interaction
to be able to
from
add
your
my
opponent, because
field
Sage, when it gets effect valid or
and get that
impermanence, can still go
additional
for a line with Spirit,
which is very,
get to
very
Mausoleum.
strong here.
If this one gets impermanence, the Sage in the hand does nothing.
Yeah,
The
don't
thing
hate
though
it.
is,
Don't hate it.
it doesn't matter as you know what Emra's deck is for this. You know that Emra is playing the Sky
Also, I
Striker
still
10-pie
have
deck,
no
therefore
idea
you
why
know
we
that you
didn't
don't
just
have Fear,
nuke
Effect
the
Veiler, or Infinite Impermanences. So
10-pie
you can just
monster,
kind of
but-
design your turn around that
Alas.
knowledge. You can just kind of make the decision based on that knowledge.
Maybe
around,
it's
but
just
you
one of
know
those things where
that
it's
this
like,
deck just plays those field
oh,
breaking
it
cards
could
such
be
as
like-
Lightning Storm or the Sky Striker cards, and therefore you don't really have to worry about those things. You can just like basically play the best combo you have, disregarding all kind of interruptions
Some
from your
sort of
opponent.
effect
And then with certain effect
negation.
Veiler as well. And honestly, that's a pretty good thing to have against the Temper deck, as long as
And I
they
don't
do
want
not
to
have,
give
of
them
course,
the
second
ability
summoning.
to
I, also,
negate
I
the
find it
effect.
quite hilarious that life points in the matchup versus
And then
10 for
not
any deck, they
have
do not matter
the
for some
ability to
reason, even if
destroy.
it's
Well,
very important to
I'm
reduce
trying
the
to
life
think
points
of the
zero.
card that
It
would
feels like the 10 deck either
actually
does 0 damage to you or 20,000
be
to you.
there, where
That
you
is true.
wouldn't want to
Emra,
activate the effect.
I'm trying
Because
to
if it's like
judge his
a
face
Solemn
there,
Strike
and,
or a Solemn Warning or a
he
Solemn
looks alright. I
Judgment,
think he's
like, all of
believing.
those are going to be
He's not
activated
super
on the
upset about what he's
summon.
seeing, so maybe he already has those lightning storms
like,
or
Droplet
Dusters in his
forces
hand,
them to
which
get
are
rid of the
so
card.
good against this deck. We don't even. I think we
Anyway.
did not even need to set the
And,
wishes
like,
there of the
Imperm
True Light, so we can just
more or
activate
less
from hand.
accomplishes the
So
same thing
I
as
mean,
well.
especially for another
Like,
effect
there was-
failure, right?
Yeah, I
There was
think
not a
it's
reason
Double
to
effect
not.
failure, which is a huge setup.
Plus a Majesty, you can also get the Spirit Dragon, the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon out as well.
It didn't matter. but,
Beautiful
like,
secret rare from Shining Victories in the TCG. We get Effect Veiler, the Majesties. This is the full setup here. More setup from spells or trap cards and Vader's in hand than from
Super
Blue Eyes cards.
Multi-Spirit
actually.
does-
But I think
does
there's
say have
one or two
Breaker,
unknown cards in the hand of
Droplet,
Judge, so
or
perhaps some Judgment might be there as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I love the plan here from Josh. I love him forcing this situation of having Blue Eyes versus 10 in the last game, because we talked about all those field-breaking cards.
I mean, to be fair,
On the other hand, though, we just search double Effect Veiler, and Effect Veiler is a card that can't be hit by all of those cards. And we do play Ultimate Fusion. Okay, I thought Rest Cards was the only one relying on that
Interesting.
card here in this tournament, but
Okay.
no, Josh is also running it, and
Makes
he
sense.
has it here as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge for him. Fusion is going to be able to pop
Is
cards
there a wait,
by
hold on,
shuffling
what
back
do we-
Blue Eyes White Dragons from the graveyard. So you want to activate Majesty first.
Oh my.
Lightning Storm is so big here. Are you going to destroy everything? There is the chance for Josh to activate something, but how
Judgment?
much does that really do for you here? Blue Eyes White, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon is still there to negate the True Light afterwards. Will Emre have an answer to that one as well?
That's why Emre was looking so calm the entire
If
time.
you have a judgment here, you activate it immediately,
Of
right?
course.
There's no question
Very
about
much.
that. So I think Josh is in a bit of a pickle.
I do agree. There is no solemn judgment waiting. Life points of
We go
Josh
Spirit
already
Dragon
half
here?
due to that
Or,
Fury
not
Rise
Spirit
map.
Dragon. We can go.
Yeah, that is such a rough one. Actually, though, we do chain the ultimate fusion at least. That is
Yeah.
something that we can work with at the very least. But
even
can we even
summon
summon out of it here?
We can summon out the Blue Eyes. We can't summon out Blue Eyes Twin Dragon. We can summon out Tyrant.
Yeah, we can summon out Tyrants, possibly. I mean, we can just give up on the Blue Eyes in our graveyard because Majesty cannot be used anymore, and that is Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon indeed in attack position there, destroying all of the other cards. True Light activates.
Droplet, discard a monster.
That also forces now us to activate a
They have
monster
Droplet
effect, right?
Word
So
Dracons
Droplet,
and, like,
discard a
just doesn't
monster would be
matter.
absolutely crucial. No Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon gets to
Yep.
negate a card in the graveyard
Yep.
another day, immediately
Yep.
tributes it for
Called by?
the
I
ultimate
really expected
Spirit
to call by
Dragon.
there. I'm not gonna lie. Spirit Dragon.
So
Yep,
Emre
yep,
though
yep.
still sitting there with 5 cards in hand, but also with the knowledge that there is 2
Imperm,
effect Valence in hand, waiting for him. Ultimate Slayer,
yeah,
that was the
Ultimate
perfect
Slayer
answer as well
kills us
to
here.
the Ultimate
Keeps
Spirit
them
Dragon because
along.
it cannot respond to it whatsoever. Oh,
If we don't send a Synchro monster,
interesting.
I think there is... Oh, we have negates to targeting effects in the graveyard, right? Or do we not? Anyways, we decide not to target it. Maybe
No, we do not. No. Afterburner now. Okay.
That is so big because it forces out the negate or special summons out the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon from the graveyard that can't activate the effect to tribute itself, but can then negate another card in the graveyard perhaps. We negate the Afterburners, the 4,000 defense points are valued by
We're just
Josh
dead here,
at
right?
least. And now we activate Engage, Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage
Yeah,
with
of
3 cards
course.
in the graveyard.
Yeah, of
Kagari
course.
is a card at
Yeah,
this
of
point. I think
course.
you would want to negate
Why
just at
would we
4,000
not?
life points. The Widow Egg.
May as well activate the other one, and he does. His team captain here, and yeah, we see the effect Valor. We all know there's 2 of them, Josh. You may as well activate the other one.
Wow, that's so
as well.
cool.
Now securing one of
Wow,
those-
isn't Tenpai so interesting? Wow, just grab the fucking it feels. No, surely the limitations will matter. Surely Sky Striker is fair and balanced. This game's ass. They always draw custom hands.
Ah, yeah, to make the rank
Ooh.
6.
Yeah, or I think at this point you're going into the sequence because you want to go into Beatrice afterwards. And then you need sequence and Beatrice to go
Lab,
to Prometheus
base!
Princess Bestower of Flames.
Space, space,
After
space,
Beatrice
space,
has
space,
sent Snake Eye Ash to the graveyard, so you can go to your full Snake Eyes combo. But this is the...
Is this just
the
Snake Eye
thing
versus
here is-
Snake Eye? No, of course
In
he's playing
phase
lab
one.
against this.
Yep, 2 face
Of
downs.
course.
If they are traps, they've been face down long enough.
Of
to
course.
be activated right now.
Yeah.
Could be a
Of
little more
course.
situational than
Why
that.
would they
I
not
think we have a soft
be?
spot for trap-based
This,
decks.
this
We
game's so
have
good,
Dynamorphia, one of my
Man,
favorites.
I love 2 Tenpai players getting into the finals
This
and
is
having
something
to
off the
play a
Colossus on
Tenpai
that
mirror.
Beatrice strategy.
That's
I think
that's
you might
super
want to big
interesting.
welcome that. And then
Nah,
just throw
best of
Snake Eye
ones
Ash
are
on top.
great.
You have
Fruit
big welcome Labyrinth in the graveyard. You can banish it to bounce back into sequence because you have a
I
large
swear,
fiend.
the next
field,
ban list better
and
have
when it
fucking
leaves the field,
Chandra just banned.
Lovely Labyrinth is going to trigger to destroy a card in hand or field of your opponent. So you can get rid of the Snake Eye Ash, or if you have the cannon, you can reduce cards in hand to maybe... I mean,
Just-
okay, there is no face-up monster on the field for Colossus, so that doesn't work again. But I think
Lovely
you just throw
trigger
Snake Eye
here?
Ash here. You don't plan on summoning any monsters, so Snake Eye Oak won't be summoned out by Temple.
There goes Lovely
Surely
Labyrinth with the Silver
we-
Castle, activating its effect, making a destroy on the Snake Eye Ash.
Engraver is the next card that we might see being activated unless Colossus has any solutions to her problems in hand.
3 cards in hand, though. It's not a terrible position to be in. Of course, with Barcode having the established field, it's a little bit scarier. Perhaps we have some disruption here, but we'll have to mitigate 5,900 points of damage on the field right now for Barcode.
And now Barcode just has everything going for him because Lovely has
How
another...
did we get to this position? Sorry,
could
I
just
just
activate to send
assumed
any
Labyrinth
kind-
going second
Is
just
able
like
to negate, but
immediately
there's the
loses the game. How
It's the
did
one that
this
feels
happen?
bad to say.
What's
That
going
one
on?
Feels really...
What's going
Well,
on?
it
How
is
did this
graveyard.
come to be?
High King actually going to be the chosen path here, as Colossus does end the turn pretty conservatively here.
What is happening? We started with tracked. Yeah, no, we started with Why did we not go sequence? We and then we could have done Beatrice and full combo and do you kiss your mother with that mouth? Huh? Sure. You know what?
Getting
Yeah,
5
that's
cards.
yeah,
What else is in your
for
hand?
sure.
Is it ideally another trap card, or are we having Lady Labyrinth, or do we have something? It must be kind of Lady Labyrinth at this point, but
I was going to ask you how you knew he was playing Labyrinth, but then I realized it's on the overlay. Yeah. looking at it now, we have Bonfire, does that resolve?
That would have been
Very likely.
so much better in the opening.
Yeah, and then you could just start the chain with the Sakai Ash, the Poplar, all of that good stuff. Do you still have the Wave King High Caesar just to allow some kind of disruption
True,
on the
this was a
bottom
fair
path,
turn
otherwise
one
summon
for
a
once.
monster. However,
You're
we'll be
not
interested to see
wrong.
if Barcode just
However,
responds to this.
counterpoint,
Snake Eye
it could have
Ash
been
for Colossus. Barcode,
absolutely
he has something,
unfair.
he has a
One
lot
of the most
abilities.
unfair
Find
turns
something,
you may
face
have
down,
ever
plus
seen.
potentially one in the hand. Where does
But
he go?
alas,
Iris, let me
the
ask you a question.
opponent
How good were you
elected
in
to
mathematics in school?
Pretty solid.
All right.
Oh,
not
simultaneous
do
equation
that.
cannon.
Then simultaneous
I'm
equation
not
cannon
that
is the
good.
card for
For
you.
some
So right
reason.
now we're having 6 cards on the side of Barcode and 6 cards on the side of Colossus. So 12 is the number of cards. It's gonna be 13 soon. So we have to get cards into the banishment that have a number of 12. So we could use a level 2 fusion and 2 rank 5 seeds. Now we just go destructive Daruma Kamakin.
So that will flip everything face down now.
Why do math when you could just chill? You can just flip up back the High King Caesar. And as we have added the temple, can we play on with the temple here? That is a big question. The thing for Colossus right now is there is 2 engravers as material.
We should have immediately,
so you
after the
summon
Daruma,
Caesar, go into
fired
Valkyrie,
our
and
welcomes
then send something
so that we get
for
the
a
bodies
Dragon.
onto the
Caesar
field
is just
without
going to
having
attack.
to
This is a
defend
dream
this
scenario for
Unless we have,
Barcode
like,
to stop the entire
strike.
turn of the Snake Eyes deck with just 1 trap card.
She
Yeah,
decided
no
to be
material,
nice.
No detachment of the
Okay.
material to get the engraver
right.
graveyard here.
You're
for
right.
Colossus. Barcode though, he
They
hasn't
saw the
done
BM
too much
from
of anything in response,
from the
but perhaps
Mathmech
now
player,
start
and they
playing
said,
on his
you know
own
what?
turn, or in the end phase of this one,
I'll be
big welcome
nice.
Labyrinth. There goes the Fiendsmith engraver to the graveyard for the material. Here's the Wave High King Caesar is able to negate, but there's dimensional barrier to stop the XCs.
All right, that is a play that is going to get around the Caesar. However, I think that Barcode might have missed a little bit of a window there. When he activated Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon,
Yeah,
he could have activated
we
the
could have
big
just
welcome Labyrinth
immediately
already
changed
after the resolve
after
when
the
the Caesar was
Daruma,
set, so
the
that you don't have to negate
big
the Caesar.
welcome, and
Yeah,
then we
so
wouldn't
you
have had to
dimensional
waste our
barrier later, but
dimensional
regardless,
barrier.
here comes Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle.
And in fact, we could have
There
even
goes Lady
used it
Labyrinth of
as
the
a
Silver
way
Castle.
to trigger our
There
lab
might come
or our
the
lady
Labyrinth of the Silver
lab.
Castle again, because the High King Caesar is still negated
Special,
due to dimensional
special.
barrier.
Okay,
Barcode just
I'm
making
I'm
sure
gonna
that-
have a
What
stroke
are the other
because
trap
this
cards?
is a deck
Always-
that I
when you
actually
have the
played
Lady
and
Labyrinth of
know
the
how
Silver
to
Castle, you
play,
want to activate it
and I'm
on
gonna be like,
every
oh, you
single
could have
turn.
done, oh, you could have done.
So a dimensional
fine.
barrier. Wow, dimensional barrier was.
He
basically
didn't have his
wasted by
chain
not
link on.
activating
It's
the big welcome on the
fine.
set of the Caesar.
It's
So I think that you
fine.
could have just used this in the end phase then instead of a welcome labyrinth.
I mean, we just go
In
combat,
phase
right?
1.
Yep, 2 face
just
downs.
switch
If they
to
are
attack,
trapped, they
go
could face
combat,
down
walk
long
with
enough
the
that they can
Caesar.
be activated right now.
Yeah.
Could be a little bit more situational than that. I do kind of have a soft spot for
And there's,
trap-based
like,
decks simply because we
percent
have
from that, right?
Dynamorphia, one of my favorites.
Not exactly one of my beloved decks, but
Well-
I respect it. I respect the purple grind.
I think Welcome Labyrinth is just Dynamorphia domain.
Is
Yeah,
the
the
game
Alright,
down?
I
Big
love,
Welcome Labyrinth is Frenzy.
I love the Ultrageist cards. You know, so
Okay,
that
fair.
is one of my favorite trap strategies. Barcode says I'm having none of that trap stuff happening this turn. Just
Hey!
Lady Labyrinth of the Silver
Is it
Castle
done?
attacking over the Caesar. Barcode is not
Can we-
really
can we stop
advancing
watching
his
this
game state, but
terrible,
Lady Labyrinth of the
very
Silver
bad
Castle might
Invitational?
as
We
well be
can,
right now.
hooray! Who would've
Importantly, we have both
Who'd
Fiendsmith
guessed,
Engravers
Chad?
in the Graveyard of Colossus ready to come back online. I wonder if there's a Call by the Grave waiting. That would be great. That would be game ending. But that is a big what if as Barcode now.
No way, Lab loses now? Right. True. Wait, tryout duel? That's new. Wait, what? What tryout duel? Huh? Huh? What is this? Did we get a thing for this and I just didn't pay attention? Rental competition. Oh, the rental ones suck. Yeah, it's just Memento. With no maxi, but of course, Fool loss. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And let me guess. Yep. Cool. I mean, not bad, but normally these are super boring. Cool. Well, there you go. There's the new thing. Is there anything else interesting in the shop, or is it just the pack that we already knew about? Oh, Ghost Ogre pack. Oh, that's actually interesting. Okay, let's actually look at this. What all are we actually getting? Deer Lanta Primite is nasty, and it is pretty much exactly what we expected. 7th Ascension is also in here, which is a thing. Wow, this pack sucks ass. Outside of Primite, this pack, even with Primite, this pack kind of sucks ass. Sure. Wow, they made Primate really expensive. It's just the cards that you need 3 of. Because of course. Why would they make Drill Beam a UR when you can make the card that you need 3 of a UR? Yikes. Alright. Cool. Cool. Let's open a pack. Why are Thunder Dragons in here? Who put Thunder Dragons in here? I got a Royal Doki Doki. They said play Block Dragon. What is this pack? Sure. Why not? What about this one? This was not the deck I was expecting to be paired with Valmonica, but I guess it makes sense. Yeah, sure. At least we get both the dragons in the same pack. True. True. Does Adamant Spider only have one UR? That's so funny. 6 URs and an SR? Isn't it 2 SRs? Don't you also play, maybe you only play one Drill Beam. That spell hilarious. What about this pack? I'm not gonna lie, I see just a wall of Xyzs and I go... Point. My eyes just glaze over. I'm like, yeah, those certainly are Xyzs. They do exist. Oh cool, they lied to me. Not gonna lie, pretty good wallpaper. Not my favorite, but pretty good. What else did we get? What? Why would I? Who cares about this? This is terrible. Is there like a field that goes? No, it's just that. Also, Mirror Force apparently. I hate that. Because it's not consistent, it bothers me. It bothers me immensely. Well, cool. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna grab this. This is way more value than, like, anything in there. 3-barrel, 3 Lordly, a Drill Beam. That's the Blue Eyes setup. I don't give a shit about what Blue Eyes plays. Oh, cool. Why am I doing this right here? I don't care what I'm doing. A set of cards. That is the best luck I think I've ever had opening anything in this game. The hell? What all did I just get? I got this guy. That's cool. No, sorry, hold on. Dismantle. I mean, I'm gonna, because we have this guy. If I had gotten the alt art, now we'd be talking. I think that is literally my 3rd SP. Is there a reason to dismantle the SP? No. But it'd be funny if I just kept it, right? Like, just having 3? That's so funny. It's so funny, dude. What else did I get? I got that stupid fusion that no one cares about. Not that one. Where is he? This guy. Yeah, look at him. Look at him go. I also have to dismantle Beatrice. I don't remember that. What else did I get? Oh, I got Fossil Dig and the Rescue Hamster. Hedgehog. My bad. Chorizo. No, not Chorizo. Choroso. You were close. Bring back Beaver. True! Can't log in. Reload the game. To, like, close out of the game entirely and then open it up again. That generally helps me. It's Fossil Dig, right? Yeah, it's my 4th Fossil Dig. I don't need the 5th. Or, sorry, it was my 4th Fossil Dig. I don't need the 4th. What was the other one I got? It was SP, right? Wild. Wild. Beatrice. You will not be missed, you stupid piece of shit. Good riddance. We also have the Tenpai card. Right? Tenpai. Songen. Yep. Was there anything else? Pearly came back. Did something else go to 1? I thought something else went to 1. What else went to 1? Rosa. This is the same when I reopen? Just give it some time. Maybe the server in your region is not currently available. Happens. Because technically... Yeah, technically you still have about an hour before it's supposed to be done. So... What else was changed? What else went to 1 on that ban list? Click a... Survey, you want me to tell you how Master Duel is doing? I knew something went to 1 and I forgot. I just like elected to not remember. Why are you here? I was hoping I'd get more crafting points, but they were like, no. That would be stupid. Like, no, you're stupid. Anyway. Is there anything else of note? I don't think so, right? This new pack is actually pretty nice. Getting Ghost Ogre. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Cool. Issues with Necro Princess and PvE. They... Oh, okay. Lordly Load has PvE issues. Oh no! At least it's not PvP. Gacha time? With what? What am I gonna gacha? Is Centurion fun and worth investing into? No. They usually stagger updates, news packs, generally create more traffic for content than ban lists. Ban lists are king in paper. It's because ban lists don't... The ban lists are not nearly as heavy in Master Duel as opposed to the TCG, where it's like you get a ban list once every 3 months and it's a big one. Centurion is better in pile decks than its own. Technically speaking, yes. However, with that being said, Centurion just like isn't great. That's the biggest thing. It's like it's not worth investing into. Fun is subjective, right? So worth investing into? No. Right now we are currently in one of the highest power formats of all time. Even with Beatrice ban, it's still like fairly high power. And like Centurion's just not going to keep up. Right? Should I dismantle my Centurion cards then? Do you enjoy playing Centurion? Are you going to keep playing it? Is it something you're going to revisit and be like, I want to play this again? Because if so, then, like, no, don't dismantle them. Right? If you are just looking for the best decks, yeah, of course it's not Centurion. It's never been Centurion. Right? If you're just like, what is the best deck? Right now, you should be playing Snake Eye, Fiendsmith, White Forest, Tenpai. some variation of those. That's pretty much it. Anything else is something you yourself are deciding you enjoy playing. So, again, if you enjoy it, play it. Centurion's not a bad deck. But if you're just like, is it worth the investment? Technically, no. Technically, nothing is really worth the investment. I would even say that, like, Blue Eyes isn't really worth the investment, even with the Primite cards, because I don't think that they're capable of dealing with the insane power level of the current metagame. Right? It's like, cool, what happens if you go second? Oh, you still just die? Awesome. I enjoy stun. Okay, play stun. I do not blame you. Currently, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, yeah, I would not blame you. Stun does not sound bad. We also get them pretty often, but even then, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are so banlist pilled, it's crazy. Pack News runs House and Master Duel. That's because the packs tend to change more in Master Duel than they do. Okay, here's the thing. Packs are a lot more easily accessible in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel than they are in like, the TCG, right? But a ban list in the TCG affects everybody, whereas, like, a new pack doesn't affect everybody. Right? Does that make sense? Like, not everyone is going to go into the newest pack for the TCG. Like, maybe they'll, like, get some of the new cards, but likely they're not all going to invest into it. But everybody is going to be affected by the ban list. In Master Duel, it's kind of both, right? Like, both the ban list and the pack matter. So more people are going to be incentivized to, like, get cards from the new pack, etc. Can I see my White Forest deck after Beatrice got banned? No. Because I'm going to end the stream here. I do not give a shit about any of this update. I just, hey, goodbye Beatrice. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Anyway, remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.